Episode 705 of the WCB Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. A couple quick announcements. We're pre-recording these because we're in the middle of trade show season, but shout out to everybody that came by at Iowa and Ohio. This weekend, we're going to be at the Illinois Deer Classic in Peoria, Illinois. That show starts, if you're listening to this in real time, that show starts tomorrow. That's March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, Peoria, Illinois. Come see us. Illinois Deer Classic. We're going to have some fun. So hopefully see you there. On to some biz. This podcast was a ton of fun. Kind of had a roundtable of media, podcasters, and video guys. We've all been in the industry. Weird to say it, but a long time now. But long haul episode. Had a ton of fun on it. Some great guys in here. We hope you enjoy it. If you're into the podcast space, you might enjoy this more because it's multiple hosts from different shows all in one spot. Kind of fun. I'll just get to the business, make this sweet and simple for you on the intro so you can get to this almost 4-hour long podcast. The episode is brought to you by Grizzly Coolers. Shout out to them. Go see them at a trade show, pick up some drinkware, support them. They're doing it right. Code WCB at Grizzly. And they're just great. They're the best. I'm going to rip through these on this one. I feel like I've been kind of long-winded on some of the other intros in the past, and I just want to get you to it. Just straight up. I think our partners understand. Big Tine, Huntworth gear, Loophole optics, trophy line, new to the roster, Hoyt Archery, which is amazing, Evolution Outdoors, and AAE, Novix tree stands, Camo Fire and Black Ovis, Victory Arrows, Dialed Archery, Black Gate trail cameras, Illuma trailers, Deercast, Rogue Ridge, Rack Hub, and Mountain Ops. Those are the partners on this episode, and I'm very thankful to be working with all them high-end brands. How crazy is that? That's a roster of top-tier partners that we never thought we'd be able to work with. Little cheat code, workingclassbowhunter.com/WCB partners has all of our partners listed. And if there's a discount code, it is listed with a click-through link. So you can go to that, click the link, it'll take you right to it. So if you're in the market for anything of our partners, check that web link and make sure that, we might be able to help you save some money. And also, like through Black Ovis, they carry everything, partner or not. Our code WCB works even on top of sale items. So you're crazy not to check what's on sale and then use the WCB code on top of it. They deal Victory Arrows. That's a good opportunity. So some plugs there. Thank you guys. We hope you enjoy this. Give us some feedback in the comments on socials and especially on Spotify on this. Like any hot takes. What's your opinions on some of the stuff we talk about? Some of it gets spicy, but it's all fun and it's all good conversation for saying the greater good is kind of lame, but it kind of is. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, this is Mark Drury with Drury Outdoors.
Hey all you deer hunters, this is Jimmy John.
This is Jared Mills.
Hey everybody, this is Caitlin Moss.
Hey guys, this is Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
What's up guys, Josh Sparks from Midwest Whitetail.
Hey, this is Nick Mutt from Bone Collector.
This is Chancey Walters.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast.
Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast.
WCB.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter. You're listening to the Working Class Bow Hunter. That's right, this is the podcast for Billy Joe Lunchbucket, the working man, just like me and you. My name's Travis T-Bone Turner from the Bone Collector. Thank you for tuning in.
Those people on that pod, those hosts are a little unhinged.
Working Class. Working Class. Working Class. Working Class Bow Hunter.
You're listening to my buddies on Working Class Bow Hunter.
Best motherfucking podcast on the planet.
WCB Pod 705. Kurt Geyer's talking right now.
Eric Hammond, Doug Schmidt's talking.
Okay, there's some OGs in the hunting podcast media game right now, so I think we just start left to right and go through them, and other media, not only podcasting, but now podcasting. Okay, what's up, dude? Thanks for being here, Mr. Kevin Vistison.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin Vistison, host of the Deer Hunter podcast and longtime listener of Working Class Bow Hunter podcast, and just
You seem super excited, dude, to be in here.
I kind of stopped us in the intro and lost my momentum, but I was really actually taking it in. I've been thinking for a long time. I hope these guys never change their intro. You see content creators try all the time.
We changed it.
Yeah, right before I got here.
Yeah.
But not really.
Yeah, no, it's the same.
We
but
just
different.
added a little bit to it.
And that's been a part of my life and week for a decade.
Yeah.
And I was optimistic that you wouldn't, take that away from me.
And we did.
We did.
Well, no, not exactly. You altered it a little bit, but yeah, it's.
Hey, we always change it back.
No. It's good. It's good. I just need the ambiance of it.
Okay.
And it's been a long time part of my life.
Well,
And
thanks, dude. That's big.
I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, I'm excited about this. I was like, God damn it, the notebook's in the truck.
All right. We're over it. We're here now.
Yeah,
We're here.
So I am excited.
Well, thanks for saying that. Appreciate that.
Of course, man.
I feel like you
mean
only
it.
said that because I said that you weren't excited.
No,
Maybe
well,
for it.
my wife tells me smile more, and I'm like,
Don't be such a bitch. I am smiling.
yeah, it's just this is just the way I'm wired. So
No, it's cool.
Resting dick face or what?
I don't know. I was telling Byron on the way here is like, I'm always jealous of I call them Lumineer people. Like you go to a Lumineer concert and the people are all smiling. Like, what the fuck are they so happy
They're
about?
clapping.
Like I'm not, in my happiest moment, I'm not smiling that much.
Yeah,
Like,
somehow everybody has a tambourine. You're like, what the fuck? You're that happy you're playing a tambourine?
I'm just constantly like, that's how I'm wired. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
but I've been in a great mood all day, and I'm honestly, I'm really excited for
Now we
this,
changed
so.
the intro and he's fucking pissed.
I'm not mad.
there right now. Got ready to leave.
I'm talking about like total, like if you had vaporized it.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's still good. We're
Okay.
good. We're good.
Well, technically, Kevin, you're now in the intro.
I take a lot of pride in
There's a
the
clip it.
fact
Kind of.
that a piece of audio came out of our recording studio I really do. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about it. Eric Clark moving down the table. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here.
Thanks, man. You don't want me in the intro. That could be the clip.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know what? I don't want to be in the intro. That's what we'd rather
I
you
would,
say.
but you wouldn't want me. I think that'd be awkward.
Well-
sorry, I'm awkward. Sorry. That's like the tagline for me, too.
Well, maybe we cut that part, the awkward part, and put it in our next intro
Yeah.
after 800 episodes. But
Anywho, Eric with Okayest Hunter.
I think
Hanging
he's
out with all these
playing.
guys.
I think he's playing.
Playing what?
Well, he's playing it down. He's not that awkward. He's not that bad at everything.
no.
Listen, I have 3 kids. My daughter's 7 now. I'm at the awkward dad phase. Like everything is just kind of like I'm like totally nerd dadding out these days.
You're not cool anymore?
No, I don't know.
That sucks.
I work with a lot of young people and they're like really cool and they're like, okay, dad. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm not one of you.
Shit, that's
All right.
an interesting conversation itself. It's like, but I appreciate that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to fight. We're all kind of in that pocket except for Doug.
He's got the
Doug's still
mustache.
cool.
I'm still young at heart.
How old are you, Doug?
33.
30.
You're just young.
Yeah.
He just has no children.
Yeah.
The age you're
I'm
real
still
quick.
like the cool uncle.
The mustache is deceptive.
Going nowhere.
Yeah.
Going nowhere.
43 with that mustache.
But they think I'm cool.
Yeah. Uncle Doug's only fun because he's always drunk.
Yeah. That's me.
You see like was that like Home Alone and like the bad guys are like, when they filmed this, they were like 33.
Yeah, that's
And you're
wild.
like, man, when I was a kid, I thought those guys were like 50.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a hard reality check.
That is a hard one to hear.
Well, hang out with Jordan and kid's 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the young ones.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough out here.
Just out here helping these old guys run their podcast.
He's just always judging.
Yeah.
He's so judgy.
Yeah, he's the worst, but we love him. Byron Horton, Whitetail Experience in the house. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm back.
Tip that mic down just a touch. Just, go ahead.
Get in there.
No, physically at the
like
mic.
you're really good. Like you're going to get out.
Yeah.
You gotta cradle the balls. Yeah.
Byron's an OG of WCB. You've been, well, a lot of you guys really are, but you were on
Dude, I was at the
probably.
first
studio.
Yeah.
Met you guys at ATA, gave you old fist bump, like, oh, God, Eric, working class bow hunter, Kurt, what are you guys doing here? And then came out, did the Carbon TV episode back in the day.
Yep. 2015, 16-ish.
Yeah.
2015, I think, but maybe not that early. In there somewhere.
Yeah, and then a couple years later, you and I did a couple collaborative projects and had a good time there. And then obviously we passed, I feel like once a year-ish, either the Deer and Turkey Expo or ATA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically been 10 years.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because you were on early episodes of WCB, and you saw the first studio.
Yes. Yeah. So Whitetail Experience 9 years right now. So just, I think I got started about a year after you guys doing YouTube stuff. More of the video production is kind of where I was drawn to.
Yep.
But
you saw that first one. Did you see the middle one? Kevin saw the middle studio.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that was at my house. The house I live in now, it was there. And then now we've been here for, in April, it'll be 4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeesh. Do you ever walk in that room and just reminisce?
It's my daughter's room now. So it's cool. It's a cool room because it has all the wood and stuff in it still. But like the first studio was in Sherrard, Illinois, in like a closet. Like you could do this and touch both walls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
if one guy had to pee, everyone had to get up.
Yeah, Steve, we used to, because he was fat, and somehow he sat where Eric is.
Is he still fat?
He's still fat.
He's still fat, yeah.
But respectfully, every time he had to pee, he'd crawl under the table to the door instead of walking around everybody.
Because if he sat here, the door would be right there.
Yeah.
So no one would get up for him, so he'd crawl underneath the table.
It actually worked better. But anyway, yeah, so it
was funny.
Just to lay the foundation for anybody who doesn't know, like, how far back you guys go with the WCB.
This is quite.
Yeah, I think I was on. It was like 2015 or something with you guys about the app.
Oh, Deer Fest. You can't.
And then there's a Deer Fest episode, which I don't know if it got aired or not, but we recorded it at your booth. And
yep. That would have been 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
And then the first Where to Hunt, right?
Yeah,
episode
that's what it
was.
I don't know. It was before I got married, I think, or shortly after. So it was like either 2015 or 2016. I got married in 2016. And I know
it was early.
I was in my apartment
that.
before we bought our house, so I know it was around that time. Oh, he's going to Google it.
Whoa. He's going to look it up.
He's got his own Joe Rogan guy in here.
He is Jamie.
Well, this has been quite the evolution to get to this point.
For sure.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride for sure.
Episode 118.
118.
December of 2016.
2016. Okay, so it's after my wedding.
Did you search that on your website?
No, on Spotify.
Oh.
That's an old
Just keyword
album cover art.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Just two PNGs next to each other. 151.
May 2017. Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, but I feel like we did one earlier.
We did one before that.
I thought I was
we?
in the 70s, I want to say.
Yeah, probably.
Because when did you move into your house now?
2019.
As you age up, time doesn't make sense, and
It doesn't make sense.
It's all fucked. Anyway, so yeah, that kind of just paints the picture for the listener, how long we've all kind of been in cahoots and been in the game of what is a new mold for media and hunting. I mean, new is in 10 years new. I mean, a little longer depending on where everybody was. But as far as people actually knowing and have weight to it, probably only 7 years. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first 3 years, we just spent more time plugging what a podcast was.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then now it's like, oh, everyone kind of is aware.
Right.
And then they went from what is it to, hey, are you guys on Spotify? Can I find you on iHeart? Those, did you guys feel that too, that progression?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Then you're like, all right, people get what podcasts are. Now we can talk about what we are.
Yep.
So that took a few years, I feel like.
Now we're in the video age. You got cameras laced in this place like crazy.
So gay, dude.
It's a whole different thing.
But yeah.
Dude, what a great time when people knew what a podcast was instead of us explaining it forever.
Yeah, a lot of it was just a burn. We might as well just set up a
people
booth
just walked
that said
away.
podcast.
People just walked away.
Read our
Didn't
booth
care.
like,
huh?
the
I
hell
used
is
a program
that?
called Pamela to record the Skype call, and when I'd have a guest, they'd be like, "So, like, is this like a radio show? Do I have to come to you?" I'm like, "That's just a Skype call. I record it."
Yeah.
And they didn't get it. So you understand.
Can grasp the concept of it.
Do you remember the first version of Clips? It was a website called Clamor.
I think so.
CLAMMR. And they would produce audio clips for podcasts.
Oh, yeah,
Similar to like what reels are now, but it was just audio.
And it was like the wave.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, that's really cool.
It was cool. It was the worst shit. Like now, looking back, But anyway, it's cool to see what it was, what it is in such a short period of time.
It's really important. It's incredible. I think we should talk about it for another minute because I have it here on the note thing. Is like our current generation. We watched in the last decade how media changed, and we kind of just took our country back because of like Joe Rogan disciples. I seen you got like the Joe Rogan thing in your.
Yeah.
We've all been a spoke in this wheel of the way that information is distributed now, and it's been an incredible thing to see.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how much more access we have to information than humans ever have had in history. And you guys were kind of on the front lines of that. You know, I looked, I think it was 2017, the first time that you and I ever recorded. So everything's going on like a decade now, and it's literally, this isn't exaggeratory, it has changed the course of the world in the last decade, the way that information is moving around. And in the last month, it's kind of been crazy to see. You've seen some things that you thought were impossible be like possible, and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right.
This is wild.
You're talking like on a political world.
I'm talking just
empowerment.
Everything.
And everything's been driven by information, which drives culture, which drives politics.
Yeah.
It's all in the same river. One's upstream of the other.
Right. Yeah. It's very true. It is crazy when you think of it that way. I mean, too, like in the podcast thing, this might sound to some people think I'm exaggerating here, trying to fucking kiss Joe Rogan's ass. Rogan has pioneered the size of what platforms are so we can do this shit for a living.
Oh, for
Without
sure.
Rogan, it'd be significantly harder to make a sell on what a podcast is. Now, there'd be somebody else probably to fill that void,
Right.
but he is the tip of a lot of it, especially in hunting. And I don't know, maybe you see that differently, but I think without Rogan, if you don't have somebody that fills that void, especially the come up of podcasts in general, the industry of podcasts.
Of what can be possible from like a total addressable market.
That's what I'm saying.
Expanded the category.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of podcast opportunity.
For sure.
You know,
I've even heard like big sports podcasts go, you know, you've made it when you get on Joe Rogan. As
Rogan
a
is the
podcaster.
new. I mean, not
Right.
they're not the same at all, but it's like what's the freaking
Stern?
show? No, where the chicks always hand out money. You get money. You get money.
Oprah?
Oprah.
Yeah.
Like before Rogan, it was Oprah. I mean, really.
yeah.
If you got on
Or
Oprah,
Stern,
you made it.
Or Stern,
Right.
You know, like
Best upgrade ever.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know. That might sound like an exaggeration, but
No.
you got to look at what he has done as a figure. He's a captivating dude. He's one of the bros, and he talks to scientists, and he can talk to guys that I could relate to. You know
Well,
what I
and not
mean?
only
Like,
for the podcast industry, but for the hunting industry too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's paved the way for it. Everything.
yeah, he's got a lot of awareness and eyes on it, and
a-
he's helped a lot of hunting podcasts.
He's a real special personality. He was the guy for the job. He's so sensical. And for like somebody that's coming into adulthood, like I was when I started listening to Rogan, to like learn about your ego and how to check it. And if you're wrong, just say you're wrong and move on.
Yeah.
Like it's been really kind of instrumental in like development.
It's probably good for men as a whole in the U.S. It's like, let's cut the gay shit out and let's just be a little more honest. That fixes a lot right there. You know?
Yeah, calling your friends gay's making a good comeback though.
Oh, for
gay
sure.
and retard's back. And I don't like
It's
the word
back.
retard, but gay, fucking call your friends gay. It's good for them.
I've
Or
been
faggot,
I've
that's
been
good.
trying the social media algorithm to see if I'm going to get flagged by saying gay, you know.
Yeah, maybe not on socials. Is that my phone clicking? Maybe not on social, but I don't like to say the R word too much. It's funny to sit in context to your boys, but
Yeah,
like,
right.
I don't want to be publicly out there ripping
Dropping
them. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan. But faggot and gay, yeah, let's say that, please. That's hilarious.
We lost
back.
touch with humor here over the course of the last couple decades. It was really sad, but it seems like it's making a comeback, and I'm real grateful for that because I have a sense of humor and really appreciate. Do you? I'm going to ask you this. I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
Do you think that your general audience has the level of appreciation for Doug's sense of humor that you probably do? Because I didn't know this the last time that I came here, but over the course of the last couple of years, I'm like, Doug's really fucking fun. Like, yeah, and he doesn't try to do it.
Those are the funniest people.
These little one hitters and like,
Yes.
that's the wittiness.
No, I do think they do appreciate it because I think that's what adds to the three of us, our dynamic, because
Now he's blushing.
I just spilled beer on myself.
Doug's all jealous.
I'm not trying to crawl under the
Very
desk on you,
intentional.
Doug, but
Dude, no, I do think it's appreciated because a lot of times Doug is the first to be approached at trade shows.
okay, that makes sense.
I'm the guy.
You're very approachable though.
Doug's approachable.
Oh, yeah.
Doug's
He's a
approachable.
cool uncle.
And I'll give it right back to him if they talk shit.
Eric and I might have resting dick face, not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
I love that. Did you say that term?
Yeah.
Was that you said? That's hilarious.
That's a good one.
I feel like I have it, but in my head, I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Well, as a content producer, I have a great value, you know, because you're always trying to figure out like how to, you know, and to not, it to seem effortless, to hit a little one-liner where it's like, how did you think of that or take it there? It's like having that dynamic.
On the R word.
Spectrum.
Well, that's what makes it fun for me. Like if I go back to sample an episode, like I'm going to listen to 30 minutes of this episode again, see what's like. There's shit that Doug will say that I'm like, I don't even remember hearing that.
Right.
You know, and it's like
a lot of times there's comments too. People pick up on it like, oh, that was funny shit that Doug said. I'm like, we don't even remember what he said.
Yeah, there's a few from 700.
Oh, there's a few I say, and then I'm like, oh, that one's gonna hit later.
know.
It's a heat-seeking missile.
Stop it.
That was a nuke.
Can I have a pen?
Yeah, low-key cocky, huh? Sorry, it's
God
red.
damn, have a beer.
No.
Yeah, Doug is also the
We're talking
beer
about
guy
me.
on the pod. But no, that's fun. It's a good compliment. That made Doug's day.
I appreciate that. I needed that.
Yeah, good. I appreciate
No
it.
one's ever said that before.
I appreciate
Nah,
it.
No one's ever complimented Doug.
I'm gonna be really cognizant of waiting for those moments on this particular episode now.
Yeah.
Now,
You guys might be playing on the same
You're
angle.
putting
here.
the pressure on me.
I'm waiting for it now.
Pressure to perform.
Shit, fuck.
Shit. Fuck. See, there's one right there.
Gee whiz.
No, great. It's a good point. Wasn't really a
It's
question.
just something that over the years I picked up one more and more on. I was like, that's
Simple
really
answer:
fun.
yes,
Really
I do
funny.
think it's appreciated.
Okay,
I do.
I just
Do you,
want to
Doug?
make sure that I'm bringing.
Oh yeah, and I do it in real life all the time.
In real life. This isn't
It's
real
just
life,
a
by the
normal
way.
day.
It's not like we become someone else when we hit the record button.
I'm just letting people know.
And when you're out in the general
I'm a funny
populace,
dude.
when you're in the general populace, a lot of stuff's got to go right over.
Oh, I say, when we're definitely drinking, I say some shit.
I mean, we get into some fun stuff.
Yeah, we do.
Listen, I might talk a little more on here because I have a show to direct.
Right.
But I feel like we're kind of the same dudes. I think all of you guys as well. We're all the same
You can't.
people.
You can't. We're not fucking actors.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah, people
You
want
want to see, like, you talk about awkward, put a fucking camera and tell me to, like, say a line. It's going to go terribly.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
He's got
what
awful.
you see is what you get. And I've been
Totally.
very candid about my personality and all I do. And if you're not, like, people can smell bullshit fucking 10 miles away.
Oh, yeah.
Especially these days. There's no hiding anymore.
Well, and you can't hide for the amount of years we've done it. Like, I'm an animated person on camera, but you guys have hung out with me. I'm animated. Like, excited.
I don't know what
like
to do with
that
my
stuff.
hands.
But I know Byron when I see Byron's
actually really
content. I
impressive.
see
Put
Byron.
your
Byron's
hands over my hands.
Yeah. But yeah, like any chance, I say this a lot, of like a political career for me, not happening. Yeah. There's 10 years of fucking.
They'll pull all
times are
sorts of
changing.
shit out of
I
this
still
thing.
got hope.
They'll chat
for me.
GPT every transcript and be like, he fucking said that too many times. He's
Bro,
out.
yeah, someone finds the wrong archery thread for him. They're like, dude,
That's AI. That's not me. That's AI.
Doug would have a chance if it wasn't for me. I've ruined any chance of either
Yeah,
of your
you
political
did.
careers.
I wasn't planning on it, so we're good there.
Yeah, but if it were to happen,
You never know.
Dude, politics are changing. We're on the comeback, dude. It's white boy summer infinity, so you might have a chance.
maybe. Okay, we'll hear it out. Fun conversation though.
We're back.
It's good.
We
but
are, dude. We're so back.
We're so back.
It's pretty. It's.
I got.
okay,
yeah,
I'll
we're
give it
so. They just put every season of Home Improvement on Netflix.
Are you
that's
shitting
pivotal.
me?
I'm not shitting you. The
pretty
whole
great.
thing. My family's been watching it all week, dude.
I'm watching it
We're
as soon
so
as I get
back.
home.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We're back. That's easy. If Dale Earnhardt could make a comeback, then we'll really be back.
Hologram Dale Harris.
Yeah, dude. Give me a hologram. Yeah.
I'd cry and shit my pants same time.
All right, we're gonna start working down this list. I
Yeah.
got
See,
to-
I'm leaning on you to navigate.
Yeah,
this
you're
'cause you
basically
have-
hosting the
You're
freaking
hosting
show
it.
tonight.
This is
It's
great.
not
Holy
that. I
shit.
just it's when you got like minds together, you got to take advantage of it. We do a thing on the show called Influencer Alert. So I wanted to ask Kurt, and Byron said do both. Somebody that you pay attention to outside of the space that influences you. Maybe it's content that you consume that you enjoy, and then somebody
I
inside
can
the
answer it
hunting
for him.
space.
He doesn't.
That's not true.
Internally,
You have to watch some level of hunting, even if it's
I've
a
been
buddy.
I've been
right?
doing better. I've been doing better.
It could be somebody that influences you outside of being an influencer.
Okay. Ask the question again cleanly so the listener knows what the question is exactly, and then I'll try and answer.
Something that Kurt watches outside of the hunting space that he consumes that he enjoys for a reason, and something inside the hunting space for influence reasons.
I'm gonna take Rogan off the table too.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
We already
talked
kind
about
of already did that, right?
outside the hunting space, anything comedy I'm a fan of. I like obviously Shane Gillis. I think Shane Gillis is a long lost. If he hunted, he'd be one of WCB's long lost hosts. Like I really believe we could sit here and drink 40 fucking beers with that dude, and it'd be just how
we still could.
But big Shane Gillis fan. I'm a big Dan Cummins fan from Time Suck Podcast. He does a solo host podcast. Eric listens to that once. Fucking
What is it? Say it again.
Time Suck Dan Cummins. It's fucking fantastic.
It's great.
The podcast should be one of the biggest podcasts.
Dan's coming.
Dan Cummins.
Dan's coming.
Dan Cummins. I got it a second time.
Talk about a guy that's quick with it. That guy.
That guy's weird.
But I liked a lot of the earlier Fighter and the Kid with Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen was a big influence on me. I like obviously like Theo Vaughn, some of the mainstream stuff.
So funny.
Anything comedy. I consume a lot of comedy if it's not hunting related.
All right.
In the hunting realm, no hunting podcasts. Just candid because I don't want like what somebody does to like subliminally affect me.
Yeah.
That's no hate. Now I know there's a lot of great shows, and I appreciate angles. I kind of know about how angles some people have, and I like the niches, and I respect it. But I've been trying to make a point, like even to the point where we subscribe to MOTV to watch some hunting shows in here and kind of just get kind of back in the pulse of like what's going on. And then I've been watching a little more YouTube stuff, been making a point to do it.
Sure.
A lot of guys I really respect. Josh Sparks at Midwest Whitetail. I pay attention to what they're doing. Seek One, in my opinion, Lee Ellis in the whitetail world is on top of the game. I think right now he's the hot guy. He's killing it. And
he's on my list here.
He's undeniable, I think, in what he brings from a skill set for killing big, mature whitetails. And there's angles and opinions on him from every direction, and we can talk about it. But I think what that dude does, storytelling, is really good. And I think he is one of those guys who can find big deer and kill big deer.
Is he the owner of the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there multiple guys?
I don't know. I don't know if there's multiple, but I know he's like the main person.
He's the main guy.
Do you know?
No, I just...
He's the owner.
He's the owner.
He's got a partner.
There's like a whole
I think there's two.
Is there a crew of Seek One guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a team, but I don't know. And I've just now started watching like Seek One the last year, probably.
Because it's that good.
I see him all.
The storytelling's great. It's captivating videos.
Yeah.
I think Jared Scheffler does a really fucking good job in the whitetail world. I think he's
an OG.
He's always stayed on his path of like how he does it, and it's always you've seen him progress in a good way.
But he's always the same.
But he's still whitetail adrenaline, which is nice.
And Chancey Walters.
So I feel like that's two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm kind of shocked.
But they're good at what they do and what they're doing. And they're not doing what somebody else is already doing. They're at their own level.
Original
and their
artists,
game,
if you will.
And there's a lot of good ones out there.
I'm not a Seek One fanboy by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get what he does. It's going to generate different opinions. That's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
but not talking about that. Talking about what I see and why I look at it is because they're standing out in what they're doing. So other than that, I don't pay attention. Honest. I'll tell you if we want to get into it, what I'm fucking tired of. But we can get into that.
Let's go.
We can get into that in a little bit. That's
How about
me.
we open this bottle of bourbon and get this conversation?
How about other people answer? I don't.
Do you need the sunglasses?
Till you.
No, I'm gonna get into this.
Kurt McGirt.
Locals Light American Lager.
It's not that bad.
I'm gonna get into it here, but
I'm waiting for you guys to get into this.
I want you guys to. I want everybody to kind of answer the same question. I think that's fun.
The influencer alert.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I want.
I would say like Theo Vaughn, Shane Gillis for sure. Then I always liked the way Chancey Walters did things, like the way he just like. God, he can just say stuff that's so off the wall. And you're like, it's amazing.
That dude's always that way too.
He's just so good.
Chancey is Chancey. You're never gonna find another person like him.
I know one other person like him. They're like long lost brothers.
Oh shit!
It's high on life type personality.
Yeah, it's like
I'm envious of that.
Yeah, just run on a different wavelength, right?
Yes, what a pussy magnet they must be. You know, being like that charismatic all the time.
They gotta be.
I couldn't handle it.
What?
Doug's sitting here saying, "I'm not coming down to that level."
Yeah. Well, who else?
Did you give a hunting one?
Chancey Walters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
He's hunting everything.
Oh yeah.
I actually don't watch that much hunting stuff. Sorry.
Okay.
Do you guys ever listen to Drinking Bros podcast?
No, but I heard it's good.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Really?
That sounds great.
Right on brand for you.
Really? Okay.
You'd love it.
Okay.
Drinking Bros.
Yeah, it's a perfect mix of debauchery and education. It's a lot of the
Kind of like us, huh?
those guys were
They're unhinged.
a couple of them were founders in the Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they're tied in with everybody. When I started listening to them, I'm like, how are these guys so tied in? And they're educated and intelligent, but they're just total degenerates.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, they make this look like this is rated for kids, like young kids.
So we got to step it up.
I'm telling you,
You ready?
they're every time I think that, we're getting close to the bar, I listen to stuff like that. I'm like, what is the ceiling?
There isn't, man, because I've had people tell us, this is side quest from what we're talking about. I had people sit me down and be like, you'd have more listeners if you didn't cuss so much in your podcast. I'm like, I just heard Joe Rogan and Shane Gillis talking about fucking a snake for 35 minutes.
That's where I always default to.
This isn't airing on LinkedIn. Like, chill out, people.
Yeah, that's the biggest platform in the world. They're talking about a dude fucking a python.
Which is fucking bizarre.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Yeah, we're fine.
Us talking about them talking about that is the closest we've ever been to doing that.
Right.
So we're pretty tame.
That's really funny.
You should be thankful.
That's where my brain goes to. Is like, what do I want to listen to?
Trump was on that platform, dude. Like,
I'm calling everybody fat pigs. That was his whole first run for politics.
It's fucking great. I'm curious on this question where Byron's at. Because Byron and I, we mill over a lot of angles and opinions over the years on the phone.
Yeah. So outside the hunting space, I like Bussin' with the Boys has been a podcast I listen to a lot. I think
what is that?
Two former NFL guys. They bring good energy. They're funny. They're witty. They're our age, so they do rant about like kids and life, and they do a good job.
Are they Barstool?
They
Or they just left, right?
They used to be.
The reveal I think is this week.
Okay.
First week of March or something.
I got you. Okay.
So I don't know where they're at, but yeah, they left Barstool.
Okay.
Great podcast.
Yeah. So I like them. In the hunting space, I'm going to give a shout out to the firearm space. I watch Honest Outlaw on YouTube, and he's an Iowa guy, and he just does a really good job.
Okay, I've never heard of him.
He's charismatic. He's funny. He's got a nice red beard, so you're like, yeah.
Sounds like something Victory Drive should get on, huh?
Well, yeah, and he'll be like, oh, if you only got $200, like here's a good option of this, or this budget gun sucks. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I've consumed a little bit lately. Top of the mind.
Cool. Okay. I like that.
Did I pick my hunting one?
No.
I know what it is.
No, go for it. Let's hear
Who
it.
said that? You know what? He's
It's hard with headsets. You're like,
who said that?
That's hilarious.
or the echo chamber.
Mine's kind of collectively the community. I know Kurt says often he doesn't really. I listen to everything.
You do?
I do. All of it. Every bit. I listen to everybody's hunting podcast.
How the fuck do you have time?
Well, I dip and dive and pick and select. I might only listen to 3 minutes of this one, but I'm like, got it. Out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I
not
might
a bad way
listen
to
to
go about
90
it.
seconds of
I
this and
probably
like, had
should
it
do
good.
that.
See it. I just like to know what's going on.
That's
Keep my
smart.
finger on the pulse.
I love that take, but I guess I also love the take of being like, we're just gonna do what we do anyway.
That's I am too, but I'm just always interested. Like, what's going on? What are people talking about?
Yeah, that's smart.
Not much.
It's all bullshit. I'm tapping into the next conversation a little bit. I want to hear what Eric's got to say before we do it. I mean,
Which
I don't
Eric?
know.
You want to call me Clark for the episode?
Clark,
so
yeah.
we don't fuck it up.
Sorry, my bad. Well, Eric already said,
Did you?
I kind of went, yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of the same thing.
No,
I hate kind of going. Like, that's never a good feeling.
Kind of going.
I was trying not to hit all of us. I was trying to diversify without just being like WCB and you guys. Like
Eric Clark, you can go.
Let's up to Eric.
Please go.
Outside of hunting, I'm like a business nerd, so a lot of business stuff. I'm trying to think. Like, I listen to like some D2C e-commerce podcast. E-commerce Playbook's a good one if you want to get super nerdy. And like that's a good one. But otherwise, I'm big into Stoic philosophy. So like anything Ryan Holiday, the Daily Stoic is great. Daily Dad's a good one.
What is it? It's philosophy?
Stoicism. Stoic.
I don't even know how to say
philosophy.
that.
that camera's on, isn't it? The record button.
Yeah, it's
okay.
on.
Stoic philosophy.
Stoicism is a like. There's a lot of philosophical beliefs, but Stoicism is like a particular brand of philosophy that I have gravitated towards.
I feel like when I hear Stoic, I think of like in place.
Yeah, I think that word can translate that way. Marcus Aurelius is considered the philosopher king. Nero is like the founder of Stoicism. It started on a porch. It's a whole thing. It's
what the hell?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying.
It's a whole different thing. I love it. So that's outside of hunting, and then I pulled some of that in. Inside of hunting, I really enjoyed the hunting public guys. I think they're like pretty. Like I could go belly up to a bar with those guys.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty chill.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't like. That's like my YouTube go-to though. Like YouTube, I'll hit that, and then wherever it takes me from there, I'm good with. But podcast-wise, similar to you, I'm not. Yeah. I try different, not better. So I'm not trying to compete with anybody. I just want to do what the fuck I do and be happy doing that. I don't really care what goes on otherwise.
Hell yeah. Fair. All right, Eric, you're up.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your non-hunting.
Yeah. Not or hunting stuff. I don't really listen to a lot, but non-hunting is a lot of comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Small Town Murder is a good one.
Oh, murder podcast.
Who's your Weldon buddy?
Yeah,
Did you become friends with a Weldon podcast guy?
So I listen to a lot of welding ones also. I was going to bring that up. Arc Junkies is the name of that one. He's down in Florida, so he's a big welder that he actually quit his welding job to do a podcast full time, so shout out to him.
No shit, that's badass.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Does he hunt?
He hunted turkeys back in the day, he said.
Dude, to get him up here just a BS.
Yeah, and he turned his studio, he built a studio out of a sea can in his backyard.
Oh, no shit.
So it's pretty badass. But yeah, welding and comedy shit is my forte.
Do you follow that welding chick with the giant cans?
Which one? There's a million of them.
There's more.
Oh,
There's a lot of them.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
Oh.
Is it all right?
Angel
is it kind of like
They're not, I mean,
is it like a buckle bunny, like gun bunny type
most of them
thing?
are like
welded in tits.
they can weld, but they're not like they're not
either
good.
Would you get on a roller coaster welded up by some chick?
No,
with fat
hell no,
tits?
hell no.
Oh,
hell no.
that's a great analogy.
I think it's like Archangel Welding or
Yeah, that's one of them. Yep.
okay.
She sucks.
Good or bad, Eric?
I mean, I know who she is.
She could probably run a bead.
She can run a decent bead, probably.
Yeah.
Run your bead.
Jesus Christ, Doug.
Not on air, Doug.
God damn. I'm a married man.
That was one of them live action. We just caught it. Yeah. We ruined the punch factor of Doug's edit.
Now we just catch everyone he does. Now it doesn't make sense.
Butterfly net and all of that.
Like I just threw it at him instead of myself. Ooh, diversion.
Change it. Good question.
Great question.
I like it.
Proceed, right? I had to get that in there. I'm sorry. She got my attention.
We got on cans.
Yeah, I guess
we ended on cans.
Hey, that's a good way to end. I don't know. There's a lot of people doing cool shit, and it's like I don't want people to take because we're not consuming it that we're hating. It's just
there's too much out there though. Also,
there's only too many hours in the day.
Hell?
That's on my list.
Well,
right
that's
here.
the thing. In the last 10 years, there wasn't enough of it. Now there's too much of it.
Well, the distribution networks have changed. So what used to be your follower count used to matter to a degree.
Yeah.
Because the way the algorithm worked, content was distributed based on social connection. So it was distributed through social connectivity. That is not how it works anymore. And that's why people complain. Like, I never see my aunt or my friend.
Thank God, though. Like,
it's different now.
Thank God to the point. I feel like it's changing to in the hunting space. It's easy now to feel influence more than it's ever been because you get the guys be like, "Yeah, we're on Sportsman Channel. We have 80,000 likes on Facebook. No one's fucking buying anything they're talking about." But then you might have a podcast that has 2,000 downloads a month, and they're fucking selling 1,000 of those guys are buying T-shirts and using the discount code at fucking whatever company. That influence is tangible and powerful, and the people that work with that feel it.
Yeah, and the secret is the algorithm. It's the algorithm are humans. That's how it works now.
Right.
Like they take a small set, they sample it out. Oop, the humans like that one. Now let's make it to the next bigger sample. Oop, they like that. Oop, they like. So that's the end of the day. So if you're going to put out good shit, you're going to get your shit noticed.
Totally.
And if you're the guys with the 200-some thousand followers that suck a dick, like, sorry, no one gives a shit anymore. That's not how it works, pal.
Right. That is the clip.
I love that.
That's a clip.
I'm just saying.
Cut it.
That model's going to die. It's
We're
out.
I got some receipts on that. Just
nice and easy.
Adam Curry was just on Joe Rogan, who's kind of one of the guys, was the founders of podcasting. And did you know that there's 4 million global podcasts right now?
I believe it.
There's 4 million. Could you imagine somebody setting a book down? They're like, hey, pick through here which one you want to listen to. 4 million. Out of that 4 million, only 400,000 update regularly.
I was gonna say a lot of them are just dead. They're just dead out there.
Oh.
4 million podcasts, 400,000 update on the regular.
There's 4 million feeds. Only 400,000 of them actively update regularly.
Is that 10%? Is that the math on that?
That's what I got.
Hey, you're way better at math than all of us here.
No, don't do that to me.
Hey, it's our show. Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
Move on. Everyone,
That's qualified.
Everyone listening to this show is like, yes, 10%.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, they're just like
Sounds about right.
Yeah. That's
I went to high school
interesting stats. Interesting. That's really cool to think about, actually.
So a lot of them are like,
So it's
we're going
only-
to try podcasting.
It's
and then,
actually only one. It's actually lower than that, right? It's like 1/8, essentially 1/8 of the shows.
But what do they consider on
I don't know.
updated, like monthly
I
or
think
weekly?
it's monthly. Right?
Like if 6 months or a year's gone by, I think your feed would probably be considered.
Yeah,
It's saying regularly, so I don't have that
Like
number to say.
consistently,
So
probably.
I wonder, like, if you could actually like go to that number and type in how many episodes update monthly, all right, bi-weekly, weekly, daily, like what you'd see it just boom drop down, boom. Drop
and inside
down,
of that
you
set
know?
is like the number of downloads and reach and all that stuff. And so then like you guys are probably part of like probably the top 1%.
Well, what if you did? How many shows have been around for 10 years and never missed a week?
Right. That's got to be very few.
It'd be interesting to see that stat because.
And we're not talking 10-minute episodes, right? There's podcasters out there in different spaces that do
Yeah.
There was
10-minute
an
drops.
older dude. I can't remember.
10 minutes.
He's in the hunting space. I can't remember what his podcast was.
Can I have a beer, Tom?
But when he called me on the phone some
Maybe.
fucking house. It's been a couple years. But I was sitting in here. Hey, we want to do a podcast. We have this many episodes, whatever. And I look and they're 20 minutes. And I'm like, bitch, you haven't done fucking anything. But that was his brag, you know.
Take a
I've
shit
done this
longer
many
than
100 episodes. Each episode was like between 10 and 20 minutes.
I'm already
long.
at 58 episodes of the Daily Deer because we're doing an episode a day starting January 1. So
Holy
like, yeah,
shit.
okay, do your episode. That doesn't count as much.
That's a haul.
But it's cool. I think
It's effort.
I sometimes want a 10-minute podcast as a consumer or a 20-minute or like on the way to work. And then, dude, driving out here, give me the 90-minute, 2 hours.
Road trip, and I'm like, what am I gonna get? Theo Von. Let's because I didn't mention that one because you guys did, but
Yeah.
I love the way that guy thinks.
He's my favorite.
No one knows how that guy
It's
thinks.
cool to do it that way, but don't brag that you've done 40,000
Yeah, right,
episodes
right.
and each one's a minute long. It's like,
Yep.
it's not just okay. You know, it's kind of just like, what are we doing? But yeah, I don't know.
I thought you'd find that interesting because
Yeah, super interesting.
I was shoveling snow, and he said those numbers, and I'm like, because I don't have any clue.
Yeah.
But I've been working in the space for coming on a decade, so I literally stopped what I was doing and went in and wrote that in on my notebook because I was like, that's really interesting to know.
You remembered it
that
for
is.
that long. That's impressive.
Well, I think it's
Because
cool
he wrote it down.
how the space has changed now. We talked a little bit about this before the podcast, Rabbit, but like rewind 10 years ago, good photographers were it, right?
Yeah.
Like Instagram peak, getting out to multiple places, big follower accounts really mattered. And then podcasts came on and
Stirred it up.
well, and now, right? Like YouTube video clips, you got to have a personality. Like the space is so morphed and changed. And we saw it literally go from TV shows on cable network TV being the thing to now. That's not even a factor, I feel like, in a lot of these companies, probably 5-10 year plans.
Yeah. And I think I remember this being on like someone's phone's going off. I remember being on emailing people to get on the show and then being CC'd accidentally on emails like of them hating.
Oh my God.
And then and then getting
Thanks a lot, Susan.
yeah, and then getting asked by the same companies to then can we come on the podcast within a year's time of like the awakening of how important they are, which none of us fucking knew it was going to be
Right.
important, right? Like we're just having fun fucking around. There was no career lane to follow. And then I've always categorized, I'm curious your thoughts on this. I've talked about this a lot on the podcast. I've always categorized hunting podcasts or podcasts in general, but more specifically in the hunting space in two categories. So a podcast that started as a podcast and has operated, and that was the mission. It was like the main thing. And then the afterthought whatever company X is like, oh shit, podcasts are hot. We got to have a podcast. And then they take their fucking marketing guy who's got the personality of a fucking rock. And then you're like, all right, host this podcast. We got to have one. And then you got this dude from internal corporate who's barely fucking stepped outside trying to run a podcast for a hunting company. It's so fucking obvious. So I've always categorized like type A would be, you know,
like a real podcast like this.
A real podcast, and then B would be, you know what I'm saying?
Oh shit, I need this.
A Me Too podcast.
We need it just to have it.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of thought about it in two lights that way.
The video thing's interesting with what he was talking about going from video or photography assets were real valuable, and now we've jumped to where short video clips are real valuable. But you know what? All the guys that are doing big, not all the guys. Sometimes you'll go because of the short video clip and look, and the long format, it's not there because it's, as I was saying about like it's good that you have Doug as a friend because he can do this. Mm-hmm. It's not for everybody. I encourage everybody to try, but everybody has their own thing that they should do in life, and you should try to do it, and maybe you'll be successful at it. Mm-hmm. You should kind of have a plan moving forward or whatever, but it's not for everybody. And I see some really impressive short video clips, and I go to look at listen to the long format content, and it's like, dude, the foundation of this building is shitty.
They're just recording to get the clip is what some podcasts do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't care about, I would rather have a good episode for the most part over having just 10 1-minute clips.
I'm circling back and I'm acknowledging what you said about, okay, great. You got 10,000 impressions. You didn't sell or move, convince anything, influence anything. It's like, you can't bullshit long format content, and especially when it goes for a long duration of time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
If something's good enough, you'll consume it.
You hear the creator start to struggle, and you can hear the frustration in them sometimes, and it's like, maybe they'll work through it, maybe they won't, but whatever. It's just something that I noticed.
That's pretty honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough.
All it is honesty, because if you're forcing it, that's why we get some people in that's like, for the come on, they want to know everything we're going to ask them. I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
Where's the script?
It's like, we do it. And, we have internally.
In my opinion, that's the best way to do it. It's natural, it's organic. It's
right. Because then it's like, I'm asking you a question.
Go get a cup, please. Or
grab some of them.
Should I grab a couple?
You're reading it like off Joe Dirt.
Cups.
Dear Robbie.
Yeah. Joe Dirt. But yeah, it's like, if I'm asking you this question and then I'm just so worried about the next question I'm going to ask and you're talking, I didn't listen to a fucking thing you said. And then I'm like, oh, cool. All right. What are you doing this fall? It's like, I was just talking about something completely
great answer.
They're like, how did we get here?
That just means they have more like learning to do about how to interview and be present in an interview and a dialogue.
And all of us are probably kind of guilty of that at some point,
It's a progression that you would actually work through that phase of it to some degree. Some people are probably more gifted or natural or better at it than others, but
it's a skill.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very natural at it.
Thank you.
As far as interviewing, listening, pivoting,
actively listening specifically.
Oh yeah.
Going down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And then also like
coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Circle back.
I think so. We've all guested on other podcasts, and I've guessed on a lot of good ones, but some podcasts, it's like you're in the middle of the conversation. Do you ever feel this way? And be honest, if you have, and I can re-ask this when Kevin gets back in here. You ever been in the middle? You're like 30 minutes into a podcast that they're going to probably cut it off at an hour, and your whole time you're like, what are we doing? Like the host doesn't even really know what he wants to do with you. I did a podcast one time. I swear to God, 3 times during it, they're like, hey, what else you got for them in the interview?
That's bad.
And I'm like, I'm spending times away from my kids to do this Zoom call, and like, you're asking your host in front of me, what else you got for me?
I'm
fucking
had that
bored.
Even recently I've had that, and I'm like, what?
Don't ever do that. If another podcast is listening, as OGs now, as old heads in the podcast game, don't ask what else you got for them in front of your guest to your co-host.
I've had literally that just happened.
That shit's embarrassing, son.
To that point though, like it's prepare. Just if you don't,
or just talk.
If you can't navigate it good enough, then prepare enough and have it locked in. Notes are good. I like that. It's a framework. It's not a fucking script.
Yeah.
Right.
And you might not get to all of these, and you're going to have to be okay with that. Because if you go, well, I wanted to really, sort of, like we've moved on from that. Like
Right.
it's okay. Let the conversation take its own shape. Yeah.
Right here, right now, while we're talking. You got to find them during the conversation.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good way to say. You got to find them while it's happening. It's just an active situation.
It's called talking.
And Kurt's really good at that.
Well, here's the thing. I have a lot of good people in the industry that I'm friends with that I respect. But the beautiful thing about podcasting is it's conversation. As soon as you add too much production to it, too much thought in the structure of the conversation, then it starts morphing into something else other than a podcast. The beauty of a podcast is you're getting the conversation and people listening feel like they're a part of it. As soon as you add, like, you ever heard the podcast Flagrant? With what's his name? The comedian. Flagrant.
I've never heard of that one.
You know it. I'm telling you, you know it. Give me a sec.
I want the
Flagrant
amount
Yeah,
you can.
somebody's screaming at
He
the
just wants a little
right now.
spritzer.
That's one of the little sip.
Little spritz. What are we sipping on here, boys?
Wants to wet his
Okay,
whistle.
guys, this is called Elements.
Andrew Schultz podcast.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Oh, he's
It's weird.
good.
I know a girl named Andrea Schultz, but that probably is not the same one. Red Line Whiskey Co. Elements Single Barrel.
Name's Andrew.
Did you say
What the hell?
Her name's Andrew.
I might
One of them-
have not been
is it
paying
one of them
attention.
trannies?
I have bourbon all over my fingers, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got a podcast that's like there's a little more production to it, and it's a podcast, but it almost reminds me like late night show podcast.
That's kinda fun.
Yeah, which is great. It's a great angle.
Hey,
If you can do it
cheers.
right.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Honestly.
Oh, we're
really.
doing it now?
Yeah.
I guess. We're not shooting this, right? We're sipping it.
I'm sick.
I would not shoot this.
No. It smells good.
She's hot.
It does smell good.
It's delicious.
What is this again? Element?
It is
Red
hot.
Line?
That is hot. That's delicious.
Doug with a super.
It's actually really good for how
A lot of flavor for how strong it is.
for how hot your truck would run off it. It's pretty good. That is good.
I know.
It's got like real notes. You can taste them.
Why is it so spicy?
It must be good because it's in this grizzly cup.
There you go.
Do you I don't know if you remember that. I won't forget that. When we were at your last studio, you guys had a seasoning company or something,
Oh, yeah.
and there was like a thing that you put around a beer. And
No, it's all you just,
Fucking sick, isn't it?
I don't remember what it was called.
we just had the Old Barn seasoning, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And Doug got it on his finger, like rubbed it in his eye. And he's like, "Why is it so spicy?" And why is it spicy? Really enjoyable.
Yeah, man. You put was it chilada? Not chilada. What's that?
It was
Tahine?
like, yeah.
Yeah, but you put that on the rim, but you take like what's the Mexican
Clamato.
Clamato. Yeah, you
Yeah.
dump a little bit in. You take a drink out of a Busch Light, dump a little bit of that in. You can put whatever seasoning of choice on the brim. It's nice.
Clamatos.
I just remember him
fancy
getting it in
beers.
his eye. Why is it so spicy?
Yeah, that is funny. But good conversation. I don't know. There's a lot of angles. I think we should talk about. I was starting to lean into what annoys me.
Yeah, you were gonna go around. You had a thing.
I'm gonna. If I say it, then everybody's got to fucking say some stuff. That
I got lots of
aggravates me.
shit.
That's fair game.
I work and I'm deep in the industry with my day job and shit. So like I've
shit.
Oh.
So
Here we
I'll
go.
you want to go
I'll have to
first?
be a little bit careful.
Would you like to go
actually.
first?
It depends on what the question is.
It might be better for you to go first because then by the time we get deep, then it gets to you. Then you're gonna have to dig up out of.
Is this a?
He's setting the tone.
This is a general annoyance,
Just
or like
In the space?
in the space? Yeah. We'll go in the space. Let's be because we know what we avoid, but sometimes we see stuff through socials that we just see it. Or like,
okay, this is great.
I'll have to. What annoys me in the space?
I think you need to go first
I'll
because
tell you what I
we're
love.
gonna get you in a
First of all, I
position.
love the space.
Agreed.
My life is now built around it, soup to nut, and I've made very deliberate choices to get to where I'm at to be in the space, and so I fucking love it. And I think because of that love and that passion, when I see things I don't like, that's where it's coming from.
Can I piggyback on that? I think we're all in that same
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
situation. Like we could all probably agree with that to a point. No, Kevin, you seem like
I
you're
love
kind of
it.
like looking around a little.
I had sex with the space this morning.
Up against the wall, or
You made love to it?
Yes.
Two different things.
Love.
So there's an arbitrage.
I am in love with the space.
Yeah, too. There's an arbitrage that happens. So like, you got the magazine rack out there. I was curious about it. Everything that's in a magazine, someone paid to be there. Whether it's an ad or not, it's paid. It doesn't just, you don't just end up in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
there's something called public relations, PR.
Yeah.
And people that work in PR pitch products around angles and seasonality and various like cultural events, and they pitch and pitch and pitch to the editors, the writers, and then they pitch an angle and a story and a narrative, and they try to help them craft the story. And then that story, or they'll pay for a media hunt, and a media hunt is where all these editors and writers go out to, you know, whatever ABC company to try XYZ products, and then, you know, 4 months later, sure shit, there's a really beautiful story in a magazine about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, someone paid for that to happen.
Right.
Someone had to foot the bill for the flight, the food, the stay, all of this stuff. So there's that arbitrage thing that happens. Now, where my annoyance comes in is on the TV side, because that same, I think it's built on a house of cards, and I think their time has come. Mm-hmm. And YouTube and Carbon TV and all the other like mobile platforms where like the young consumer does not. I've talked to guys that are on TV shows. They are the literal personality, and they don't have the cable provider to watch their own show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm trying to do my research. How do I watch this? Well, you got to go buy this whole package to get the outdoor, blah, blah, sportsman's, blah, blah.
It's a pain in the ass.
And you know who is paying for it are the bars and the taverns and the hotels and the sports, like BW3s. And it's just on in like a room where you're never hearing it. And they're like, we have all these views. Well, okay, but no one's actually watching it.
Kind of empty views in a way.
And so the brands that are trying to like pay for those sponsorships, they're tied to those sponsorships, and they're held hostage from a content perspective, because what they're really doing is using the content that's cut up on the back end of the B-roll footage to use to put out in performance marketing like Facebook, Meta, Instagram ads, so forth, media buys and magazines and stuff. And so my gripe is that whole thing, the media buy in a magazine, those are, I mean, they're not dead. They're kind of coming back a little bit, but that's not where attention is.
No.
And TV is not where attention is. It's YouTube, it's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's Facebook. There's an old regime that's still sucking money out of this thing, and they don't want to see that money stop. It's going to happen. And if they're not willing to pivot and make those changes, like,
we should have had you go last. This is way more of a detailed answer.
I'd be really happy to be like the front runner to like, I want to be the disruptor, because I just don't like taking advantage of a market.
Yeah.
I don't like the bullshit that exists there. I'm really much against that, because I represent clients, and I'm like, you're charging how much for this?
Right.
Are you your fucking mind?
And it's a fucking lot.
Like for a logo on a screen that no one watches? And what, can I get the content? I'm negotiating these deals. I'm like, can I get the content? Well, no, if they sever the contract, then we own the content. I'm like, all right, well, contract, consider it severed. You just fucking put the nail in your own coffin, pal.
Right.
We're done. And so
you seem worked up.
I don't like it, man. Yeah.
It's just three people at the table own a company at this point, and none of you guys would buy ads for TV shows.
Nah, fuck no.
There's no way. Like, you're not getting an ROI on that dollar or return on ad spend. That's not coming back to you. There's no conversion value. So it's like top of funnel. Like, maybe there's some, like, if you're McDonald's, you're putting money, you're putting it everywhere.
Right.
But like, some companies don't have that much, you know? And so, sure, maybe there's some OGs, and I think it's a demographical thing. Like, if you're trying to hit the old crowd, like, there's probably some people still watching it. But
so what is the fundamental argument that
I'm annoyed that there's an old regime that's still freaking trying to mine this thing.
And a lot of dollars are going in,
and they're not getting how it works anymore, and they're still trying to like, this is what it is.
I want to throw this at you then, because I love that perspective, because that's a perspective that I think about it, but I don't think about it probably in the detail that you think about it. Okay, you see those guys and the personality that they can be in their show for network television.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much personality can you really have? What's the edgiest guy you can get? In the day, Chris Brackett was fucking edgy. He had an Affliction shirt on. Whoa. And then like, you know, like Waddell's probably kind of edgy now for today's times. I think he's the GOAT.
I would agree.
And then, you know, you have all these great personalities that you used to see and that we grew up with. Like, you see like the Ralph and Vickies, they're fun. They have that fun charismatic, you know, stuff like that. Okay, well now if they're in tune at all, now they're trying to start a podcast and they're trying to take that TV personality and then do a podcast with it, and that shit fucking sucks. And we all know it sucks, and it just doesn't work. Well, I think what they need to do to stay in the game with where it's going,
they need to be working with people like you guys.
They need to let their hair down a little bit.
Yeah.
Show the fucking beer on camera. No one gives a fuck. Say the F word. Say shit. Say damn. Be relatable.
Gay.
Show that you're human.
Yes.
Right.
And not this like, they say gay once. Dude, you fucking everyone will love it.
Just once.
Yeah.
Just one time.
But you know what I mean though? Like you see those people, oh shit. And then they got a podcast and then they're like, robotic, and it's like, what are we doing?
Well,
are you doing it? Are you podcasting or are you TVing?
They're careful because they don't want to piss off the sponsors and they don't want to like get the cash cow kicked out of the room kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
man,
that's where
the sponsors
if you
know
are who
though,
you,
don't
if you
they?
are
Or
who
they
you
not?
say, what's that old coach? We are who we thought they are who we thought they were. Like if you're just that all the time, then the sponsors know who they're getting in bed with, and it's okay.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Then there's nothing to like. You don't have to like put on a mask. And
You're
right.
You're so right.
But if you're coming back the other direction, it's probably pretty awkward for them.
Oh, it's so hard to come
So
back.
like, I can't blame that, but there needs to be a way to like work towards that. Not that it doesn't need to be. I don't really give a shit. This is going to go on for a long time.
Well, they
because
could.
it's not gonna go away. Too much
I
money
think
in
what
it.
you're trying to it's time to come forward. To be honest, I think if you looked way back through your text messages, you would find a point where I know I sent you a text message that said, "I always liked Mark Drury, but now I love Mark Drury."
Yeah,
because he came on this show and he just aired it out.
Yeah,
and I was like, I like this guy infinitely more than I ever have.
I will mirror that.
It was so refreshing. I'll
tell you
end it. I'll just end it there. But it summarizes what you said. Is like, I actually have confirmation now that all the way through, I like this guy.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this. I had this conversation with a buddy about Mark. Mark is a homie. Mark is one of the boys, and Mark will tell us like, and he said, I think he's even said it on the podcast, like, you know, we've kind of come from a newscaster style of hosting and this change, which is kind of why the Working Class on Deercast series happened, because it's like, well, how weird it'd be if Mark came on. He's like, oh man, let's fucking crack a beer. Everyone would be like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
Calm
because there's a
down.
lot of longtime fans of Mark and they've seen the juries, but Mark is one of the boys. Like Mark gets it. Now, is he bound by what he cannot and cannot do when he's on the podcast? For sure, right? You know, and we all would be too if we started
when you get
1988.
when you get to
You know?
these heights, at some point, like you got to mind your P's and your Q's to a degree.
When
but
you
totally.
run an empire, you speak respectively.
Yeah, and there's a job to do it.
He's done a good job of creating the show that he does with you, the app.
Yeah.
They've brought things to market now that meet the modern consumer where they are. They're not still trying to sell the old same bag of tricks.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
But also too, it's like if Mark's on the podcast, I'm not gonna like say faggot a bunch of times on the show because it's just not the right thing to do to him.
Yeah, you got to read the room.
You got to read the room. It's like, yeah, it's fair game right now. But it's like you don't go into a work meeting with your boss and drop that over. Like, you get what I'm saying?
100%.
There's contextual notes that matter here.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. You can't. It's not a free for all in the world. It's a free for all a lot of times on the show for entertainment purposes. But I'm not going to do that I'm not going to have, name it, Rob Keck on here talking about turkeys and be like,
know your
man, them faggot turkeys are in there. He's going to be like, what? You're going to have a conniption, you know? Like, what are you saying, man? You just can't do that.
Know who you're around, know your audience. Like working class bow hunters coming to, your daughter's in kindergarten and you're going in there for career day. Show us what you do, Dad.
Here it is. Check it out.
Yeah.
Here's
We'll
me
probably
talking
be
about
like,
tits for
well,
30
we
minutes.
like deer and they're really nice. We're not coming in there.
Yeah. We're harvesting them.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
But that was a very refreshing.
So what annoys you, Kevin?
It was a very refreshing thing for me. Mine's very targeted. We got to figure
who is the target.
Well, I think
by
it's
name.
predator hunting, guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
That annoys you?
And no, they don't. Well, yes and no.
I'm curious on this.
Sorry, we keep tripping you up.
I know we're all stuck on this. We're interrupting.
Are we
What
doing
we're curious
yeah,
about.
it's all good.
refreshing or
What shitty podcast hosts we are right now.
I really want to see the space move forward, and we got to do a better job when we are shooting stuff that looks like the pets that we have in our household.
This is the Matt Brunella kind of thing, yeah?
No, I don't think so. Okay. It's just something that I've observed. That's not going to go over great in the general public when you're holding up a cat or a dog and it's like bleeding all over out of its face and shit. They don't care so much about deer because they don't have deer in their house every day, but we got to figure out a better way. And this is just something that I'm always focused on is like our branding to the social public. What do we look like?
Right.
We want to, and this will tie into our current events. And anybody that's right now that's out there yiping about we're being threatened and our land's being, threatened and this and that, but they haven't been banging the drum and on coming to the table on the predator hunting thing and the wolves.
Yeah.
We are being displaced right now in Michigan in the UP by wolves. People are selling properties that they have owned for generations because they had them for deer camps and they are now void of deer and just full of wolves.
They're just messing it up that
A
bad.
friend of mine said he went for a 3-day deer hunt. He saw 0 deer and 31 wolves.
Sheesh. Oh my God.
Our state has said, like, we're handcuffed. We're federally handcuffed. We can't do anything.
This is like a 30-year-old problem. I wrote like a freaking 20-page college paper on this topic 10 years ago.
So we have to do some work to figure out how to manipulate public opinion. And it's just not, I understand that to hunters, the pictures are badass.
Right.
Holding this a bobcat or
let me make a point real quick in the middle of this. I want you to keep talking about it because when you said it, Byron and I looked at each other like, what? Because we don't have wolves here.
We don't.
And a lot of people here are like, fuck coyotes, they eat our cats and our little dogs. The wolf thing is different because some people, there's 3 wolves howling at a moon together on a t-shirt. Everyone knows that shirt. But that's a problem that we don't live in with the wolves.
Right.
But you guys do in Michigan and northern Wisconsin.
Colorado, probably.
Colorado.
There's a lot of other
Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, all them. It's something I haven't thought about from that perspective. So I just wanted to make that because there's maybe at first when you started talking, like Byron and I maybe looked at you like predator hunting. Like to me, I never really considered that perception an issue.
Yeah,
but
I got a lot of other annoying things.
Yeah, the wolf thing is a problem because they're majestic and everyone puts some stupid fucking personality on them.
Bears.
Yeah, bears hold that
in there too. So my message or my thought is like we just need to kind of re-envision how we show that publicly because we're not doing ourselves any huge favors. Like maybe make a private chat group that you send all those photos to.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not an advocate for showing too much blood on anything.
The first year I ever shot, my dad, like,
to be honest,
he took a wipe out of his fanny pack and wiped the blood off the deer's face.
Yeah, that's
and
great. I'm just going to say,
and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you got to take a respectable photo.
Yeah,
like, I was taught that on the first year I ever got, and I didn't even understand what's happening yet.
Yeah, gruesome's never good.
No, but dogs and cats don't play.
Yeah.
I'll say that they don't play. Let's just
You're talking like mountain lions, cats?
Dogs and cats.
I never even thought about mountain lions.
If it's a dog or a cat, it doesn't play with the social with the general public.
Right.
For our image.
Dog, cat, or bear. Probably.
So like I think it's badass what you're doing. I'm literally stressing here saying we need to take this back. We need to have control over this resource, but we're as a branding to the public, we're not doing ourselves any favors. You got to get a.
God, your guys' annoyances are way more justified than mine.
And you want to go last?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna look like a piece of shit by the time it gets to me.
Tag me in your private chat group. I want to see it.
Yeah, totally.
But it doesn't play.
So in the UP, you can't kill wolves at all. Like, are they
Not
protected?
legally.
They're federally protected. They're as an endangered species.
Yeah, but in certain states you can shoot wolves still, right? Or
like Idaho has a bounty, and
I think
and
Wyoming
I'm only going to speak in my lane. I don't know the western states. Some of them have done.
But in Michigan, that's protected.
You can't shoot wolves, and I believe in Minnesota, Wisconsin.
You can in Wisconsin.
And I understand they're beautiful, and everybody wants them having on the landscape, but you have to take into account modern times. We're on the landscape, so can they coexist with us? Because when we weren't here, there was also caribou, elk. There was all these big, large game species that they had to feed off of. You can't let them just depend on the deer. They're crushing the deer herd.
Yeah.
And that's all these dollars that we're the protectors of the landscape. We're the people that are putting the money in. People are selling acreage off that they're been managing for decades for wildlife.
Right.
We are fucking up. We are going around science-based models of managing ecosystems because of emotions, and it has to stop.
Yeah,
and
emotion-based.
we got to do what we can do to not fuel those emotions.
Yeah, that's a good point. I definitely see it. I don't live it, but I hear about it, right? But you do definitely in your state.
Man, selling having to sell a piece of property that your family's hunted for 40 years is because there's no deer around.
It's big moves.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's sad. You sit there and you say, "How are we doing the right thing?" Well, we're not. Why?
That's
we
like
don't have control.
The wolf thing, like we can live with them, but it's just like the deer population. Like we got to control it.
We can have some level of symbiotic relationship, but we have to be able to have a management.
You got to manage it.
We have to have a management tool.
Yeah.
But every time I see all the anti-hunter campaigns are like guys holding up wolves, bobcats, they're hanging them by their tails, the mud blood's coming out.
Okay, that's a conservation annoyance, very justified. Industry media annoyance. That's where we need to focus. Now we're cool again, Byron.
Industry media.
That's a conservation model, political mishandling.
Yeah,
mishandling is an understatement on that situation. I'm gathering by your emotion.
I just feel like we culturally need to observe it.
Yeah,
and think about like pros. Everything I do.
It does kind of tie in media wise. I get that point. Media wise leads into the political side when it comes to wolves and cats and wolves especially. But I'm talking, and maybe we're spending too much time focusing on the negative now. I kind of feel like this is getting run out where we just seem like dicks.
No, I don't think so. I think we're being respective and we're having I feel like we're having an
Kurt
important
hasn't said his
conversation.
yet.
Let me just say mine. Let me change the subject.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Don't skip Doug either.
Well, I feel guilty because mine's just going to be way more mean. And then I'm gonna,
mine's straight up too.
It's like a particular person.
Same way.
The more that people talk in front of me, the more bad I feel about what I was going to say. And it's slowly molding.
I can't be last now.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to be last. It's like, all right, well, you guys had all some good things to say. Now let me talk about what I want to say.
Here we go. That's all cool, but
it's all cool. But.
Dude, fire it off. This is your show. This is your rodeo. We'll do you, and then you can circle back and do another.
I just don't feel like Doug gets annoyed by anything.
Nah, nothing really annoys me.
What a stoic.
I've been feeling more chill just sitting next to
The only thing that ever annoyed me,
the radiance,
like watching TV shows back in the day, is like when they go with an outfitter and at the end it's like a half-second clip of outfitter done. Like they don't give no respect to where they're hunting or at.
Okay.
That's actually pretty nice of you.
Because you're like trying to. Because
that's
even
someone's
if you wanted to write
business.
it down, you couldn't write it down.
Yeah,
that's how fast they do it.
That's sad, actually. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Gary, for letting me hunt. All right, later.
I don't people know I was here.
Shout out to Gary.
My intern glassed this buck for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it sounded good.
That's fucking.
No one knows who Gary is.
It always annoyed me.
That's a really nice annoyance.
Yeah,
it is.
Just Gary's at home going, God damn it.
I gave him that hug.
Yeah, dude, I let him shoot the biggest buck on my property.
No one knows who I am.
Half-second shout out.
Right.
It's really funny.
That is.
It's true, though, isn't
What
it?
a good dude you are.
I'm loving the dynamic of this conversation.
Yeah,
just like,
It's true, though, isn't it? Like, I don't know, he's grinding my gears.
yeah, not giving credit
no
where credit's
respect.
due.
What
Yeah.
a guy.
Yeah, not
That makes me feel good inside.
Like, they brought you in, let you stay there,
right.
fed you.
Fed you a
They
meal.
fed you a good meal. Probably
Yeah.
the best meal
And
you
you're
had in a
just
long
like,
time.
Bam, thank you, bye.
All right, fair.
Money's on the dresser, baby. I'm done with you.
Yeah. Thanks, Mama.
All right, Colin's here.
I want to. Eric's got to go.
Well, I don't know, man. I might be the cuck. I don't think anything annoys me. I don't think anything annoys me.
What the hell?
What the hell?
Weird.
This guy could just take it.
All right, I feel like Byron's might be worse than mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and go first. Because you seem pretty jacked up about it.
Yeah, he gets in this space.
Yeah,
It's going to be
let's hear it.
crossbows.
Oh yeah,
Tell you right now, it's going to be. He's not leaving
That's
crossbows
fair.
out of this.
That's beat to death. So I'm not gonna go there.
That horse is dead.
Mine's a little more. It got less Haiti. Haiti is a bad term. The hatred became less over time.
Nice island.
It's a great term.
Great term. Garbage or island full of trash, whatever Tony was talking about.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah. Mine would be more like the the focus of the content and the space, and it only concerns if you're in the industry and consuming the content. I just feel like there's so many people serving up like informational shit and like clinic type stuff, like doing the walk around clinics and just speaking in like vague absolutes, and then nothing but like tips. Here's how much I know about this, and then have nothing to show for it. Like they want to be the educators of the content, and then the season goes by and you're like,
it's the equivalent of a fat trainer trying to tell you to get fit.
Yeah, it's like going to see a fat doctor who's telling you that you got a bad heart.
Yeah.
It's like, bitch, your heart's bad. Like, but you know what I mean? That's what annoys me, because those guys are maybe a little relative. What you're saying, Eric, is like they're getting sponsor money to put out content that obviously is bullshit because they're not producing. And I get,
and then they're not doing the best job possible. I think what we're talking about here is a little bit of authenticity. Like,
that's it. That's the root of it.
You're not being who you say you are.
And even then, even if you are practicing what you preach, I get like going a year and having a rough season. Like that shit happens. It happens 2 years in a row sometimes. But
yeah, or 5.
If you're looking at a 10-year span and you're the guy who's the educator and you're in there teaching me on a reel, talking about this, and then it's like, all right, perfect. We'll just narrow this example down so it makes more sense. Early season whitetails, and we're talking, maybe September 15th to October 15th from throughout the Midwest. Whenever ours opens October 1st, I know yours opens like the 15th.
September
15th.
Yeah, right around there.
Okay, so we'll just give that's early season, September 15th to October 15th. If you're doing podcasts or real content about killing early season whitetails and you've never done it, don't talk about it. I don't want to hear it from you. If you have somebody on your show that guests that does it and talks about killing it, cool, I'm tuning in. But if you're the guy who's going to be the educator,
you can't claim to be the authority also. You can't claim authority on a topic if you haven't done said thing consistently for years.
Authenticity.
Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. That's the key point to this. If you come up to me and you're like, dude, I can play one-on-one basketball really good. Here's what I do in one-on-one basketball. I'm going to be like, let's play one-on-one basketball, right? And you'll know really quick if you can't play one-on-one basketball. But
right now?
And I'm not saying like if a guy's in the deep South and he talks about killing early season whitetails in the deep South, I don't know shit about doing that, nor do I really care. But if he talks about it all the time and never has anything to show for it, that doesn't mean it.
But I bet he's got a really nice camera and mic.
Right.
And he sounds good and he looks good.
You're dragging me right down into your level right now, because this is you got me thinking now about.
Okay, so let's just go. And this is going to get specific, and I like these guys, and I'm not going to say my name just because I avoid it, but there's a reel that's out there where they're talking about a rub, and it's a clinic they're doing. And he's like, and I don't know it verbatim, but I watched it, and I was like, that, and I had secondhand embarrassment over watching it.
And they charge people for that clinic.
They're charging people for it. That's my issue.
The fucking issue.
Yeah, this deer right here, he could be tall, but there's some stuff over here. He could be wide, but here he could be. I'm like, it could be any deer with antlers made the rub. Like, I've watched little bucks rub good-sized trees and shred them, and I've watched little bucks take a sapling that I didn't think you could skin the bark off without pulling it out of the ground, and somehow they rubbed it up. Mm-hmm. But the whole time, because there's people that paid, they're speaking in absolutes. In whitetails and hunting in general, absolutes don't apply. And I think if you have enough hunting experience, you've killed enough deer, you've been around enough different hunting environments, you know you can never speak in absolutes because you can't ever call it.
You also can't speak so generally and then claim to be an authoritative person on the topic.
Exactly.
That's
my annoyance.
Then get fucking specific. Was it a big one or a small? Like, tell me which one fucking was it? I'm paying you. I'm here now. Like, did a big buck make that rub or did a small one make the rub? Well, it could have been. Fuck you. You're not a politician. Tell me.
Right.
Like, give me the damn answer. I'm asking you a direct question.
Here's how I would go about it, right? Like, if I was going to host a clinic.
A lot because I'm not on my show. This is
cuss
very
a lot,
comfortable
please.
Here.
I love it, dude. I love it. But, like, if I'm going to do that clinic, say I'm in that clinic, and all right, consulting and clinics are different.
Okay.
Consulting's what I would do to a property or a setup. Clinics are you're teaching right now what, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference. If I look at a rub line and I got a group of 15 cucks follow me around the woods and I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you this. What I would say, all right, look at this rub line. Obvious things you can see, right? Which I'm sure they say this too. Rubs are on all one side of the trees looking down the line. This buck's going that way. No fucking shit.
Probably at night.
Okay. Do we know what deer's making this rub? You know what? Without a trail cam, guess what? We don't fucking.
We don't, I have no idea.
Okay. All right. We want to learn. All right. Is it worth setting up on this? Maybe. Guess and check. Try it. See the deer. If you sit there, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's honest. Like, to sit there and be like, this deer's probably 180, and I bet he's got split brows. And he probably has a kicker off his too, because this tree over here has got a nick on it. Meanwhile, a squirrel just got aggressive climbing up that tree. You know, it's like, that's what annoys me, because there's some people that just like spoon feed it, and it's like those are the same dudes. It's like,
well, and sadly people believe
sad,
it.
kinda.
Sadly people believe it, and they pay money for it. That's like,
and I'm not saying, I don't want this to come across that like I think I'm the best.
That's not what you're saying.
It
at
could
all.
get twisted that way.
I don't.
Not at all. No.
I'm just saying, you're not gonna find me doing that and being like speaking in absolutes about it.
You don't like the preachiness of it.
I don't like the preachiness of it. That's probably the best way. It's just weird to me.
But
And then
feels,
it's weird.
It feels scammy. It feels like you're.
Yeah.
It's a little
It
sticky.
feels scammy. Like, do you really know? Like you know you don't know. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, that's how it would feel.
Totally. But also, too, I'm not going to go to Michigan and do a fucking clinic. Like, I don't know how to hunt Michigan.
Here's some wolves.
Give me a couple.
Kevin could put on a clinic.
Give me a couple seasons.
I'd show
and
up.
maybe I'd figure it out.
I'd be there. I'd go.
You have to learn.
I don't know.
Or like call the clinic the 101 or something.
That is.
The Learn Together clinic.
I am really thinking about that though.
Except you pay me to learn with you.
What do you think?
Some
No,
people,
seriously, what do you
some
think? I don't
people
know.
just, some people just kind of want to come hang out, and they're like,
That's fine. That's
right.
fine.
But you
I
don't.
get that part.
You generally don't like the misleading stuff. But it's like some people just like my wife's been pitching at me, motherfucker, like crazy, dude. $100, get me out of here. This rub is a buck.
Yeah,
it's a buck, and the buck might be 3, or maybe it's not.
Yeah.
It's just like a clinic, like, come hang out with me in the woods.
He's got split twos, or he doesn't.
So now we're gonna go over here.
See, I get that point. And then too, there's like another aspect. It's like people purposely like hunting shitty spots and then brag about it in content. It's like, it sounds like you just wasted your fucking time. Like, I had to paddle all the way in. Man, the canoe ride was nice. Like, that's cool. You took a canoe in. I know
I
you
do
do
that
that
all the time,
I know you do
actually.
it.
I'm
But
that
here's
guy.
the thing: if I go in, I don't see any fucking deer. I ain't canoeing in there anymore. I'm going somewhere
Guess
else.
what? I ain't going back.
My tolerance for bullshit and hunting takes a lot of effort. And if the effort is in to get content to romanticize the shittiness of your hunt,
I'm good.
You got to mix it up.
Right.
Like, I just don't have the tolerance for it. Like, if I want to kill a mule deer, you know what? I'm going to Colorado. I ain't going to do it in Illinois. So there's some of that aspect to it with me. It's like, I'm moving around until I find what I want. It's like Devin Leonard. If there's not the deer he wants to hunt, guess what? He doesn't hunt that mountain range. He fucking goes and finds something else. Or he bails and goes, hunts a whole other area. Altogether, different state. So I'm over that shit. Like,
is there a lot of that happening? Like, I'm not privy to seeing a lot of this.
I see.
I don't know what you've been,
I think-
I don't know what your algorithm's feeding you, but
gay shit.
No,
Gay shit. That's a cut.
Gay shit and goth mommy.
I don't know what your algorithm's showing you. Gay shit.
Yeah, the gay shit and the straightest shit all at the same time. But no, I think it's just
2025.
the podcast thing. There's a lot of like, I'm out. There's just gay shit. It's just soft gay shit. It's like it's just dishonest. Like, you enjoy not seeing or shooting deer. Like, you just hunt the spot because there's like a bragging point to saying you hunted that spot or did this. Like,
I think there is some of that. I think some people genuinely just like
the process is
they want to
fun.
be out.
I like the process of finding the deer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're not going to see me, and I'm not, this is not a dig at you. I'm just using the canoe thing as an example.
It's a dig at you.
I'm not going to canoe into a spot and not see deer for 10 days straight.
I've only
Oh
canoed
my
a spot
God,
where
I went on
have
a hunt
seen
like
deer, and
that.
it's been
You know what I'm
great.
saying?
And I'm
though?
done with it. I will not go back.
But here's the thing. If I canoe into a place and it's all this effort and I'm going in 2 hours for daylight and hanging a set, if I do that for 6 days straight and I didn't see a deer, ya boy is moving around, bro.
If I do it for 2 days, a day and a half maybe, and I don't see a single deer.
Dude, I lived this. Time out. I lived this last year. 3 days into the hunt, day 2, I scouted 6 miles, jumped 0 deer. I was like, guys, we got to leave. We need to leave.
Yeah.
And I was fucking
this ain't it.
annoyed as shit with the sand and the coffee and the food. Like, I was done.
Oh my God.
And I'm a DIY guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
I hunt the big woods, okay? I will embrace some suck for that, but like,
It's a grind, yeah.
this sucked and we'll never go back.
You got to know when to pull the plug and quit getting romantic with the gay shit.
Yeah, first of all, too, I'm not canoeing anywhere.
God, I hope that doesn't sound like I'm just hating.
Like, how many edibles have you had before you couldn't eat in to get romantic?
I don't eat edibles, but I better start eating them if I'm going to be canoeing.
If I'm canoeing, I'm taking edibles because I know they make fucking boat motors for a reason.
Dude, here's the thing.
No
If
shit.
I can put on a first light jacket and canoe in 40 miles on edibles and enjoy it, then it looks
You
like
would.
I might
You
get
would.
into edibles, dude.
You would enjoy it. To your point about
Go
like
on TikTok
The
Live.
first light thing was a joke. Nobody freaked.
To summarize, hashtag, Donnie Vincent alert, cut the gay shit out.
But so like,
I don't know anything about Donnie Vincent. That was not a Donnie Vincent hatred plug.
He's
Maybe
dude, it's too far with me. Cut the hair. You look homeless.
Cut the hair.
He looks like a homeless person.
He gets it done. He gets it done.
Okay.
No, he talks about too. They'll shoot a canoe crossing scene on a river.
It's
2 or 3 times to get the best.
It's some of it's
dramatic-y.
He's
cut the gay shit.
But all right, I don't know a lot about Donnie. Jordan met him and said he was cool as hell. But is he making?
could be. I never.
Is he making like honest, real TV, or is he filmmaking?
Let me tell you, that guy.
'Cause that makes it a little different.
I'll tell you, that guy probably isn't full of shit like these other guys put on clinics. I'm sure that guy's a real dude.
That's a fair point.
Okay, circle back.
I would take Donnie Vincent on my my roster versus like,
for the guys that are doing back to your clinic point.
I don't like him, but
I don't like it, but he's
all right.
badass.
He's pretty sick.
yeah, cut your hair.
To your clinic point though, like
You're on my team.
if you don't know your shit, just say that.
Honesty is the best.
Just say that. Like that's the whole Okayest Hunter thing. Is like we're not out there pontificating. I'm not telling you I'm killing big bucks.
Right.
I'm telling you exactly what the fuck is happening.
Right.
And I do believe that everyone's got something to teach someone.
Totally.
Not because they're being teachery or preachy, but like, man, maybe that kid just figured something. He didn't even fucking realize it, but I fucking realized it because I'm way ahead.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna learn from that little dude. You know.
That takes a while because I know Dave and I even have said this to this day. We came on this podcast in 2017 and talked a little bit about buck beds. Dude, I'll tell you fucking here today, I know shit like about buck beds.
Same.
But like
I'll tell you, I
at
don't
the
dwell
time-
on that much.
But at the time, we were trying to regurgitate some cool ass information. In full honesty, we did that in 2017. That comes with age of being able to admit. Like,
I think
I
a
don't
buck bed
know.
was like occupied by a buck, and now I'm like, that can't be real.
Dave said some stuff back in the day on a clip, and I don't want to call him out, but I'll tell you after the podcast. And I was like, I still remember it. It was so funny. I won't call him out. I love Dave, but I'll tell you after. It's funny, and I'll tell him to his face, but I won't do it on the podcast. But
yeah, well, we were nervous. I mean,
dude.
It was 2017.
Yeah, we were nervous too.
mid-20s, like
yeah.
But I will admit, back then, I might have done some bullshitting. That's being.
Am I going to admit that I have never fallen into it like subliminally in the hour or two of a pot? I probably have on multiple occasions that somebody could like receipt me on. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm
for sure. We talk too much.
Too.
I mean, I can't get away from it. The last 10 years have been on record. Like. I'm just telling you how I'm feeling in the moment all the fucking time. But I'll tell you what you're not going to hear me see is speaking ultra super duper absolutes, because like the rub line thing, the scrape thing, all that's all cool. And you can go off it. I kill all my deer guessing and checking. And I just feel like people won't admit that.
I've started to use that term a lot more here recently.
Dude,
I went no trail cams last year.
You call it guess and check?
Guess and check. Go in there. All right, mobile hunting is guessing and checking.
Scout it, hunt it. Figure it out.
Looks cool in here. Let's hang and hunt. Damn, he's over there. Pull down, hang over there the next time. And even if you got to sit there 3 sits in a row, which people don't like to bring that up either. You can't sit a spot multiple times in a row until you get a deer come by. I never sit the same spot twice. Fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
That's stupid.
We talk about that a lot.
Well,
yeah. That's
crazy.
That's an arrogant, that's a stupid thing to say.
Well, and I fully admit 5 years ago, I was like, I got to move every sit. And now, especially, I feel like some of the big wood stuff where you're kind of just waiting one to walk by and the terrain says he's going to walk by here because there's a fucking cliff over my shoulder. It's like, yeah, ride it.
Yeah.
And
ride it till you feel that you can again.
Yeah. And some guys are like a 3-day method. And I kind of like that aspect.
I like that.
You know,
I like that method.
I don't mind a 3-day method.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll sit 5 days if it's right.
Right, and let the does tell you if you bun the place
Especially
out.
if you actually see them.
If you're seeing deer and then day 5 you're not seeing deer and it's the same situation, move.
Yeah.
Well, and then
you're fucking up, you know, or
Right.
something getting you and you don't know it.
Three sit. I like the 3 sit. thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you sit for a morning, evening, and morning, and it's not happening, I feel like that's always my.
Yeah.
That's a pretty decent window. A 3-sit window.
I'll look at wind patterns a lot in that week of how I'm going to sit. You know what I mean?
And luck a lot.
Dude, and that might be the best fucking point made this whole podcast.
Is.
Like, so as everybody, and nobody wants to play that into it, but that's part of the guess and check factor.
You're right. No one wants to admit it was by luck.
Dude,
I'll luck into a buck.
Do you
any
think
day.
I was like, yeah, that deer for sure scores that much, and I'm gonna go in and kill him on that day? Guess and check, baby.
People
second
guess and
sit that
check
same
and
spot.
like that.
It's because
What about first sits for you guys? Like first sits have been my fucking jam, and I've heard that from a lot of people. I don't know what it is about it, if it's like a scent thing or what, but the first sits have been those are almost always the sits I've ever killed anything.
I'd say first 2 sits for sure.
Okay.
There's a crazy stat out there for the Ohio Big Buck record book, which is I think a couple inches bigger than Pope and Young, and it's like 62% of entries are guys on a stand on first time.
Oh, it's cool they take that stat.
That's a cool stat.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Wow. They asked him
60%.
Dude, don't quote me on the percentage, but it is significantly higher than anything else.
Totally believe it. I think, well, a lot of it too is like, okay, what's considered for set? Like, so a guess and check. A spot looks good. I'm looking at a map, which I think maps have killed a lot of deer, and it's like, okay,
That's a good thing.
I'm gonna go in here. Oh, the deer's doing that. Okay, is it your first sit if you sat in a big ass pinch and say it's 100 yards wide, and then you pulled down and moved over and hung again?
Yeah, that's all still part of the same hunt.
Yeah. New tree. Your butt is in a new position.
Correct.
So we're gonna go. That is a new sit.
Okay, fair. Boom.
Yeah.
Call it. So
WCB stamp.
yeah, that's.
Did you get a stamp?
I should need to get a gavel.
Fucking stamp.
Gavel.
Shit.
But it's
the seal. It's
guess
a
and
seal.
check, dude. Like if more guy, but here's the thing: you can't make content off guess and check.
I think it's coming back.
What do you
Right.
mean? What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
How am I going to stand in front of the camera with a mic right here and be like, guys, when I come out, I just guess and check.
I'm guessing.
There's your content.
It's not
for the year.
sexy.
It's not sexy. But if I go, guys, when I come
I
in
could get away
here,
with
I'm
that.
looking for a pin oak. And
It's always a pin oak.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
You're after the guess and check.
Yeah, on my graph,
yeah, it's
dude.
like-
Don't talk to me about graphs and deer hunt. Yeah, on my graph, the pin oaks in October 7th through the 9th.
yeah.
That's
Look at my
exactly what
PowerPoint.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
It
It's
drives
like-
me bananas too.
It's like,
How was that fun?
Dude, what about like what about confirmation bias in terms of like I hunted this and it worked before, and then I'm really bad at getting really comfortable with
Pin oak.
like this worked before. I'm going to sit this again and again because I've seen the deer do this. I understand this area. I'm very comfortable here. Versus that like uncomfortability of moving around.
I have a theory on
People
that.
get fixated on that kind of shit, and it's like, well, but was it beans or corn last year, or was it?
Yeah.
What other intel was happening that year?
A lot to do with
that
it.
happened. What are the historical rubs telling you? There's all these other dynamics. So I'm like I've ditched that 100% now. Like I've
yeah, but
I
don't
no
ditch it
longer do that.
100%.
Yeah, because sometimes a good spot's a good spot.
Good spot's a good
the
spot.
mentality
Good
of
spot's
it,
a great
I think.
But
spot.
I think a lot of it has to do with like, okay, take what you learned from killing that deer, throw it in your index,
Yep.
and always be ready to pull it out and apply it when you need to. So I've always I remember telling when I was probably 18.
And I should listen because
18
you
or
kill
19.
big bucks. So like this is important.
Well, I'm an idiot, so I guess and check. Remember
all
that.
are.
I have no content to make. So when I was 18, I remember riding.
Except kill shots. Fuck you.
Yeah. I remember riding in the truck to go on a deer recovery with one of the guys I looked up as like a role model. And I remember telling him, I said, one day I want to be the guy that people can go to ask questions about killing big deer. And I remember him going, dude, you'll get there. You just got to experience as much as you can experience while you're bow hunting. So I've always kind of viewed like everything you learn, how you kill a deer, what you did, you kind of index it over time. And it's not a one and done use thing. It's like, okay, hey, I hunted a spot similar to this and deer really liked using this edge coming from this spot to that spot. And this is kind of similar. I could probably get in here and do this. So I look at it as like, do I forget a lot of shit? Yeah, because I'm dumb. We covered that. But I like to like accumulate experience in situations for the next play because I have a pinch point that I hunt a lot. And if the deer come through it, they're dead. Well, I remember thinking this going, I got that pinch point. As long as the wind's right, I'll sit there for 5 days and kill
15.
a great deer.
Right.
Well, you know what? I did that and it didn't fucking happen.
Oh, shit. All
So,
right, see?
yeah, but when the going gets tough and the wind's right and I haven't put any pressure in there, pinch point, what pinch points do it could be that one if I'm on a different spot or different state, what looks similar to what I've hunted before and killed deer in.
Yeah.
Let's try it because I've killed deer in terrain like that before.
Yeah, deer are
deer.
Yes. Naturally,
deer do
take
deer
terrain.
things.
So that's the way I think about that in like a huge fucking broad.
I like that. It's like a very holistic perspective.
You know, so
It's tough to know if they're onto you.
Well, there could and public
You're
land's
two
a whole
steps
different ball
behind
game because
by the
it's
time
like
you realize it.
someone else could have done it already.
Yeah.
You don't even know it.
True.
Yeah, that's the thing. Guess and check.
So
What's it
fun.
feel like?
So fun to hunt whitetail deer because that's like they're everywhere. They're crafty.
They're nowhere.
Yeah, they're nowhere.
They're everywhere.
I haven't seen a deer in a month. They're everywhere and they're nowhere at the same time. That's a great
And
way
that's
to
the
say
thing,
it.
dude. Like I know when like I'm talking like this, and I'm talking a lot, and I apologize here, but like all the shit I've said to some people might be like, dude, fuck him. He's just got good spots. Well, I get that, and I'm sympathetic to it. And I'm very conscious on pressure and how I apply it and stuff like that. But if I'm gonna hunt a spot for 20 days over a season, I know a lot of guys can't hunt 20 days straight, whatever, and you don't see a deer, and you really want to kill a deer. I like killing deer. I'll leave the state. Like that's how dedicated I am. Like I get it. I know Michigan's got a lot of pressure, Wisconsin, a lot of the southern states. I'm not going to beat myself to death with minimal effort for a minimum window to hunt a couple months out of the year. Like if you really want to do it, you got to figure out
how to do it.
The best effort for your for your time.
We got a no belly aching clause, and that comes down to where you live. I don't want to hear about it.
That's so true.
That is
no
true.
belly aching clause is fucking hilarious.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm not gonna
That's like
hear
my
it.
mantra in life. If you're going to complain, you either like acknowledge your position in life and shut the fuck up, or you change it.
Yeah.
That, like I don't want to hear it. Either that's your life. Okay, well then that's your life, or fucking change it. But stop complaining.
It's extreme ownership.
Yeah.
You're
All right,
you're an
Jocko,
adult.
good job.
You're responsible for every decision that led you up to where you are right now. If you don't like it, I don't want to hear about it. Do something different.
That's what I said when
Move
we talked
around.
on some podcast at some point. I was like, yeah, I think you asked me, what's your take on getting a big buck this year? Or something. I was like, well, I live in reality. And my reality is that it's not gonna I'm not putting the dedication in to get a big buck, so I have to deal with my reality right now, and I'm accepting it, and it's fine. I'm not gonna complain.
Such an honest.
I'm not gonna
answer.
expect them to get a big buck either.
Great take.
But if it did
It's
happen,
a great take.
that'd be cool.
And if the internet had that honest take, it'd be a beautiful place for deer hunters.
Beautiful place. They don't.
Be so much better.
A lot of people
We're on it.
played high school football. Not a lot of people played college football, and even smaller.
No one
played
plays NFL.
NFL. And in deer hunting, killing upper echelon bucks, right? You're in that percentile, right?
Hey,
you're
I like that.
That's a good
And
analogy.
you're just like, dude,
good
you got to
analogy.
have God-given gifts, size, speed, strong.
Time, dedication.
You can't get injured.
I live in Illinois,
Yeah.
right? Okay, we got that. It doesn't mean it's fucking easy like everybody in whatever other state that they think is the hardest is. It's not.
Way better in Florida, but
It's different.
Right, yeah. And the thing is, I'm not going to Florida to kill 130-inch deer.
Well, the internet's also opened up. I've talked about this before in the past, and just in the show that we have, is you're seeing the Florida bucks, you're seeing the Arkansas bucks, you're seeing the Pennsylvania. You're seeing the lens of the world without the boundaries and the borders of the states. So you're judging people and casting judgment on things that you're not actually even fucking akin to at all.
Right.
That's a small buck, bro. What the hell? Well, yeah, but it's fucking Florida, dude.
Yeah, we have
What do you
It's a really big deer.
Or it's Pennsylvania. It's hard out here,
It's tough. I get it, and I'm sympathetic to it, but only so far.
They're judging it as if they're
Yeah.
also in Illinois, though. You're an Illinois hunter judging an Arkansas hunter.
for
It's
sure.
There's 150s
that's
around every
different.
tree.
Yeah. Or Iowa. Let's not talk about
Fuck
Iowa.
no, there's not.
Hey, where are we at time wise, and how long what do we have?
We're 134. The only constriction we're having.
Dinner.
Oh, I'm not even worried about dinner anymore.
What's up?
The only constriction that we're going to have is video upload to Spotify for size of file, but audio, we'll figure it out. So there's no time limit.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I'm enjoying this. I don't want to rush it, but
No, we're not, no, we're good. We're good. So it's fun
We
conversation.
good for a topic shift? Is that what you're saying?
no. Well, no.
I
Well, I
just
wanna
say
get
before
to
we
my
off that-
annoyance.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah,
get to your annoyance too, but I want to say this before we
we've
jump
been
on
there
fire.
yet.
I
we
was
got
gonna.
to
That
yours.
was my thing.
I felt
Everybody
like
go.
I came off a little hard.
No. Can I real quick?
do whatever you got to do.
public versus private.
Yeah.
To where you were saying, it drives me insane as a somebody that hunts a lot of public land. When guys that don't hunt public land do public land content, and are driving people out to hunt public land and they don't hunt it themselves.
You can't do that.
Who does that? Do people do that?
Yeah, because it clicks hard. Yeah.
If you put, I just take things at face value like an idiot.
Public land buck versus public land big buck versus big buck.
But people do that, and then they're hunting private.
Yes. There's all kinds of content.
Are you kidding me? People just lying?
Listen. There's levels to it. You could have a guest on to be like promote and talk about public land, but you yourself don't do that, and it's like we don't need more people. We don't tell them to go buy their own property and hunt deer there. That's a better move. It is for sure. You're gonna get.
They don't want to burn up that spot. They don't want to burn up their own property.
So it goes back to the thing of what I was talking about. Like if you're gonna say it, do it, live it.
It all goes back to authenticity.
Thank you.
That's the best fucking word, dude, for it.
That's a good podcasting skills down there.
We got the shirt, Stay Real. We always say realest hunting brand since 2015. That's
don't fake the funk, okay?
Yeah. So I get it if that's what it is. If that's what you do and you're going to talk all about it,
that's dirty. That's a dirty move. And if you do that
is dirty.
You should be ashamed.
Who's doing that?
Oh, I bet you we could pull them up.
If you're listening to this, you know someone.
This is where Byron gets nasty.
No, but there was literally.
Byron. Hey, if you're gonna talk dirty, Byron, you got to pull the pot.
All right, let's go. What is it?
No. I tried public land once and I left.
I saw, I saw Eric Public Land Hunter WCB.
I'm not gonna fucking lie to you about it.
I hunt public land once and I left.
Eric KayakHunter.com.
I ain't kayaking anywhere. Trust me, I'm lazy as fuck.
Just for the website, I want a picture of you like long staring down the river, like
with the fog rising.
Yeah, and just a bubble.
As long as we're going downriver, I'm good.
It's not Eric going into public land. It's him leaving public land.
With a button buck.
Yeah, with a yearling doe.
But he's got to have his like feet kicked up, like cruising, beer in hand, just not giving a shit.
Just a backwoods,
he's cabrewing. He's cabrewing.
Sure.
All of a sudden, he's cabrew mode. Like he's not hunting.
Somehow his teeth are missing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
We can make that happen.
An unlit backwoods for no reason.
It's just a little beef of mine is like, well, don't drive more. If that's not what you're doing, it's not your thing, but you know that it clicks. Like, just do something else.
Agreed. It's sticky. I don't like it.
I got to hear Byron.
All right, Byron's been.
You're up.
Oh,
drum roll, please.
No.
45 minutes later.
I mean, so what annoys me in the space? It's probably when I see the online content of we gotta stick together. Don't call out bullshit. And I'm like, we've tried that for 20 years. And now 70% of you motherfuckers in bow season are using crossbows. If we all played golf and you went and shot from the ladies' tees, I'm calling you out.
Yeah, you're going to get made fun of.
That's just what the boys do. So, I think the whole, let's stick together, don't, call people out for bullshit. No.
It's gay and retarded mentality. Bring it back.
Dude, yeah. Circle it back. So that to me lately has really kind of got to me.
Grinding gears, huh?
Is there more context you can color in there?
I mean, literally, you will go down anything that's maybe controversial in hunting, and people are like, "Oh, guys, we can't post this kind of stuff. We got to stick together.
Well,
we're all
hunters."
hunters."
Was just saying about the predators,
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, if you think it's bullshit, have a hard take, call it out, stick by it. If you
hard takes are important.
Yeah, and like I said,
that moves culture.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can't. I'm going to be very careful here.
Oh boy.
Very careful.
I'll fill in the voids where you can't.
Well, I'm going to mention my mother-in-law.
Okay, I won't fill in any voids.
You can't
unless you
say that I'm fine and then tell me in the face you're making looks like you're going to kill me. Those aren't aligned. Those things aren't aligned. You look pissed, but you say you're not. What am I to do with that information? You can't say that you're against something and then fucking do the same exact thing. You can't be a hypocrite. Am I making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
What's the hypocritical point?
Well, kind of like what you're saying, you need to call people on hard takes. You have to be willing to do that. You can't be playing both sides of the fence.
Yeah, and
If that, I don't know. Maybe
No,
it's
it makes
a bad
sense.
analogy.
It makes sense. No, I get it.
Don't share this with my wife.
No, and I think WCB has always done well. Like, hey, I think this is BS, or I don't like this in the space. But I do think a lot of hunting takes from podcast to online posts. They're like, I'm gonna use drones for example. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about drones. I'm like, dude, fuck drones. Right? You can fly over a property and hunt a buck. Like, I'm kind of like, fuck drones. I think dogs keep honest people honest.
Right.
Like, there's I feel like I'm looking at the plus minus with drones. I'm like,
See, I go back
let's
and
stick with
forth with
dogs.
drones. That's one thing where I'm like agree and disagree because I see, but that's a whole nother podcast. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like take a stance.
Yeah, yeah.
Be cool with it.
Yeah.
Because when you go wishy-washy, we get 70% of our bow hunters are fucking holding a crossbow.
Yeah, and that's one thing where, man, people get you when you have a hard opinion on crossbows. But I think, what are we doing?
They're not going away.
Well,
no, but we
the
got to figure
archery shop
something.
sell more
keep in mind,
crossbows than anything
keep
else.
in mind, he's a stick bow hunter.
No, I've dabbled.
Dude, they get, they get, you know, they get.
But
if
I
you don't
agree
have the
with
time
Byron
to,
on
if you don't have
this.
the time to practice and you are only going 20 feet into the forest and we're not even playing the same game.
Yeah.
Like it's
not
I'm
archery.
sorry, you're
It's not
you're
archery.
playing flag football and we're playing tackle, bro.
It's not archery.
It's not archery.
But
Bottom
that's
line,
okay.
it's not archery.
I'm not against it though.
Don't tell me you're a great golfer and I find out you play from the junior tees, bud. Like,
Yeah. Or you got one of them. You hold it, and it's one of them robotic
Again,
things that goes.
authenticity.
yeah, you got the ball launcher off the tee.
It's the same thing. You never had to swing your club. The thing you had a thing. You hit a button, and then it popped out and hit your golf ball for you.
Yeah,
that's crossbow.
If I come to a
That's my
if I come to a
crossbows.
golf
You know?
tournament with a baseball bat, you're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the same thing. It's like, yeah, totally agree.
Can I
please
interject?
Please.
In the animal's defense, I got buddies that bow hunt that suck at bow hunting. Like they practice a whole bunch.
Crossbows are very
That's why there's gun season.
Okay.
And that's what I would say. If I was the deer czar, I would say that too. But I'm like, dude, stop bow hunting. They're not going to stop bow hunting. So I was like, all right, if you can't shoot
That's
bow,
a person problem. And then I guess the crossbow.
it is. I'm bringing up every
You
angle
can't
because I
play in
got
the
buddies
NFL if
that
you're
are
not
like,
fast.
It's a good point.
It's like-
I'll tell you this. I see a lot of crossbow guys take shitty, unethical shots because
That's a different
Because they have a
situation.
crossbow.
Yeah,
Because
well, it's the
they-
same thing as the compound guy. You get a crossbow guy shooting 80 yards. That
Just
shouldn't
don't do
be
that
shooting 80 yards.
with any fucking
Just
bow.
don't do it. But one thing I do, I
Just
kind
because
of
you can doesn't mean you should.
This is something I love.
did he make you feel better about the level of like?
Oh, I was equal playing field with Byron. the
That's
whole
why
time.
you said I'm gonna make him last.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know it'd be as like that good. Like, no offense, but I didn't know how hard you're gonna go. But I love it. But one thing I love, and then we'll get off this whole fucking topic.
That's perfect.
But I love when guys shoot deer and then post about it on Facebook before they recover, and then they don't
fuck.
recover it, then they have to follow.
That's
back.
not good. Don't do that.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be
do
that dude.
Like it's like fucking posting giving me the conclusion of the story before you have the conclusion of the story.
I hate it. It just shows you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Correct.
You know, call your homies. They're part of the
Because they're
culture.
going to help
with
you solve the mystery. Because it's a
Totally.
crime scene. You got to go fucking investigate.
Every time I see someone
Literally.
go big
Literally.
buck, every time from now on, every time I see it in my feed, big buck down, I'm just gonna comment a period, and then so when they're like, "Fuck, we had to back out, we had to call the drone."
Yeah.
The dog's here.
Which I'm not hating. That shit happens. But
chill.
Don't post on Facebook before you recover.
Yeah.
What are you? What are we doing this for?
Pump the brakes, pal.
I'm gonna start doing that.
What are we doing this for?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that would suck big time for us.
Don't do that.
As a whole. Anyway.
Can I swing us back full positive?
Yes,
Just total
please.
lane
Yeah,
change?
I was just gonna go right back to
Good
you.
pivot.
That a girl.
Great
Okay,
pivot.
cool.
That a girl.
I got public and private land debate, which everybody's going, how's this getting positive? But I think they're both their own flexes. They're different things, but like if you go acquire a piece of property and you develop it and you hunt deer there and shoot deer there, like that's a flex.
Yeah, because you have to have money in the bank.
It's a flex. I own this asset. I hunt there. Nobody else can. But also,
you can burn it out real fast.
if you go do public,
It's a skill set.
like
It's
sucky.
still a skill set.
If you go do public and it's sucky and you hunt for like 7 days and see 3 deer and one's like not even 100 inches,
What a brag.
I mean, dude, it could be real hard and it can be real tough, right? You know, like I brought that up when last time you and I recorded on your coos deer. Mm-hmm. It's not giant.
No.
It's a different game.
But it was fun.
Well, for coos, it's pretty big, but for whitetails, it's like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, and you'd never do it except for the adventure.
Yeah. Fun fact that coos is 4 inches short of Boone.
I believe it.
Oh,
Just the size of the neck and head got me like,
Like a baby.
German Shepherd.
Yeah.
German Shepherd.
Baby. He's 196 or 5 or whatever the fuck it's on there.
He's what?
96.
Yeah, you did say 196.
I did. 96.
World record.
I knew exactly what was going on.
He's between 94 and 96. I think Boone's
Your brain didn't even know how to count.
Yeah. Well, I always put a 1 in front of it.
Yeah. Couldn't go under 1. Yeah.
automatically.
I just
it
got
puts a 1 in front of it.
Whitetail. It just does. You know? That's hilarious.
You get the whitetail brain on.
It's my whole point, but it's fun. It's fucking fun.
It's fun.
And we're doing DIY hunting now. We're not doing public or private.
But do people still argue about public and
Yes,
private?
it clicks.
Yeah,
Can we just stop
I feel like it's tapering though.
Like it's not a thing anymore, right?
tapering
Let's
a
just
little
call
bit.
it right now.
We got a
It's
whole
not
case
thing.
of what are these?
They're lights, huh?
Kevin,
They're not bad.
These are good beers.
Yes, it clicks, right? So, but I'm done with it, and I just think each one is their own flex.
Yeah.
And everybody
Yeah.
needs to say, hey, this is just a little bit of a different thing. Fuck off.
I think you're right, Eric, though. I think it's toning down.
It is.
It's not as bad as it used to be.
Well, probably
it's
because
seen its
our
day.
generations, people
I
are
grew
starting
up-
to have money and buy properties and go, oh, yeah, I gotta go.
I grew up through and through on public land.
You
and
know?
private was the flex. Private was like, ooh, you got private.
But take
That's where the deer go. They go into the private land.
well, take
That's what I thought. You know.
this is like a fun thing to think about. I think for obviously public is
Doug,
its own
may I?
skill with the challenge and the people, and the pressure and all that. And then
Load me up.
most people don't have 300 acres
all the
of
way
private. They have
Jeez.
20, 40,
Yeah. Right.
10 to 40,
16,
whatever,
8, yeah.
random and all in there.
7.
Yeah, kill a big deer on that throughout a season and not overpressure it.
One. I got one.
Could arguably, is that harder than hunting a 500-acre piece of public? Maybe.
Different. It's just different hard. It's different.
Who can call it? Nobody can.
How do you judge that?
But
It's girth versus width, guys.
That's right. And you know that deer made the rub because look at the split too that it might have or doesn't.
Yeah. I could tell that buck has mass.
Yeah.
He's got a big
Yeah.
shaft.
See all those shavings?
I like how Byron's the one that really picked up on that.
No, I caught it too.
I missed it.
too.
What was it?
Girth versus width.
Yeah, I got it. Tuna
Or like,
can,
I mean,
tuna
length.
can
Girth
stuff.
versus length. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Width. Width is you could say width. All right, move on.
I got is it Boone and Crockett and Pope and Young. You had who's the guy dialed?
Scott Bakken.
Scott Bakken. That's
Scott
right.
Bakken and Bucky Islandfeld are our homies. over
Yeah,
there.
and you guys talked a bit about that, and I think I'm above average. I'm
Wow.
Of what?
Yeah.
That's the wrong way to say it.
99%.
No, yeah, I'm above average whitetail enthusiast.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
We all are. We all are.
Yeah, I care more about it than like maybe the general public.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you guys are talking about that. You're talking about getting younger generations and stuff in and this and that. And it's weird that I'm an above average enthusiast and I'm not involved with anything that any of them have ever done. And he was making a pitch how everybody had to be involved. And I was listening to it. I'm like, the pitch isn't great, but the end message is kinda. And I hear you, what you said. We need to reform and reshape because how am I not involved with that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like,
yeah.
how have they not reached me as a consumer?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are off base. So when he was talking about that, I was like, yeah, his approach is a little off, like telling me I'm a piece of shit and I'm part of the problem. But I know Scott, so I processed it
He
accordingly.
doesn't mean it that way, right? But I see what you're saying.
Scott, next time, maybe,
Right.
But I get it.
He's direct
and
to the
I
point.
appreciate
Yeah.
for him always being himself.
Right.
But he's right. We need to get on. And so, this isn't something that I had on the list, but I just bought a domain name recently, and we're going to start a new conservation group. And it's kind of like, how do we figure out how to move forward? How do we bring those guys into the mix where my son, who's 9, thinks this is the coolest shit going on. This is where I'm going to be. This is cooler than all that other bullshit that's going on.
Skibbity Riz, right?
Yeah. Got no Riz, kid.
I'm sure.
I don't know
what
what it means. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what it means. It just sounded funny.
Yeah, but honestly, that's
anyone
a great.
knows, it'd be
It's a
Doug.
great play. Like you're.
It's just something that I'm thinking ahead on, and I'm hearing that, and it was something that I was listening to and going like, this is an interesting observation. I'm like a heavy consumer in the space. I'm not part of these groups.
Yeah.
How have they missed me?
Totally. And I think I was trying to get to that. And I think if the high up guys at Pope and Young listen to me talk, they would hate me, I think, at first, and then appreciate me at the end. Does that make sense? Kind of like
Hashtag Mark Drury alert. Like,
what do you mean?
I mean, like Mark Drury, like I said, he came on here and just aired out who he was,
right,
and what the thing is, and was honest in like long format and everything. Everybody's like, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
You know, so some of that and tied in with some campaigns, like we need to look ahead. How do we be skibbity riz? You know, I don't fucking know.
I didn't know those words make sense.
Yeah.
I just
I don't know. Kill a couple brain cells.
Really good.
Yeah,
I dig.
Hey, that's what the kids are saying, I guess. But
it is what the kids.
Yeah, I think I would love to see Pope and Young. I'm not saying that they're not making.
I've never
efforts.
scored a deer.
I think they hate what you're saying now, but in 5 years they're gonna really look back on it.
I think
and
in
be
10 years.
5-10 years, they're gonna look back and be.
Business moves fast, trends go quick. You gotta. I'm with you. 5
and
years.
dude, like in
I say 5 years, dude. They're gonna be.
I might already be out of touch. And I don't know it. You know what I mean? But it's like
I could be dead.
But we got Jordan. Jordan's gonna keep us in the loop, and then my kids will be in, and I'll miss a little gap in there. But
no, we're on the forefront of this right now. That's why I'm bringing these things up.
Yeah. Well,
We
I think
have to.
so. Really quick, this has been beat down in WCB. I've been a measure and a member of Pope and Young Club my entire adult life. So since I was 18, 19, I've been a measure and a member of Pope and Young.
What do you officially measure, Doug?
6.
Nothing.
After the drying period, or did you have your
wasn't
certificate?
It wasn't true.
Doug's never tried. But it's, you know, like it's, there's a lot to fucking play in there. Like in my whole adult life, half my life, I've been involved with Pope and Young, and I've been a measure, and I kind of fell in, and then Bucky came in. Bucky is an older guy. I always call him a boomer. He's not a boomer. He's under the age gap for a boomer. But I say it to him.
Because it's funny.
It's funny. He gets it.
It's funny.
And I love Bucky. He's like, I probably call him my big brother type guy, you know. But he was like, dude, enter all your deer. I'm like, cool. All right, let's do it. So he entered all my deer, entered the rest of my dad's deer he didn't have entered. It's pretty cool. I just got them all in the mail the other day, and I bought like a 15-pack of frames off Amazon and framed them all up and seeing them all together and seeing like deer that I had entered in the bow hunting record book forever with my dad's name on them that he hadn't had entered. I'm like, that's fucking cool. And I have this like excessive display, and it's just kind of a neat thing, and it's cool to be like cemented in bow hunting history in a way, and it supports the club, and it's good for all this, and I love it. And I just want to see if they ever take anything negative, it's because I have concern for the long term of where things are going.
It's because you care.
I care, but I just seem like a dick in the middle of it. I'm sorry.
But at the end of the day, you care.
I do care, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. And I almost thought about not entering my deer from this season, and Bucky's like, dude, you got to enter them.
Hey,
like,
dude.
We'll see, bud. So.
Well, it means a lot to me too, and I think it's a good thing. And you know, I want to bring attention to it because I was listening to that and I'm going, yeah, this seems important, like something that's worth being brought up again and again. And to the people that could potentially, you know, affect some change, let's get this thing a little more on target moving forward.
The weird thing is I've never heard it talked about outside of us podcasting.
Kurt, what I think
you never hear anyone talk about it.
Yeah, but I also don't pay attention, though.
I think it elevates the memory. I think entering into the record book elevates the memory.
Yeah, it's neat. Like and then that's a whole nother thing. I have, you know, things about the scoring system I love and don't agree with all at the same time. But it does elevate the memory. It's kind of neat to have that.
It's already a memory. You don't need to do that.
It's a personal thing.
It adds to it.
But it elevates it in a way that, like, my dad's got his name on a stone at Miller Park. Well, it's American Family Park now, whatever the hell it's called, because he was there when he helped on the construction side of things. But I can go there. My dad, he's not going to live forever.
It's pretty neat.
His name is right fucking there. Like,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's similar.
Yeah, it is. It's for sure. It is cool as
a
hell.
little bit of legacy. It's not for sake of it, but it's like, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a neat thing. I mean, getting all them certificates in the mail was a pretty cool feeling. It was neat. It's cool to see them in the frames all together. It's like, it doesn't really mean anything to anybody else. To me, it's pretty cool.
That's the thing, right? That's the kicker.
Keep
You're not shoving anyone's face.
No.
Keep
for you.
Keep talking about it.
That's-
You know,
yeah,
like
dear.
I
I
I might send all my friends and talk shit to my friends,
Well, I mean, you got, yeah.
but I'm not going to do it on
Right.
the internet, you know.
I'm saying if they're gonna, you know, have a platform moving forward, they got to get the message out there and let people know. And I don't know a whole ton about it. You know, I don't get all my deer measured and get a certificate and stuff, but I thought it was a cool thing and I wanted to bring it up. So
I appreciate it.
Moving on, I got baiting.
Yeah.
You guys had a conversation about a podcast that was done with video producer guys with the short clips. Guys.
The Hunter guys?
Yes, thank you.
The Hunter podcast guys?
Yeah. About baiting. You said they talk about baiting.
Oh, yeah. They talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I know they have strong opinions, but honestly, I don't know that much on what their opinions are.
Okay, that's fair. So you guys had brought it up and talking about it, and everybody thinks corn pile, and you know, in the big timber, you go out in the wilderness and do a bait hunt. It can be one of the most exciting things ever. So it's like, it always had this I feel like people really look down on it, and it's condescending, and people do get out of line with it. It's obnoxious. You know, people go out there and dump a bag of carrots and a bag of corn and then a bag of apples, and then they bring a wheelbarrow out with a bag of beets, and this is like, by the time you know it, there's an 8-foot pile of bait sitting there, and it's kind of like, that's clunky and annoying. But if you go hunt like a wilderness area and you take maybe like 3 gallons of shelled corn and apples, and you go and just, you know, pick a strategic location and go throw it out there and let it sit for 72, you know, go back in there on like the 3rd day and sit it. Like every deer within like square miles of there is probably likely going to come and cruise through there, and you might kill the biggest buck in the area if your entry's good and your wind's good. But these deer understand bait. They've been hunting over bait for decades, so they're going to come in downwind. They know where people park.
It's just like a little food plot.
It's like a little food plot, and you can actually start to play games with them. Running a bait's kind of annoying because you got to go in there and replenish it. Once the bait's gone, they're like, yeah, I'm not.
We're done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they like pattern you, right? But you can let them pattern you and then work around their pattern.
The touch and go.
Yeah. Throw like a reverse in there.
Yeah, exactly.
My issue with baiting is if you do it and then you act like you didn't.
Well, there's a big problem because a lot of products get sold around like, I made this scrape with Dr. Doolittle's buck juice. And these bucks came right in, and there's a pile of apples like 10 foot off frame.
Yeah. Well, right.
It happens all the time.
Oh, it happens. Probably most of the time.
Yeah. Industry secret. I've edited for a web show for several years. Do you know how many clips I've had to edit out bait?
Oh, it's common. It's the thing. I'll tell you this. If we're hunting over bait, we only do it where it's legal, and you're going to see it in our Unhinged series, we show the fucking bait.
Thank you.
Good.
That's fair and
You're
fine.
welcome.
I killed a
This
velvet
whole
buck.
episode is just being authentic. Like, just stop fucking lying to people.
Right.
What are we doing?
Exactly. What is going on?
I kill a buck in Kentucky chewing on a corn on the cob. What am I supposed to do?
Well, and we're going to show we're going to show it too because
Where do you find that?
we're going
A
to show
combine rolled through here, like dropped it.
All
I
them
swear that's not
losses.
mine.
But here's the thing: it's like,
Hot food source.
and am I also gonna act like if anybody hot food source, a yellow food plot? Am I gonna act like if anybody listening got the invite to go hunt on a buddy's farm? Hey, brother, what are you doing? We got a empty spot in camp. If you can make it out next week, got you in Kentucky, early season. Some bucks are still in velvet and weak in bait. Hey, brother, actually, it looks like I can make it. You not gonna go?
Are they gonna bring their crossbow or?
Maybe. Hey, but if that's what you're doing, if you fell down a set of stairs, and broke your
any bait
collarbone.
I ever did, like they just hit it at night because we weren't doing it's public land back in the Shawanagan Nicolay National Forest in Wisconsin, which is very similar to probably like what you're dealing with in the like vast wilderness of the northern Michigan, UP. because like that stuff borders the UP. My dad would go put some apples down.
You're quite a bit north than me.
Yeah,
in the Nicolay.
So. But it wasn't like he was going up all summer long and replenishing. It was kind of like, let's put bait down tonight and it's opening weekend tomorrow. At that point, I'm walking out there like thinking I'm going to fucking walk up on a bear. And I'm actually terrified that we did this. And, there's a lot of tracks and the bait was eaten, but it was all done at night. So my experience with baiting is just kind of like, well, that felt stupid. I was A, fearful for my life from black bears, and B, the deer don't come to it in the middle of the day when I'm hunting over it.
Well, they will if they don't know you're
there.
Yeah.
I think that's
was so young.
dependent
This is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so my experience has built upon this. But that has been the only exposure I've had to baiting. And I don't know. I've seen people like slam Lee Ellis for putting corn out for trail cam, videos and footage and pictures. And I'm like, he's just trying to get inventory.
Yeah. He's trying to get
what's the problem?
It's the hiding factor that's been
that's the issue we're
after
talking
season.
about.
Well, in Iowa, we can supplement a feed.
And he's obviously
we do it.
Faking. Lee's not trying to deny it. He's literally showing himself dumping bags of corn out.
Yeah.
Like he's not lying to you. So what's the problem?
And I'm saying it can be done tastefully too. The guys that get carried away, baiting's illegal in Michigan.
So what are you doing?
A lot of people bait.
Dude, you go to any farm store in Illinois and see if you can't buy blocks of deer salt, deer carrot.
Pallets.
Every store, dude.
Pallets.
It's
Bring
like,
another pallet in.
You look up any outfitter in Illinois that has a Facebook page. I can pull up 5 right now. Every deer's in the middle of the timber licking its lips in the middle of July.
Right.
It's like, man, that deer licks its those lips are chapped. It's July 20th. What are we doing?
Why is there a crater right in front of his feet? I got no idea.
Yeah, meteorite hole. That's where the minerals come out of,
Like Eric said, though, like that doesn't even help you. Sometimes it just hurts you. Like
it can.
Guys if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, it can.
Aren't killing big bucks.
No, let's
like,
take a
I
hard
put out the
stance
most
here.
bait.
No. If you said I can hunt over bait and not hunt over bait,
We literally brought apple juice and sprayed it on the
you're
trees.
going to kill more deer over bait.
You're hunting over bait.
Yeah.
Hey,
But if you're doing it illegal.
Ohio, dude.
Well,
Maybe this got brought up when I was peeing. How come all the big deer get killed over how many 200 deer get killed in Ohio in the first 3 days of season, and then no one talks about bait?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why.
You don't see that in every big buck state in the country.
Here's your next clinic.
If
this is how I bait.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right here. This is how I killed this deer over bait, and then talked about it honestly.
What if you had a clinic about that? That'd be hilarious.
No one would come.
That's what we're giving, right?
I find that
there'd be people that came.
I find that if I spell my name in corn, it works really good.
Yeah.
Early season bucks. # corn is king.
Use my secret sash.
I'm the best. But here's the thing: we do
Dr.
free beer at our
Doolittle's.
clinic. So if you got nothing out of it, at least you got to get drunk.
I draw arrows with corn to the corn pile, and they follow it.
But imagine if Iowa was legal baiting during hunting season. Imagine the first 5 days of October in Iowa.
It'd be fucking bizarre.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like Ohio, but maybe a little more
There'd be
concentrated.
harvest
in
photos
big deer.
everywhere.
It changes the whole dynamic of the woods. I'll
For
say
sure,
that.
yeah.
When the deer have natural movements, and then all of a sudden people are just putting premium food sources down right on the edge of bedding where they don't have to go out in the field. They prefer that stuff, for sure. But they're at least where I hunt, these deer have been hunted for decades over bait, so you got to play 4D chess with them,
right?
Because if you're Dickie Mo Nation and you're just walking in there and throwing the stuff down and then climbing in your ladder stand, and they're watching you do it. They're watching you do it.
Yeah.
How do you not know? Well, I know how you don't know. But it's just an interesting thing. But there's a really fun way, and I don't know why people are so shy about it. Just be like, yeah, this is how
It's an ego thing.
Maybe it's product.
It's the same reason why I'm not putting crossbows in your trophy photos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or hiding the guns.
They don't want to admit it, but they know it would hurt the look.
Yeah. And
yeah, no one's
whatever.
endorsing a camo stand with a camo brand like over a big corn.
Like face to face, they'll tell you, but they post a picture. Of
Maybe
they just left it out.
It's not the face of Sitka.
Oh, I forgot to put that in there. Huh?
They're not standing over an apple
Shit,
pile.
I forgot to say that.
Whatever.
It's a canoe
And
ride.
hunt a bait state is, I mean, it's fun, but it's weird.
It is weird.
It feels wrong.
It feels wrong, like because I hunted Kansas, I shot a doe and a buck over a pile of corn in Kansas.
Yeah.
It was awesome and weird at the same time.
Yeah, it feels a little silly.
It's a cultural thing.
It is.
Yeah.
If you grew up on it, or if you didn't grow up on it, whatever. But known yardage as a bow hunter, you want them at 20, you put it at 20. And then they're preoccupied and they're kind of doing a thing. So it's like, this is a good deal for everybody here.
It works. I just, if you're doing it, I want an honesty about it. Whatever.
Yeah. That's it. But that's
it.
why
I think people are too
it.
concerned with trying to be a badass or something weird.
You kind of
like, why? But why do you need to be that way?
But Ohio's the
selling
most
product.
obvious
Yes.
state for big bucks that were baited and never talked about.
Product sales.
Ohio's by far the most obvious, right? Would you agree?
Oh, 100%, because it's legal. We have a late September opener most years, and the amount of bucks that get killed the first 2-3 days is significantly more than some of the Midwest states that open October 1. I think a combination of late September and bait piles.
September is a big factor.
If you took...
But that's interesting because like early season, there's food everywhere. So how is a bait pile going to do?
But it's like a thing of Twinkies versus
It's
Yeah,
like
we got
saying
some premium
salad everywhere
shit.
else.
you're hating on bait, but in Illinois, you got a cornfield. It's like, well, yeah, I pinpoint the exact 20-yard spot that a deer's going to hit a 300-acre cornfield.
Deer are lazy. They're going to go to a pile of corn on the ground rather than try and pick it off the stalk.
stalk.
You
You got Twizzlers over here and a McFlurry, right? And freaking right there.
Yeah, and the rest
Tell
of
me
the
where
place
you're gonna
is
go to.
salad.
Yeah.
Where am I going?
Just salad.
McFlurry, baby. Yeah, good.
McFlurry's fun.
M&M's are in the next bait pile.
Yeah, right.
I like that.
Good fun combo.
Yeah, some of this is the fundamentals, and we don't all agree. And I say Matt Ranella, sometimes he doesn't have the best delivery, but this is the foundation of his argument, is when these people are out here making money, saying they're doing this, they're not being honest, they're cutting shit out.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey.
I get his point with that stuff. He just comes across like the dude that doesn't want you, like kids playing outside having a good time. Those damn kids are being too loud. It's almost like, I get it, but like kind of what he does, like, which was funny what he said about us, the unhinged thing. We just took that and ran, But he's like talking about.
Did he say something about you guys?
Yeah,
It's in the intro.
on Kevin's podcast. Yeah, he called us unhinged, which is great. We are pretty unhinged, but
Who was in line?
But also, it's like, it's funny. He's like, they're saying fucking faggots and stuff. And I'm like, oh, dude.
You just said it.
Dude sucks.
You really just said it.
Dude, did
Does it
you
make you
hear the
different than
audio
me?
clip that he made?
I made a clip where it
That's so
sounds like he
funny.
calls us faggots.
Yeah,
had to
it's
find
really
it.
funny. He
I just-
played it for me.
I chopped it up. He's like, those hosts are fucking faggots. I didn't post it because he didn't actually say that. I wouldn't. I'm not putting words in
Just
his
say
mouth.
AI did it. It's fine.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what I
basically, But I get it, dude. I get it. To a point, I get it. But also, I don't get it. Like, you're going to talk about hunting quietly, and then meanwhile, you're putting out podcast episodes and trying to like promote your podcast. It's like,
He's partly there.
yeah, he's fucking kind of hypocritical to a point. It's kind of like we had that dude in. Oh, fuck, I can't remember his name.
The guy who tried to have that conversation.
He came in here.
Oh God, dude, he was really bad about
He
it.
had the
internet
taste
guy.
of Matt Ranella's dick in his mouth when he sat down. Like he still could taste it.
He emailed me recently
That guy?
to come onto my show.
Did you come on your
but-
show?
It did not go how he wanted.
In his defense, I don't know how old the guy was, but
I
like
missed that joke. There was a joke in there.
you come in here to the bright lights, you probably fumble.
I give him so much credit for doing it.
He took some cojones.
I give him so much credit.
He committed.
And I think he's a good dude. We took him to dinner, and afterwards he was pacing around out there in the studio. He's like, "How many people listen to this show?"
Oh,
Did
he
not
knew.
go the way he wanted, and I had not heard a goddamn word out of him since.
You know what's interesting?
I appreciate his take.
Oh yeah, and I think
It was just wrong delivery.
right, and I think all of us have, as content creators in the space, have dialed back what we share a lot in the last couple of years, as far as maybe hunting quieter than what we used to.
Yeah, right. Sometimes.
Kurt, you've always been very secretive and rightly smart.
Gotta be, dude.
Well, I will admit, I think that
I want to keep killing big deer, bro.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
he's not off on that. People do need to kind of tone it back.
Yeah.
'cause
don't
the-
say corners of state, some of that towns.
I will tell you this,
counties, none of that.
I said this before. I just saw this clip. I don't know if I could play it. I had to find it. I don't know if it'd be okay to play it on audio. I'm sure it was Mark Kenyon said. I'm sure he wouldn't care. I'm sure he'd appreciate the props.
He wouldn't care. He'd like it.
Let me find it. Yeah, I'm sure he would.
You could do the clip, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll listen 2 hours and 10 minutes.
He's been posting a lot. He's been posting a lot
Mark,
lately,
I'm
so I don't know which
signing
clip.
off on it.
Okay, hold on a sec. Here, let me see if I can find it.
You and Mark were going back and forth in the comments on our stuff the other day.
Yeah, we had a long text exchange.
I jumped in at the
yesterday.
end.
I was going to read it here because I think it's important current events.
Hold on a second to find where it was. Sorry, I just turned my phone off airplane mode and I'm regretting
Yeah, no, it's all good.
And I'm regretting it. Can you have podcast mode?
Dead air. Technology.
It's a long clip.
Suck on some lemons.
Elephant in the room. The fact that by discussing this kind of adventure, by bringing up how great it is to head west and do this kind of trip, we are inherently encouraging more folks to go out there to a place that already is experiencing a lot of pressure. There's been a bit of backlash to increasing hunting pressure, really all across the country, but especially out west, and folks frustrated by legacy TV programming or magazines and books, and now more recently podcasts and YouTube channels and social media. All of these things bringing attention to the incredible opportunities we have out west, but then that inherently putting stress on those places, which can't be denied that is a thing that's happening. And that's not just with hunting. That's also true with camping and backpacking and hiking and kayaking and climbing, all of these things.
That's a little weird.
Yeah. Of loving them to death.
He's not wrong.
If we're not careful. Yes, these public lands are ours. That is this incredible inheritance we have as Americans. We have 640 million acres of federal public lands that are.
So he goes on to make a good point. I think if Matt Ranella came with more of that approach with it, like, look, I'm kind of a part of this too. Yeah, I just like the way that delivery was. Matt just comes off.
Matt's an extremist.
His message gets ruined in his delivery, and then everyone's like, fuck that guy.
Because the end game is that they just all, like Fight Club, the buildings crumble at the end. Like that isn't going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not going to fold up their shops.
Right.
So if that's the end game you're after, like,
you're right.
You're going to have to temper it to some degree to be realistic. What can we realistically do?
Thank you,
Matt. Because that's not actually going to happen.
Right.
It's like I've talked about this at some point. You can't tell high school students to fucking be abstinent. They're gonna fuck. At some point,
Facts.
you could
Holy
be like,
facts.
you could be like, look, you probably don't want STIDs. Maybe you don't have sex yet. Babies aren't probably going to be something you're going to want to deal with right now. But then they're like, they feel weird trying to promote it by giving them condoms.
Yeah.
Like,
oh wow. Yeah.
so it's very much that same type of message.
Great analogy.
Like,
it's perfect. I was thinking, like, don't tell people RFK, like, don't eat the French fries.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we get it. But we're gonna eat the French fries.
Yeah, they're too good not to eat, baby.
They're fucking delicious.
Let me tell you what's
too good. Yeah,
Sex is good. Sex is great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever had it?
I have 3 kids,
Pretty
okay?
fucking good.
Let me tell you how good sex is.
Yeah, bugling bulls on public land's pretty sick if you can go there. So great analogy, Eric.
That's a
That's the
great
best way to put it.
analogy.
And I think if Matt had the approach, if Matt and that Mark Kenyon clip blended, I don't agree with all that. I think there's some off-kilter gay shit in there a little bit, but like if they could take that and kind of blend it, and how can we be on the same team without creating an argument in this?
Oh, I have an idea.
Yes, Eric.
Check this out.
He raised his hand.
Or, I mean, Clark.
Yeah, Clark. So, to your point where you're like, I don't know about the gay shit. I think what I call them granola.
I'm not calling Mark gay, I'm saying.
No, I call them crunchy granola bar people, the campers, the hikers, the bikers, the bird watchers, all that stuff. Look, they have the niches that we are in too. There are content creators around, like what are the people that do the off-road stuff? The
overland people.
Overland and all of that is the same to their own world. So they're also putting pressure on in that degree. And they're doing the same content game that's happening here. They probably have some other thing to talk about that's the equivalent of baiting or whatever.
Right.
To that end.
That's what you're saying, yeah.
Well, can we fucking do, like, the Pittman-Robertson Act has been one of the single best things for conservation, because when we buy ammunition, the largest percentage of tax dollars go back into conservation and public land and supporting that. And unequivocally, hunters provide the most revenue for conservation. It's not even close.
Not.
Can we put a backpack tax on? And not to be mean, but to be inclusive. look, if you're going to go hiking and you're going to buy like
on
hiking
public
gear,
lands,
can we find certain things to tax in the backpack realm that could help? That would bind us together a little bit better, and it would raise more revenue to protect our public lands, and we would finally have a shared common interest. It's a little bit lopsided. The hikers are riding off of our coattails and hating us. But you're using the resource that we're fucking
we pay
paying
the bill.
for.
They can kick
Why
rocks.
don't you pay for it too?
Bro, that's a great point.
That is a great point.
Is that a thing that's ever been fucking introduced? And
No,
I'm not coming at it from like a negative way. I'm coming at it from like a look. You're gonna buy the stuff anyways, just like we do because you love the shit.
Yeah.
Can we take some dollars from tents?
How many
or
ropeman ones do we got to
something?
sell to fucking?
Carabiners? Like how many people buy carabiners? Is that the equivalent to ammo? I don't know. Like what's ammo is easy because
it comes back around, you burn it, and you got to.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. I don't know.
If you're buying 8mm to 13mm rope at Active Endeavors, it's got to go tax.
Paracord. They always got paracord. We need to put something on that.
And by the way, guess what? It does a lot of good for the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even a fucking camper, dude.
I think even too. I've always said this. Mushroom hunters.
I was just gonna say,
People harvest ginseng to sell it, but
and they have to have a tag for or like a license for that
for ginseng.
Yeah,
but you have to have like trail passes, park passes,
public land mushroom hunters,
all that stuff.
If you're buying Packer Marlboro Reds, you can buy a $5 mushroom hunter.
Dude, you're public land turkey hunting, then mushroom hunters just come walking through.
Oh yeah,
I'm only good at like coming up with an idea.
cigarettes.
I can't actually execute on shit. So like
It's a
someone else
great
have to
point.
take it from
That's
there.
a
I
great
don't
and
know.
the camping stuff, the bird watchers. Yeah, I'd be full send on.
I get it. It's like that gets on the shed hunting ban after a certain date because of the pressure on animals and stuff. I get it to a point, but yeah, whatever. Anyway,
it would just level set our shared interest.
Yeah, I think that's true. I'm tired of having liberals hate on us when they're benefiting from our dollars.
Out there hiking in it.
Yeah, out there. Oh, we still got this whiskey in here. It is good whiskey. It's only
really
fucking
good. I can't like.
It's delicious.
You got to be careful with this.
140 proof. This thing,
that if you
fucking
can
Ned's
read that,
Pope
right?
and Young.
Yeah.
Wait, is it 140 proof?
I think it's 140.
I knew it was hot, but I didn't think it was that hot.
It's hot.
How hot is it?
Yeah, no.
But you can't tell
What is
because
it?
it's got good notes.
145.
Holy.
Yeah, careful, brother.
Yeah.
They'll get you canceled.
Find me in the morning.
All right, what you got on those notes, brother?
Matt's just off. He's got a good. It's. In
I don't
his
think he's a
head.
bad dude.
No.
Human nature tells us that everyone
I
thinks they're
texted
the
him
hero of their own journey.
that I was coming on here, and he said, "Ask him if they'll have me on." I said, "I don't know that that's going to happen, Matt."
Here, I would have him on. He'd have to come here,
Yeah, and I think he might.
and I would. Does he know that we ran with that unhinged thing? He's got to know.
I think he would find that entertaining, and I think you'd
How
also
could he not
find-
blame us though for that? That's hilarious.
I thought so too.
No offense taken. We fucking
And
took it.
the double entendre
10.
of like hinge, really like unhinged.
Oh, dude, our
like,
video
like-
series we have coming out this summer is called WCB's Unhinged Bow Hunting Series. He named our bow hunting
because of him.
It's a beautiful thing, and it like I said, it on brand with like letting a bowstring go.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, thanks, Matt.
But I think his message is so. His heart's in the right place. His delivery
Reality
is not going to help him realize the vision that he's trying to like. He's not going to be the change he seeks to see in the world.
Yeah.
because of how it's.
He
being
just comes
delivered.
off too grumpy.
So that's why
That's it.
I actually like to spend a lot of time talking with him, is because like you're kind of doing it, but like you're off a little bit. Like we
Yeah, yeah,
rework
yeah.
this.
Yeah, for sure. I just think I don't know how to like word that without. I don't know. I don't even know the words.
Was
like
Kevin
I'm
in here when we
looking
did the sex thing? Were you here for that?
Oh yeah,
go
Part
pee?
of it.
Yeah.
But refresh me.
yeah, like here, I think what would be
Sex ed
fun
again?
is to have Matt in here with all of us.
Right.
Like that would be fun because
Down.
I think what it would do is like he's gonna have his perspective. Not that I'm gonna have like a complete opposite perspective. I think there's a lot of shit we probably agree on, and all of us. But it'd be kind of interesting to have some other angles to throw.
Well, and the industry has always been happening. Like since the dawn of the hunt.
And you need some industry.
Like
You need a lot of
going to
industry.
happen, and when there's industry, things are going to happen. Like
Well, the Pittman-Robertson Act that proves you need the industry to help it.
Yeah.
Because like there's like the Make Hunting Great Again. We had that guy, he was cool, we had him on, and then we went to Africa, and all of a sudden he's mad at us because we went to Africa. It's like, well, you don't understand the African model of conservation. It's not the fucking same as it is in North America. But anyway, like
There was holes in that guy's game from the
always,
get-go.
always. It was an entertainment stance for sure.
good for you
Like,
guys for having on, because I don't know how to interact with those kind of people. I don't know what I'm getting into.
You just fucking talk to them, and then just whatever, you know. Like
He was entertaining.
we're not scared
Yeah,
to
he
have
had-
anybody
he had
on.
entertainment value,
You know,
for
I'll
sure.
talk to. I'll
I
talk
mean,
to
you guys are smarter.
You
than
can't
I am.
deny he had some great memes.
Yeah.
He's funny, but
and some good call outs and investigative reporting. Sure.
Does he still exist?
I don't know.
Occasionally.
There's a bunch of those types of guys out there now, right?
I don't need to call that out. We get basically, I think it all tapered off real quick. But anyway, it's I don't know. I don't know where we're going with that. Like, he had good points. Obviously, a lot of holes in his game.
Right. But you don't know that if it's not talked about, and people don't want to talk about it because it's abrasive. It started. I mean, you text
It's
me.
counterculture to the industry. It is.
Kurt texts me. He's like, you're like, you listen to it, and you're like, I don't really like that, and I'm like, I gotta listen back to it.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, I could see how you really didn't like that. I was, when you're hosting a show and doing a conversation, sometimes you're looking ahead. You're not listening.
Well,
to
you're in the pocket. I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly right. And I listened back to it, and I was like, oh yeah, I could see that.
Initially, when I listened to it at first, because we had listeners hit it. That's how it came to our attention.
That's how it always works.
So then when I was like, because I don't pay attention, kind of going back to the early, and I'm like, okay, I got message enough about this. I better look. And when I listened to it, my perception is, and I get your point that you just made, you're in the pocket and you're kind of just like you're hosting. To me, it seemed like you acted like you didn't really know us.
Right.
When I was like, yo.
Right.
Like, hey, brother. And I just texted you about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I was like, let me listen back to it. I'm not exactly sure. What did I say something? And then I listened back to it, and I was like, yeah, he's kind of dogging on you guys.
I think I blacked out there for a second. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was kind of dogging on him, and I'm listening, and I was like, wait, no. And so I went back to it, and then we exchanged quite a few texts and had a conversation, but nobody, these things don't get talked about.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is a little bit uncomfortable. His opinion's a little bit different about mine. But I got Byron over here.
Hating everybody.
Byron.
Gloves are off these days, folks.
Gee. It's important to keep people around you that'll disagree with you. And we've come to a culture where it's like, surround yourself with people that won't tell you you're ever doing anything wrong or check you. And I like having people around me that aren't afraid to come out and say, no, you sound kind of retarded.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's fair.
That goes back to those.
That's one thing I feel good about with our crew is if we feel a certain way, about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and you can do it without fisticuffs and like going too deep into it. But it's like, if I've ever felt a way or had an opinion with anybody in this room, about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been honest about it, or I've been like, I'm kind of thinking this way. And that's it. Yeah, that's honest. I think that's a good thing.
I love it.
I think it's a good thing, especially for as long as we've all been in the game. You gotta you have to have that. It might suck in the moment while it's happening, but in the long run, it's like I really respect all of that.
I'm interested to see how this podcast is received to the public.
I don't know. I said some weird things.
I really enjoyed myself.
I'm having a great time.
It's
fun. It's fun. Blast. I think it's all good stuff, and it's just honest. And podcasts are meant to it peels back the curtain a little bit.
The older we get, and this is a thing, and we can talk about the current events. The older I get, the more confident I get in my opinions, and the more confident I am in my opinions, the less I have to get pissed off. And the people that are online that are really pissed off, that are arguing, they're not that confident in their opinion.
Totally.
Because you're challenging it. Mm-hmm. You're challenging the way they live their life, the way they identify.
Yeah.
The people that are confident in that shit are like, I'm good, bro.
I totally feel that evolution in myself. I don't know, Eric and Doug, throughout the growth of WCB, if you feel that, but
yeah,
I don't give a fuck what anybody says about me on the internet anymore. I used to care. When I seen the 11 to 13 page talking shit about me on Archery Talk.
Oh, I remember that road trip.
It hurt my fucking feelings, bro. For 2 weeks, it fucked me up. It fucking did, dude. I'm being honest.
I know.
And this is years ago.
I just remember it, yeah.
It fucking rewired me for 2 weeks.
You're human.
I'm like, holy fuck. But you know what? At the end of it, someone said, were we on a road trip?
Yeah,
it was somewhere.
We were driving somewhere.
We're just Google searching WCB, and
I think we were driving to a show or from a show somewhere.
Yeah, just on an archery forum.
I don't know about this.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Same, I don't either.
Someone in the car said, was there any comment in there that said, who's Kurt Geyer? I was like, well, no. You should feel good about that. I'm like, fuck. that kind of made me feel better, but still fuck me.
Yeah.
I bet you.
So it was a forum just dogging on
archery talk.
Archery,
It was in the walls of a login forum. Which how gay is that shit nowadays with Facebook?
Right nowadays, that was the
There's
prime
a few comments
2006.
that were good. But
They're eventually in time. Some real listeners started to trickle in, but it was just. I mean, it was not like thoughts of. It was personal, like my tattoos, my gauges, like personal attacks.
Sure, because there was no substance to actually attack.
It was people that suck in their everyday life and were mad about me for probably taking a chance on something or having an opinion.
Cheap shot.
But I'm not gonna lie, now I find it fucking hilarious.
That's what set you apart, though, too. That's what made you guys who you are. So, like,
yeah,
of
but
course
dude,
it
I'm
was
telling you, man, I really do mean it. Now, if you do it,
that is true that
funny.
Kevin brought up. Like, they never talk shit about the podcast. It's just about you having tattoos and gauges.
A lot of it was just shitting on my face.
Just your appearance. That's it.
It just hurt.
You're just like, damn, dude, they're really going after you.
Yeah.
Do you guys get talked about?
You guys get talked about?
But honestly, just full blown ground level. It fucking hurt my feelings, dude, for a little bit. But now it's super funny. It's
well, it's just a pattern to recognize the people that are usually out there screaming and yelling. They're like they're a little unhinged. They're a little unhinged, and they're not fully confident in their view, and they don't like having it challenged, But the older I get, the more confident that I get. That I'm like, if you're gonna sit here and lecture me about environmental issues, and then your biggest like intake of revenue is manufacturing products in China, that's the biggest polluter in the country, I'm gonna check you on that.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be lectured. I'm very confident in, the foundation of the education that I've got over the time doing this. And you got to call that stuff out a little bit. And I feel like big players in the space, people oftentimes don't want to challenge them because you don't want to rock the ship.
Yeah.
Because it's a small boat.
Small. Yep, it is.
And there's some stuff out there that's like, God, people only knew,
Yeah.
But you don't want to, I don't want that smoke.
Yeah, right. right. Yeah, there's a pocket to play in.
Yeah, and there's a point.
You're right.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I feel like for a while we got fucking rode hard on how we were. Do you feel that way?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think for the first 5-6 years, probably.
I feel like especially 2016 to 2019.
It was so left field at the time.
And yeah, that's true. I guess.
One, podcasts were new.
It was coming.
Nobody was saying the F word. Nobody was saying ridiculous things and being real. Honestly, nobody was as real at the time.
Yeah,
it's going back to the whole television.
Yeah, now look at it. Though.
We were how we were as we were instead of trying to fake it on air versus how we are in real life.
Yeah, but I feel like God, we got dogged hard, but also it was also the pivotal time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was the best time to do it, I think.
Yeah,
and now look at podcasts just even outside of hunting. The rawness, the realness,
that's what makes them fun, dude.
Yeah, those are the ones that stick, hold, and as Dave Portnoy says, the numbers are the numbers.
That's
right.
And Dave, he's an OG.
Yeah, that dude knows what good podcasts, good media personalities are.
Yeah, right.
You can argue with
him. The quicker you can get to being who you are and being real. You guys just got there a lot faster. About being real and who you were and not being ashamed or afraid or worried.
Yeah.
It takes others a little bit longer to get there. But once you do that, then you jive good and it's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm sure too, if you tune back in our first 20 episodes, we're probably.
It's allowed.
Right. You got to find your groove.
Yeah.
But also too, I feel like the more we go on, do you feel like we give a fuck less?
Oh yeah,
I kind of felt that way big time, and I'm like, we're playing bigger, and our fucks are less.
Yeah, but also at the same point, you know how to navigate.
You understand what
social
the fucks
structure
are.
of it.
Yeah,
right. You said, don't have Mark Drury on and be like, faggot.
right. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I feel like the first episode, did we say the F word? Probably, but we were kind of like, hey, if it slips, it slips.
Right. Yeah.
Nowadays, just mark it explicit. Move on with your life.
Yeah. Well, then Mark Drury's like, then I grab a handle of vodka.
That's a big deal.
And I felt fucked the next morning. I'm like, dude, Mark Drury's my hero. He's a real life American, you know, like he's like G.I. Joe.
Saying
like,
the shit you hoped he'd say.
Yeah. Then I banged my wife.
Yeah.
I was like,
he's the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Moving on.
Next question.
I know that we're running on time.
What else you got?
This is going to be Kurt's thing that
Kevin,
he's not going to want to talk.
We're not running on time.
They did a 7-hour show. Was it 7 hours for
We're
you?
not running on time.
We did do a
We'll figure out
7-hour
food.
show.
We'll figure it out. We're not running on time.
He's just hungry.
It's fine.
Okay.
We'll go.
This is going to be your least favorite topic we're going to talk about all night.
I don't give a fuck, dude.
It's the Rompola buck.
Oh, dude. Let's talk about it.
Kevin, this is like
This is your railhouse.
This is what made you famous.
You two. I listened to you two talk about it.
And Kevin's got some feelings.
Do you remember that? I don't remember this conversation.
You brought something up.
I think I complimented you at least.
You said, I read this Rompola buck. This. And Kurt goes, I don't want to hear about it. I've had enough. I'm like, dude, I get it.
Okay, let's talk about it.
It's like a catchy, hey, put it in the title.
I can't think of that buck without your podcast series
Put it in
coming
the
to mind.
title.
Hey, I think you did it in podcasting. You did do that buck the most justice.
Well, I
It
don't
was
know
a cool
about
series. It was unique for the space.
Well, this ties in. I got canceled by NPR.
What do you mean by NPR?
Yeah,
Were you
dude.
on NPR? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't even know what I know. I've heard of it. What is NPR exactly?
National Public Radio.
Yeah, National Public Radio.
It's like a leftish.
So that was on NPR.
Listen.
I will.
Enlighten me. NPR has a local radio.
Were you ever on NPR?
Oh, get
No.
this.
They canceled me.
How'd you get canceled by it if you were never on it?
So NPR contacted me. They said, we have this local, broadcast, and we want to have you in, and we want to do a story on the Rompola buck. We see that when we search all this stuff, we want to have you on.
Was this post the production of all of this being aired?
Yeah. So I put that stuff out like 3 years ago. This was this summer.
Okay, so recent.
Election. Coming up.
Okay.
Election coming up.
So the content had been out 3 years ago. They hit you up last summer.
Yeah, exactly.
I did NPR hit you up last
I did the Rompola buck series like 3 years ago, and this spring, this summer, NPR contacted me and said, we're doing a local thing from a local radio station, and we want to do a Rompola buck thing, so we want to have you on. So, I sent my family away from the house because the guy's coming to the house where I don't want the kids running.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah, I got a guy coming here. I'm like, what about Bob? When they're coming for the book thing and the whole thing, like, get the kids out of here. I don't want it. So I had a whole bunch of time invested into this, and the guy we did an interview. It was like 90 minutes, and they never aired it. And months went by.
What did you say?
Well, then they put a Rompola buck piece out, and it was like a compilation of 3 other guys. It was super vanilla. There was nothing there. And I'm like, because this guy's like, dude, you're going to do and so what happened is during the election, I was posting some political stuff on social media. They sussed me out.
You never got canceled for anything Rompola related.
They went on my social media, but that's me being real and being who I am. And if that's a repercussion of me, I say this all the time. I'd rather be loved for who I am than
It's hated for who you are.
Then loved for what you're
than
not.
loved for what you're not.
So there was a combination of 3 guys, but you were not one of the 3 guys.
Exactly.
Who were the 3 guys?
And we recorded for 90 minutes, and the whole thing was like 9 minutes long. It was it was just a bunch of vanilla blah, 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 just to fill a space,
Right.
But I truly believe it was because they went on my social media and, NPR, super left-leaning whole organization. They're like, yeah, dude, you ain't having this guy on. Sorry that the story was good. But I feel
who
like
are the other guys, they must look, the bend and Hunt is right.
How many people are on NPR?
Know. Can you Google
NPR?
I don't do.
No, it's an incredibly large organization.
What I talk
Can you Google NPR affiliate or not?
NPR.
Well, hit him with Kevin. What you did as far as on your end that was crafty.
Yeah, I mean it's national public radio. It's
big. I think it's streamed.
I thought I was about to blow the world away. I'm pretty sure
they're just hating everything.
They're totally super.
17% Republican, 30% Independent, and 43% Democratic in terms of their like political affiliation.
That's totally a lie. They're 100% Democratic affiliation.
36%
ASID money. It's all. They're a total leftist organization.
But a bunch of radio stations across the U.S.
Dude,
Are
they're
part of it.
They're giant.
Yeah.
They're giant. So
it was like iHeartRadio before iHeartRadio.
Oh,
like as far as having just a bunch of broadcast.
Don't they do some music YouTube channels? Like, isn't there like NPR? Do they do Tiny Desk concerts?
Yes.
Go to podcast.
That's Tiny Desk is NPR?
Yeah.
No shit.
Go to podcasts and shows.
Yeah, they're mega giant affiliates of tax dollar money.
Oh, really? Fuck, it's time to give. You can suck my ass, NPR.
you screwed over our buddy.
Easy, Kurt. Don't get canceled.
Sorry, my bad.
Well, joke's on them. I recorded the whole interview.
Oh, yourself? Good.
Yeah, I have it. So just like Donald Trump flipped it on the head of like all the, when they did the edited selectively, I got the receipts.
He's got receipts.
You gotta post it. You gotta post it now after this launches.
I probably will. So just to summarize, the Rompola buck is like, it's not as much a deer hunting story as it is a true crime story.
Yeah,
it was always always follow the money.
Yeah,
and so you come to find out that when this all happened, his partner and him were they were launching a synthetic deer lure company.
Okay.
I like the way the series went because you started the series in such a way that I believed that it was real. And by the end of it, I was like, fuck.
And people are sitting there saying, Mitch didn't want attention. He was just an average guy.
He was part of the Measures Club. When this came out, he faded away.
Well, he was doing all the shows for years.
Down.
He had been setting the stage for this for years. He had phony antlers that he was taking to shows and like pulling people aside and being like, check this out, this deer I'm hunting. And people that were educated were like, that shed looks like it's fucking 10 years old. It's been sitting on top of a mountain. That's a mule deer shed.
Yeah, it's all chalky.
People that knew were like, this guy's kind of up to something. But he was fundamentally diabolic. They were laying the groundwork for this. And they were going to launch a scent company and say that they shot the world record deer. And boom, gone to the moon, right?
Wow.
But it got so much attention and the onset of the internet and forums that it went way beyond what they could ever imagine. And it got so much attention that the heat started coming. People want to say all the time, Mitch was a man of integrity. He was, blah, blah, blah. You are who you hang around with. His business partner, Kevin Cray, went to prison for raping his 14-year-old niece.
Holy fuck.
These people were bad people. So to say that it's exaggeration that they would stage a dead deer photo to make money off of a scent and lure company, that was a stretch for them. These guys are doing the worst shit you can imagine. So, that's not on Mitch Rompola's criminal record, but public record, it's on his business partner's criminal record.
He's affiliated in a way.
While this was all going on. Don't lecture me on this being a true thing and blah, 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 man of integrity. I see where the money was. I see the whole thing for what it was and what these guys were trying to do. And why do you think that it went off? Why do you think they just disappeared? Oh, dude, fuck you. He didn't need to prove anything to anyone. Get out of here.
Milo Hansen
We're talking about his kids. This is I drive by Mitch's house most days
Go piss up a rope, pal.
This is this
classic Eric comment.
Yeah.
This is a local thing, and he's, people are saying, oh, you're infecting, you're affecting, his children's livelihoods and this and that. That's even more reason to come to and say
he did that.
This is real.
Yeah.
Of course, this is it's negatively impacting my children. I better go have it X-rayed and say it's real. Nope, no show, no call.
One statement
Mitch.
on the internet could really handle a lot of business.
Yeah. So I'm
How
done.
old is Mitch?
Mitch is probably in his 70s.
And he still hasn't admitted it.
When is he going to resurface? Like, I heard Ranella was going to try to interview him.
he's kind of he's a hermit.
If he's gonna do it with Ranella.
It got brought up on the Rogan podcast with Ranella.
No, give it to Kevin.
I remember that. Or Kevin, yeah. But he won't now.
What's that?
No, he's gonna go to Ranella or he'll go to Ranella.
I actually do think that there's a possibility that if I walked up with maybe like $50,000 cash and said, "Hey, let's do this,"
for his
that
kids,
he might do it.
You gotta pawn his kids off.
His house is run down. It's small, but the yard's kept. You never see him outside. He drives a Ford Ranger that's probably 20 years old. It has a cap on it.
Goddamn, you're on this motherfucker.
Did he flip it?
My office is down the road from his house.
Yeah, you have to see him.
He's never outside, but the lawn is kept. The house is super ran down. There's bed sheets like pinned over the windows. And reportedly, the NPR reporter that came to my house tried to go interview him. And he said, I think his adult son lives with him. He opened the door, said, we don't do interviews. He closed the door.
Well, they probably had a million interviews.
Oh, yeah.
People come up to the door.
You think 50K would do it?
Just fly a drone over his head for a little while.
I think
make him
10K
uncomfortable.
would do it.
I don't.
He sounds like he needs some money.
Get him a zero turn and a new truck.
If he's got bed he needs some
Pull up in
fucking.
a new Ford Ranger and zero turn. See what happens.
He needs some fucking blinds too.
I think
bed
It's just
sheets.
let's talk.
Well, listen to this, too.
Does he still hunt, do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. Does he?
He
hunt?
lives right next door to a 4,000 acre nature preserve that you can hunt.
He's hunting it.
Good guy.
So I haven't had a ton of time yet.
Go hang a
but
cell
I've
cam in
ducked
there.
around a little bit. I'm gonna find the exact spot that those photos were taken, and I'm gonna prove that it was right behind his house. And those kind of deer, those size of deer, don't exist there.
Well, if you Lee Ellis, that's exactly where they exist.
Yeah, right by his house.
in northern
Right
Michigan,
on a private property that's 8 acres.
not in northern Michigan.
You know what? I've called bullshit on that deer for as long as I can remember.
Well, I wanted you to understand too where and why, because I truly believe they conspired to say we can make $1 million here selling this deer lure. I have the receipts. I have the pictures of the bottles with the original sticker that says synthetic deer lure helped to kill Mitch Rompola killed world record whitetail with.
Before he killed it, or is it after?
They used they staged
They had it ready.
Yeah, they staged the deer photos to take those photos to make the label for the bottles.
That's
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't listened to the series, and I need to listen to it.
You do. It's really good.
What about all the other deer?
Like how he has
So check this
the
out.
Missouri
Look at
number
see
2
these deer-
record in
see-
the 60s
see
and some of that
deer-
stuff.
These deer in this podcast studio, what did it for me somewhere along the way, every single deer in here, that the way they're the black and the white come under the chin, every single one of them is different. It's kind of like their fingerprint. And
my thing with the
Rumpola
Rompola buck is the pedicle to the eye ratio.
Well, but if you look at that ring around their nose, the white and the black under their chin, there's another deer that he shot that's identical.
We had multiple taxidermists on. The cape for the Rompola buck is also the cape for one of his other state record bucks.
Oh.
He did his own taxidermy work. Convenient.
That deer that you're seeing
Very
pictured there, there's another deer that he
Can we
took
say red flag?
with the same exact
It looks
pattern.
sweet. That's a legendary fucking photo.
It's a dope photo.
It is.
But look at the
that deer's head looks like the. Remember what did I say when I walked in here about your dad's deer?
Yeah.
Do you see that? Look at the head on that thing.
It's a big body deer. Look at the pedicle behind the eye.
It's fucked. It's fucked.
No deer is like a broken skull plate deer looks like that. And I'm not even saying that deer's skull plate is broken. I'm saying the whole fucking thing is.
Well, look at how dark the rack is right at the bottom and how it contrasts out real quickly. So I think what he did is build that.
Yeah. It's just a little silly.
Well, why not get it?
There's another deer that he has that is not as big as that looks identical.
I know what you're talking about. It's laying on its side.
I think
the
most
same
of his
fucking
and it
deer.
goes wide.
This one right here.
Go to please search
Right, that one.
Holy shit!
That's fucking
I haven't
dumb.
seen that one.
That is dumb. That's
search rompola
That buck is
whitetails.
sweet.
Search rompola whitetails. And there's a picture that I'm going to show. There, no, stop. It's right there already. All the way to the right at the bottom corner. That is a doe with antlers on it.
This?
The orange photo.
No,
Keep
the
going.
one in the woods
All the way
with
to
the
the right.
snow
Right,
on the
no,
back.
right there.
Yes. That is a white-tailed
100%.
doe with antlers on it, dude. Come on.
Dude, the left one's
my
not even
daughter,
touching
my
it.
daughter's 4, and she says something's wrong there.
yeah. That
And the
100%
taxidermist that I had on, he goes, when you see, I don't want to be political, but when you see a tranny
Yeah.
and you know it's a girl, but it's a man.
That's a tranny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at the pedicles behind the eye.
Look at
That's
the
not how
face.
antlers grow.
Look at the fuckery there.
That's a doe 1,000%.
So that's a pattern. We now see all this. This is a pattern of behavior.
No, that's how they grow in that area. Come on, guys. Come on.
He's literally holding him to the head.
What the hell?
that 200
The
square
gorilla
foot
glue.
area.
The gorilla glue hasn't even set.
Where's he getting those antlers? He's making them?
They're making them.
Well, that or he could get it from a deer farm, a shed from a deer farm that's
buying 'em.
nothing, right?
Go X out of that. I want to see some more.
So silly.
bucks.
I want to find the one that I'm talking about where it's like the same damn deer. There's a rompola Instagram page that exists that did that.
Well,
Yeah, that's just.
it
that's
gets
as
out
real
of
as your
control
own
real
polo buck.
quickly.
This is as real as your own polo buck.
That's my.
I mean, that original photo is sick. I will
It's,
give
it's one of the most iconic photos.
Look at this mount, though. Look how dumb the mount looks.
Oh, God.
Right. Well,
The one eye is not even. Yeah. It's just,
he was his own taxidermist.
so who are these people?
These guys were scorers, apparently, but they were his buddies and they were his subordinates.
From the Michigan.
Like, they weren't willing to, challenge. He brought in people to say it was all cool that were they weren't going to challenge his, because
he was a part of a measuring club in Michigan.
he was their boss, essentially. They were underlings to him.
They were pretty
So
much. You ever
all of-
seen those martial arts guys that are doing the crazy karate
Yeah.
where they're making people fall over?
yeah.
They're it's
Grab
Steven
his
Seagal
shoulder.
going
Yeah.
and knocking
the
dudes
guy's
over.
like, "Oh!"
That's what Mitch from Apollo did with his measures. He just full blown Steven Seagal them with
Yeah,
some
that's
weird
pretty
hand
good.
movements. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He just full blown craned them
that's so
and they
perfect.
fell over. You know?
Was Steven Seagal the Highlander?
Yes, I believe so.
I don't know.
Who was the guy that was lopping heads off in Highlander?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch any movies.
No, this is an old show.
It's just
Like
Let's see some other
the
deer.
80s.
Is there any other
30
deer? Or is
years
that it?
old.
It's just gay. The whole thing's gay.
So, it's a true crime story.
Yeah.
Look at that one.
That one's pretty sick.
It's about as real as that Rompolo on.
Kevin, you inspired me to do something, but I have yet to get around to it.
See, look at the pedicle. They're hole sawing holes and skulls.
Yeah.
And placing ridiculous antlers in them.
Yeah.
He's not smiling in any pictures either.
See? I bet you, dude.
It's all fucked.
Oh, God.
I'm going to find that
That's
rock.
one of the worst.
Those antlers aren't symmetrical at all.
So
They
you
don't
see
match
that
at all.
rock? I'm convinced I'm going to find that here in the next year.
I love it, dude.
I'm over the target. I'm gonna shoot a deer and lay it on that fucking rock.
Is there multiple pictures on that rock?
Why does it say
Yes.
Arkansas hunting? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Were the other ones on that rock?
One of them was.
Oh fuck! What the fuck is that?
What the hell? That one's equally terrible, dude. He looks like he just
Look at
got
the pedicles.
Yeah.
How come every do? Yeah, this is
The
so.
ears are all droopy every time.
So there's a pattern of behavior there.
See, but even look the pedicles on this make a little more sense.
Yeah, and the size and the proportion, and I get why people want to assimilate that to it, but come on.
But that photo is sick.
It is sick, and that head net and the army drab green, the
It
whole
does
shit,
go-
the old
it
bow,
does go hard.
first gen carbon arrows.
Yeah. All right, I'll give him that.
But fuck him.
Everything else is gay.
Hey, fuck that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
You think of the mount still sitting in his living room every day?
I thought
He's
about
like,
It'll burn up. It burn up.
I thought about for years like recreating that photo. Would just be funny.
It'd be funny as fuck to pay Classic Racks to reprint a replica of it and have it at every trade show. Just have every motherfucker.
Is there not a replica of this ready? Somewhere?
Oh, I'm
There
sure
must
there's
be.
a bunch.
There's gotta be a
But I could have Classic Racks take all these photos and
they make one instant.
duplicate it, just how I could if I shot a buck and it went to recover it, never found it. I could
And
have
then
a
just like
replica
link the
printed of it.
MP3 file to this conversation to it.
Why is it your
You probably do that if you shot a deer.
If I shot a big enough one deer and it got recovered by somebody else, and I had the good trail cam photos of it, I could have it printed through Classic Racks and have an exact replica.
So about the biggest the deer in that area will get is 170. 170 is the 1%.
Yeah, I
There's
believe it.
30 inches of fucking snow at my house right now, and a foot of it melted this week. So like, it's a different environment for these deer to survive. And
They're a little more stressed.
They're a little more stressed. Dude, we're literally driving down the freeway. It's sunny.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like
50
looking out the
degrees. My
window
wife
like, what
calls
is
me.
this?
She's like,
Kevin
"It's
hasn't seen the
snowing
sun
again."
in 3 months. He's fucking
Honestly,
stressed.
it's been weird. I've never experienced a winter like I experienced this winter. It's just kept being cold and snow.
The wolves in the snow just beating everybody in Michigan to death.
He hadn't seen grass in fucking 6
Kevin didn't
months.
laugh at all just now.
I've been living this.
He looked at me like,
I'm going through it,
he's
brother.
still gasping for wind.
When I got out of town, I was like, holy shit. I brought my neighbor's snowmobile over to put some paths behind the house for the dog and the kids to run around. And I pulled off of off the driveway and I was stuck. The snow was up to the windshield on the snowmobile. And so it's hard out there for the, like it's kind of amazing that they can survive out there.
Totally, yeah. I mean,
But
it's different.
It's
the fuck
different.
they do that?
But we do see deer get to mid 160s, 170, but not really over that.
I just got to take a picture of this.
Of everyone in here and this in the background.
Yeah.
So, the 200-inch thing, if that had been a reality, 200 people would have known about that deer.
That's a good point. Yeah, that thing would just look dumb walking around,
I was hunting a deer that I sent you pictures of that, ended up being like mid 160s. And that was a giant deer. And come to find out, like everybody knew about that deer.
Yeah.
And it was only a 160-inch deer. So if there's a 200-inch deer roaming around, and
everyone's gonna know about him.
Mitch knows about it.
Everybody's gonna.
Lee
know.
Ellis will beat us all to it.
Yeah, he'd be in there.
Well, dude, hey, hashtag money alert.
Spook Spannon killed it first.
Yeah. Bidding war.
Till Lee Ellis showed up.
I really do think Lee is legit.
I do too, but I also think people pay huge amounts of money to shoot deer, and I think $100,000 investment for him to kill a giant buck is an investment.
I'll tell you this. I've talked to him on the phone, and by the things he told me, he's coming in for the record, spoiler alert. The things he has told me, and the things he offered up to do on the show proves otherwise.
I shared a deer camp with him. He's annoyingly nice and kind and good.
I'm not saying that he's
but to the tune of like, there's no way he's. No, this is what I don't know, and maybe this is what you'll suss out is like, maybe there's a fee for some tips or something like that. I don't even know if he's willing to go that way. Like the Seek One, the meaning behind the name is Seek One God. Like the dude is fucking good to the marrow.
He's a really great guy.
You almost wish he'd be a little bit of like a fucking asshole or something, but he's not.
Right. I'll tell you this. I had an hour and a half long conversation the first time I ever talked to him on the phone. And he's coming in and we're going to do a good long podcast. And I don't want to spoil too much, but I'll tell you what he told me on the phone opened up opportunity. I was like, whoa, if you're saying this to me, then you have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And I do believe him because the things he said, if you want to do this, this, and this, or challenge me on this and this, we could even do this, this, and this. I'll prove to you all the bullshit and rumors that everyone wants to throw at me. It's all just not true. And he was willing to overly expose himself in ways that I never thought about. And he's like, and a lot of the stuff I realized it's going to sound confusing. I reached out on sources to help validate what it is.
Kind of vet him.
And it's just not possible to do. But the thing, he's like, I need a third-party guy to challenge me. Like just candidly.
Sure.
Here we are.
Good for him.
To prove this.
The only thing he can't do is grow a mustache. So like,
that might be the only thing we got on him.
But
I'll tell you
that's his one bugaboo.
That's the conversation I had with him.
So just when he gets here, you'd be like, Lee, where's your?
I'll tell you, I was
mustache?
like, whoa, really? You would do that? And he's like, yeah, dude. He goes, I have nothing to hide, and
Good.
I'm going to talk about it.
I look forward to listening to it.
Yeah.
My point of it is just purely from a business aspect, so people recognize what's going on. Is when you were saying $30,000. That was the dollar amount that I stuck in my head that was talked about. Like somebody maybe paid
This
$30
big
grand.
span on a different podcast, I think, quoted 30.
Oh,
to get on a
talked
deer
a lot
or
on
something.
Hunter, right? About price on deer. I wanted to kill the world record typical, but I couldn't afford it or something like that.
I think they straight up asked him, what's the largest check you've written? And I think it was 30K for a chance at a deer.
So
I thought it would have been more, to be honest.
Well, that's where I'm going.
What if
with
that was
this.
like hey, you got 5 acres in 2 days and
wild deer?
Yeah. Who knows?
When I look at
what did CJ Alexander get stuck with? Fucking guy. He sent me a DM and said, "Why are you talking shit about me?" I'm like,
really?
Because
he sent you a DM. He never sent me a DM.
Because you're lying.
I talked a lot of shit about that fucking dumb idiot.
I was like, how are you messaging me right now, dude? Because
in jail.
What the hell?
And I'm like, I didn't.
His one call.
Keep your butthole tight.
He said, "You're accused." I could go find it. He's like, "You're accusing me of things." I'm like, I didn't accuse. I speculated, bro.
Bitch, your Snapchat metadata accused you of things. You fucking idiot.
They got receipts.
And by the way, I was right,
Yeah.
bitch. Like,
Bitch, you ever seen that episode of Chappelle's Show? It's like, good night. Keep your butthole tight. That's CJ Alexander right now. Yeah, fuck him. Hear that, CJ? Fuck you. How's that?
what a joke. What a turd stain.
You know how bad that is for Hunter?
But what was the value on the deer? That's why I brought it
I don't know.
That's what just to summarize and move past this. And I'm not trying to pigeonhole that guy. I'm just saying from the business aspect, I see the size of the platform that they have. It's kind of like what an NFL player gets paid versus how the organization is run. It's like, oh, he just got a contract for $9.5 million, but guess what? That's an investment. So I pay $100,000 to kill the world record whitetail. It might not cost me anything. I might actually make money off of that deal.
Sure, the plus minus in the long run.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
So when I heard you guys talking about that, I was like, what is it worth nowadays?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, if you're making,
I think it's not worth it actually because of the shit that'll come down on you.
No, I
Well, I think nowadays it's
well,
like
I'm not
people
saying
see it
being
and forget
illegal.
about it.
No,
I'm not saying being
legally.
illegal.
I don't want to deal with the fucking headache.
I'll tell you this, dude. I think the money to me, like if it was like, hey, Kurt, you kill a 215-inch deer for 30 grand, would not pay it.
That's not this. That's again. So that
It's not the
that's the
same.
Don't even
difference. That's
think
what I
about
mean.
it.
I
No,
mean,
like, no.
I'm not doing it for the money.
Right.
And if it did happen, so to that degree, I mean, I'm good.
Even
Well,
if
it
I
doesn't
could
give
afford
me-
it, I wouldn't do it.
Well, no, I wouldn't either. Because one, it doesn't give me the satisfaction of like the real wild world chance of getting one done. That's the goal.
Yes.
Is to hit the 200-inch mark in the real world, not to like seek the opportunity and pay for the
No,
opportunity.
I'm
to be
not
there.
talking about high fence hunting. Like,
I'm talking
Right.
Even if it was a 20-acre piece, like this deer's in here every day. Now, if I could get permission to go for no money, yeah, it's a little different. But like finding the deer and going after the deer and killing the deer is way cooler than being like, oh, I'm from Minnesota and there was a 200-inch buck in Ohio and I paid 50 grand to go kill a 200-inch deer over bait in Ohio.
It's not cool.
It's just not the same fulfillment as it would be if I was hunting and then a 200-inch deer was on my property in years' time and then I was able to kill it.
again, people can smell bullshit 10 miles away. If that's what you're
Right.
doing, we're fucking picking up on it because there's
Yeah.
no more hiding anymore.
Yeah.
To your point, NPR figured out real quick what you were doing. So,
This guy's a Republican.
And if that's what you're doing, admit it. Just to say, hey,
He's ultra MAGA.
I paid to kill deer, whatever.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, man. If that's what you want to do and you have the disposable income, I can't really be mad at you for doing it. It's whatever. but it's fun conversation. You can't expect us in our line of business not to talk about it.
Look, if the guy that had all the money that could go make it happen just for sheer like will of like forcing it with money versus the guy, if they were competing, the guy that had nothing and was going to go for it, we'd all root for the underdog because that's the fucking story.
Yeah.
And that's the story. But the other guy might just really want to fucking do it because he can push weight. Like, all right.
Yeah. People get pissed at Mark Drury for killing giant deer on farms he's worked hard for.
He's flex.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a
weird.
flex.
I mean,
That's playing a long game.
Yeah, it's whitetail gangster moves, brother.
But that's a long game.
Yeah.
He's cashing in on the check that like he fucking planted that oak tree fucking 35 years ago.
He's got receipts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go back and look it up.
He invested a long time. He like
People want shortcuts in life. They don't exist.
But you know, it's like, yeah, it gets weird. People get weird about big deer. Big deer are always more interesting. They always bring more controversy.
Yeah, no one's ever got
You said
arrested for poaching a
You
spike.
said that since the beginning.
Yeah.
What's the fine for poaching a spike?
No one cares.
Yeah, true.
No one cares.
not whatever that guy you guys got done talking about was.
CJ?
CJ.
Yeah.
Well, they threw the book at him.
Yeah. I
don't know much about that. Was that in Ohio?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
How big was that deer?
It was large.
It was large.
217 sticks out in my head.
Gross or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Healthy
steer
2 bills.
2.
He's getting it.
Hey Siri, how big was the CJ Alexander buck? She doesn't know.
CJ Alexander is getting.
News of CJ's insanely wide buck. Over 27 inches inside. Spread like wildfire throughout the deer hunting world on November 10th, 2023.
Okay, so it doesn't know shit about that. It tried. It got something out of that.
Yeah, you know what? That guy's a moron. But, you know, whatever.
Moving on.
He's only moron because he dug in so hard on like lying.
Well, he's like doing podcasts and shit.
Dude, that's
you can't
wild.
Do you can't
That
do a
is
media.
crazy.
Was he on the scrape line?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope. I didn't listen to him.
Is that a
I will
podcast?
say, like, I've talked to the Hunter guys in person. I think they're good dudes, man. I really do.
We were talking at ATS.
Is that what he was,
Yeah,
was that
right.
what he was on?
He did their podcast, yeah. And I'm like, bro,
After he shot
you
that
got to
deer?
press those guys a little bit. You know? He wouldn't have made it out of here
fishy, you should
alive.
have said something.
Hey, back those up.
CJ would have been pacing around the studio like the fucking Matt Ranella cuck in the
He
studio.
probably got beat up. He probably got beat up here.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
You guys-
If Kirk
you guys-
figures
you
it
guys
out,
probably
he
would've,
doesn't
like,
walk
beat him
up.
up. If he
Oh,
was
dude,
here.
if I would have found out about it before I invited him out here, done the podcast, then kicked his ass in the mouth.
Kicked his ass on Main Street.
Yeah, but sign this form. Yeah. No, I don't know. I just don't like some of the shit. I feel like I'd be like,
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
come again?
You forgot your phone?
Wait a minute.
Elaborate on that. Maybe not call him out, but explain that a little bit. And then it'd probably lead
Because
into being like,
good faith, you want to like give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay.
oh, yeah, totally. And you know, Hunter's probably just trying to get the story and whatever. But also, you know, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get a clip or two.
What was your question?
Well, you got to
Kevin?
get those things while it's hot, you know?
about.
Can't blame for that.
Baby. That's why I don't care about that shit anymore.
Yeah.
It just gets you in more trouble. You know what I mean? You jump on it too hot.
To do a podcast is wild, though. Knowing you fucking poach a deer.
He's just lying.
That's crazy.
They just play the whole podcast in court. You're like, ooh.
That was a hard stance. Hard stance. He went hard on that.
That
Like,
is-
he's full commit.
I can't remember all the
Fucking
shit I say
wild.
in any podcast, let alone a story I made up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin. Let's look. I see some red marks on that list. We got it.
We're closing in. I got the scrape video that you guys made on YouTube. It was in the spring or in the summer. I thought that was like great organic content.
Yeah.
New Balances?
Yeah.
No,
Somebody did have New Balances on
Yeah,
that.
Lee always got. Every time we do mock scrape, Lee has new, fresh white New Balances on. But I called it the witchcraft tree.
Yeah.
And we just hung like 6.
More.
Absolutely hilarious idea.
Yeah.
I just thought it was good organic content. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, I wish Working Class and Kurt would do more video content like this.
Our shit sucks.
No,
Just don't push
I
it.
thought it was funny and organic, and I enjoyed it. And so, but I was also watching it from the aspect of someone that creates a scent product.
Oh, it's down a little bit. I thought I just.
But you said right
Go back
off the
down.
get, I think you were doing it, and you go, "I hate that we're doing this."
Right there.
And that right there, like solidified to me
No,
that it was going to
bottom
be
level,
really enjoyable.
What?
2 from the right. That's great.
Down.
All right. Yeah, this is a video. Right. We should do more. But
It was very entertaining. I watched this on my lunch, And I was like, do more of this stuff because it's funny.
Did the deer go bananas?
They hit every scrape.
Of course they did.
And Kevin's the most, right?
Dude, great
They were
product
loving
placement for trail camera like a trail camera partner on this type. I mean, because this is fun and this is funny, and people need to do more of this stuff.
I did hard plug you right here.
You called it right out at the beginning. It's like, we're not out here trying to identify this rub line. You go, I hate that we're doing this. And I was like, more of this. And then, it led into, it looks like this year you guys did film more.
Well, Jordan on board, and it's going to get more involved. Jordan's full time in here. But yeah, this is the...
How much is wrong? I got your camera, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's stinky stuff.
We had fun.
And I'll be honest, I don't like this all in one. So much scent, it's ridiculous. But I think after time, once deer hit it, all the scent's irrelevant anyway. So we'll see.
Your boy looking yatted. I got to fucking tone it down. I had a guy in WTF look at me and he goes, Jesus Christ, isn't that enough? I was like, that hurt a little.
Well, you know what you're going to get.
Shot.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we'll do more.
I was watching this. I was really enjoying it. But just from someone that makes a scrape product, I just wanted to maybe touch on a little bit of, I thought this was really funny, but also at the same point in time, why some of these products do have value and how you could do this and how we hunt and where we hunt is so different that it's the hardest thing about killing a mature deer where we live is finding one.
Mm-hmm.
And once you find one, then you're in the game. But until you find one, it's like you're not even in the game. So, scrapes are the thing. We talked about baiting earlier. Baiting's an awesome way to kill deer, but it's not the best way to kill mature deer. They're usually switched onto it by then. And like you said, Eric, nighttime. They'll come in the middle of the night, right? But a scrape, they'll fall victim to that. And if you do it right, one of the reasons that we make big sprayers is to shoot the stuff way up in the tree, because the higher you get it, the farther it travels. I'm convinced for a mile and a half that these deer can smell this stuff. And they'll come investigate it. And now all of a sudden, there's a deer here worth hunting. So I've taken 750,000 acres and I've boiled it down to maybe 600 or 750 acres. Retarget camera and data and all that good stuff and just start to work it down. But it seems to be the best way in a giant area to find deer and locate them. But, getting it up high, having something that's not super foreign to them so it doesn't freak them the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff really...
I'm sure this tree freaked a lot of deer out for a while. Just because it was so much in one spot.
Well, this time of year you can get away with murder.
I wonder what the first buck thought hitting it.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That I
like an orgy just happened.
That's a great product.
What the hell happened here?
How much hot pussy's been in here?
Yeah.
That's a great...
Damn, I missed a party.
There, a lot of them are good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's a great
that's the code
application and way to do that. I like the way that they make that. But getting it up high is a game changer because
it travels farther.
It travels so far. I swear to God, you can smell it so far away. And the deer, once they smell it, all it takes is one time of them stepping into that camera to know, oh shit, you're around here. Where are you? And then it's kind of game on,
Yeah.
So it's a really good way to boil down a whole big giant piece of land.
Yeah.
To find a target deer to hunt because there's not, there could be literally 1,000 acres and there might not even be one deer in there that's worth your time, depending on where you're at and your
right.
on your mission. If you're looking for a deer that's north of 140, you might go miles without finding one.
Right. And scrapes they're big,
huge.
It's I don't hunt over scrapes, but I hunt near them a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Love a good scrape.
It's a factor. I hunt near.
You want to have them play.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean,
I like this. Yeah.
Nice shot.
The old fashioned.
Oh, good old me pee.
That's my favorite way.
Piston scrapes. No,
See, this is great.
Yeah, we need to do more.
We
of this.
need more of this in the space.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
just fun.
We got some fun trade show videos planned.
Good.
We're gonna start off with that. It's gonna kick off our season, but
well, that honestly, that kind of concludes my whole list of notes.
Like the word concludes.
Great lineup of
Yeah,
notes.
great notes.
Yeah, just like off of this, we get dogged because now we produce a scent product and people talk shit like,
well, you can't talk about it now because then it's insider business.
yeah, and they're like, oh, I never needed a crutch, and I'm like, do trappers need a crutch?
Dude,
Like,
fuck people, man. They suck.
It's just
There will always be something to bitch about.
Yeah, always.
No matter what.
It's a different approach and it's a different way, and I think it's really cool to hunt any kind of wildlife, hunting or trapping, to use scents to manipulate their behavior.
Love that video.
And
But yeah,
the scrape thing for us is like an Akana bear trap, but instead of that trap closing, you get that deer. You take a 750,000 acre state forest, and you get that deer to stand in that 2 square foot of dirt, and you shoot it. I think you did something pretty fucking cool.
pretty wild.
Oh yeah.
It's wild you can even do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty neat.
Even though my apple pile's only 10 yards to the left.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Crop it out.
It was certain.
And don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
That's a real old fashioned.
Never talk about it and crop it out. That's pretty neat.
You know,
That's
it's neat.
the new fashion right there.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you put it on the scrape? The bait on the scrape.
yeah, put the bait on the scrape, dude.
Double
Come
down.
in and double dip.
I
yeah.
have a clip from the Big Tine episode we did. I was like, dude, yeah, if you piss, shit, and something else inside a scrape, they can't take it. They have to show
Well,
up.
people,
Check it out.
Yeah.
that's a true story.
What is going on here?
There'll be somebody shit in that scrape on the end.
Yeah, this shit's wild.
Next thing you know, you got a buck on trail cam taking a shit in your scrape.
Yeah.
That's never been done.
Yeah. Don't ever take a human dump in a scrape.
Motherfucker is my territory.
You know what?
God, don't shit on your boss's desk. You're shitting a scrape.
It's tough out here.
You got- yeah,
real
you got-
quick, before we do our rounding closeout, I want to give you guys each an Elite Plus membership from DeerCast. I had them sitting here the whole time. And you guys, have you guys ever used DeerCast?
I haven't.
We talked about this.
No, but
In my opinion, it's the best mapping in my area that's updated. I don't know what it is like in your guys' states. You guys are all 3 different states.
You can find out.
If you don't have a membership,
Let us know.
Pass it down to Mr. Clark. There you go. DeerCast Elite Plus memberships.
It's a map, Eric.
Okay.
Mapping tool. Yeah.
I need all the help I can
does
get,
this
guys.
have the recovery stuff on it?
Shows
Yep.
where the deer
Yeah,
are.
That's all that.
That's cool.
It'll have the DeerCast track. It'll have all that, the predictive tools, and
Got all the giddies.
It's got everything.
everything you need from DeerCast is right there on the Elite Plus membership. And if you're not a member, link in the episode description. Discount applied already. Get in there and have some fun.
Nice.
Bingo.
Boys,
How long is that good for?
a year.
A fucking year. All right.
Yes, sir.
Dope.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys so much for coming in here. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A little unhinged.
I like it.
Was
One
it?
might say.
I felt
Just a
pretty
little
tame.
unhinged.
We're going to get wilder. Let's do
The
another
hinges
3
didn't
hours.
fall
I mean,
off.
like, we
Think about this. We're not
no-
even halfway to our episode 700.
What can we expect coming up on? You showed us all this film. when we
Yeah.
got-
Thank you. We have the Unhinged Bow Hunting series coming out. Hey, Jordan, when's the first episode launching?
Whenever I get it done.
He's sleeping.
He's sleeping.
Well,
I think
when would you?
21st,
He
I
probably
think.
went home.
Do you?
That piece of shit.
Let's. I'm gonna hijack a little bit.
Yes.
if that's all right.
Please.
Like candidly.
Please.
We have the Okayest Hunter has a series or a show. It's like, I think the last year we did 12 episodes. I don't know if anyone's ever watched any of it. Probably not. It's
have.
actually a bit confusing because we call it the same thing as the podcast.
I'm a big Okayest fan.
Have you watched the show? It's like The Office, but deer hunting.
I have not watched it, admittedly.
So that's okay. But the question is, I'm like, oh, the first year we released it in March, and I thought that was a mistake because I don't think anyone gave a fuck about deer hunting content in March.
Yeah.
Last year was our second season. We aired it in September, and it did better.
Yeah.
Arguably, the first year probably did decent because of the first time it like what is this? Who are these? What's happening?
Yeah.
This year I'm probably going to do September again, I think, because like that's when like most people kind of check in.
Yeah. Yep.
So do you give a shit about that at all or not? Does it matter? I don't know. Like I'm not chasing views, but I'm also like I want to hit when people are actually going to care about it.
Simple
Otherwise
answer.
they're just going to miss it.
Simple answer. No, I don't care. But big answer. The way we're starting it, the first few episodes are episodes from Africa. And if you're going to Africa, that's when you're going to start watching them.
Okay.
And by the time we get through that, it'll be through July 4th when people down here start caring about big velvet antlers again.
Yeah, okay.
And so my hope is the excitement of it gets people motivated to shoot their bows, do some scouting, get out their trail cams leading into the season. Now, this is our first year test running it. We don't know how many episodes exactly, how it's going to be. We're going to fall into our groove with the video side. And then fall of 26, we're kind of talking about doing, I don't want to say semi-live, but as an episode can be launched.
That's like the Hunting Public model where they're launching it like in season, which is probably the reason I like them
But
so
I don't
much.
want to say like we're going to launch them weekly.
Yeah.
It'll be as an
As you get
episode
'em,
can
yeah.
be created.
Until $3 die in a week and Jordan's buried.
Yeah, then he's fucked. Yeah, then he's fucked. But if
Is what it
one
is.
dies in November, then there's one episode.
Jordan dies.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll live. He's 21.
Yeah, he's fine, dude.
Is what it is.
So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting experiment.
Are you launching it on any particular platforms or not any particular platforms or?
Probably just YouTube because I don't want to be told what we can and cannot do.
I love that. That's the way to do it.
I was gonna launch on
Going
some
back
other...
to what I said earlier about people could suck their dick. Like that was a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah.
I'm Cotton.
No, you're right though.
You had me at dick sucking.
I think YouTube is the way. That's the way right now.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully they don't like continue. Like hopefully Google doesn't shit on us or anything like that as an industry.
Yeah. I talked to one streaming platform, and they're like, "Well, we don't really do the Africa thing because people get weird about it." I'm
God,
like, "Well,
are
if you
you
can't do
serious?
Africa, you're not gonna deal with us saying fuck."
Right.
Yeah.
So we're not doing it. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I mean.
That's hilarious that's what you just said because that was the name of our first season is we'll see how it goes. And that was a double entendre.
Just honest. But, we're calling it the Unhinged Bow Hunting Series. WCB's Unhinged Bow Hunting Series. But shout out Matt Ranella for naming our series. Unhinged is what we are, dude. Like, he's not wrong.
No.
I'd rather be unhinged
liked it.
than hinged.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it at
I mean, you can't shut the door if it's unhinged though. It's just kind of
Open for everybody to come in and do whatever they want. You can't have that either.
How about no hinges?
Can't-
Door's always open, bitch. There are no hinges.
We're a sliding door.
Joke's on you, door.
We don't have a door that doesn't have hinges.
We're just all in a closet now.
I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what it all does. It's going to be fun.
That'd be fun.
Closing statements, maybe?
Doug? Hey.
Takeaway.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Oh.
I really appreciate it.
You guys are a really nice host. Thanks for
Yeah, you guys did really well. I liked your notes, Kevin.
I bet you did.
What?
I liked your
shoulder
hate.
pat and everything. I like
liked
your hate.
Your hating.
Oh,
Liked it.
yeah. No, I had a
And
good
I did
time.
like that high school analogy. Gold.
That was gold. That was gold.
The sex analogy.
That's my recap.
Premarital sex analogy.
You did great. Eric?
You guys wearing the same
F
hat.
plus.
What's going on there? You guys are just twinning
F
tonight or
plus.
what?
F plus.
I mean, I know Hoyt's a new partner, but why don't you guys suck each
Dude,
other
I told
off?
him I claimed this hat. I wore it first.
Hey, fuck off.
I thought Alexa claimed that hat.
Bitch.
Get your hair out.
Yeah, let your hair
Not
down.
let my hair out.
Let your hair out, Doug.
No.
You
No,
have
no.
hair. I don't have hair.
Anything? Any recaps? Anybody?
We're going to go round table. Just settle down.
Calm down, Doug.
You want us to get home?
Yeah, I want to go really bad, actually.
Kevin, make your plug. Who you with? What do you do? Where are you from?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for you guys all being my best online friends. Because this is a true story. Byron and I have worked together now for a decade. Today's the first day we ever met.
Holy
in
shit.
person.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
Bullshit.
No,
Yeah,
swear to
we've known
God.
each other for a decade.
Yeah, we've eight-ish years and
Partnered up last year in business.
worked together for multiple companies and been through this and worked for companies that don't like each other.
I'm sure.
This company hates this company, quote unquote, but he works for them and I work for them.
We work for the same company at the same time with that one too, Byron?
We've done some same company, same time.
Yeah.
The liver punch guys.
We've worked through that the whole time and been like, we kind of are on target like each other. We've been business partners now for going on over a year. And today's the first day I was like, I'll meet you at the gas station. My wife's like, where are you going? Meet this guy I met online at a truck stop.
An of-age man.
It's not gay.
His wife called him 10 minutes after I picked him up.
Yeah, she did. She was blowing my phone up. She really was. Why didn't you answer?
Because we were talking.
Air quotes.
That's great. I didn't know that.
We just got situated.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So true story.
That's
We
pretty
drove
gay.
over here and did this whole thing, and him and I have hung out, and we went to dinner a few. I don't know that was 5-6 years
COVID,
ago.
I think.
It was actually, I think it was the same weekend.
2019.
Well, I drove over here when Novix launched, and then I drove from the Novix launch to your guys' studio, and it was like 6 years ago.
Yep.
And then I think that afternoon or the next day, I drove to your place, and we had dinner, and it's just. The
On a
whole
rooftop- on a
community
rooftop
aspect
bar.
of the whole thing it's just unreal to me to be here today and doing this, and I really appreciate everybody. I really do.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, plug your shit.
Yeah, plug your podcast. all the stuff.
DeerHunterPodcast.com, DH3DHTHREE.com. That's our synthetic deer lure that we make. We were talking about the YouTube video. Go to, what's your YouTube page?
I'll put it in the episode description.
Working Class Bowhunter Podcast.
There's be a mess
YouTube.
of links in this of everybody's shit.
Yeah, and so DeerHunterPodcast.com, that's all you have to search to find us. That's going to change this summer. We're going through a major rebrand.
Careful, you're still number 1 on Google for deer hunting podcasts, so just
My name.
don't fuck it up too much.
Well, we purchased DeerHunterGear.com, and we're we're cannibalizing Deer Hunter Podcast.
Get your 404s fucking figured out before you do that. Don't do that until you get it figured out.
We got to figure it out, Eric. We got smart people like you on board. You told us to do this. I got the emails. I got the receipt. No, I'm joking.
We got it figured out, Eric.
Yeah. So Byron and I have been working together for the last year, and we have our. I'll give our YouTube a shout out.
Yeah, do it,
Deer
please.
Hunter Podcast. Byron's been super active. I think I looked last week, and the engagement was up 4,000%.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
We've been working.
Byron's like, I was up at 4:30 in the morning. I posted. I'm like, dude, I'm not even up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't count on me for late nights. I'm Jocko hours.
Yeah, I like it. That's fine.
But for a while,
Same
we were
difference.
both. He's like, I'm getting tired. I'm like, I'm getting tired. I'm like, let's combine our forces.
Yeah.
We're getting older, and you're good at this. I'm good at this. Let's align and bring it together. We got a uniform mission. We want to do this for a while. We love it. We enjoy it. We got young kids, and we're trying to figure out how do we leave this place better than what it was for us, or let them have the same opportunities.
Yeah.
So let's work into that and work together to just continue to grow the space. So
I like it, dude.
Awesome.
It's good. You're killing it.
That was way better than mine.
Congratulations on the success. Yeah, you suck, Doug.
Yeah. Jeez.
I mean, with all love.
Yeah.
in the best way, with all due respect.
Yeah, with all due respect.
Yeah,
Doug, with all due respect.
Say it with your chest.
Mr. Clark.
See, I'm just awkward. I don't know, guys.
You're doing just fine, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Say a lot of weird shit. I black out on every episode. I never.
You're
like you. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna come back to haunt me.
He talks down all the time. He does on himself, but you play a pivotal role in the space that we're in. Like, you guys can just come out, and it's okay to have not done it before, not be great, and
be a deer hunter.
Get in here, try it. Expand your comfort zone, and people need that. And I think what you guys do, and he's in my feed every week. I listen to these guys' show and your guys' show. I test all the other ones, but I don't know that I listen to them all. But it's a real organic thing to be here tonight. So
yeah, I mean, this is cool. This whole episode's been really fantastic. I'm in hot water with my wife, but I wasn't. I'm like, this one's worth it.
Yeah, man.
So I just thanks for having me here, and
of course,
I'm surprised this is the first time I'm actually here. I think we've recorded plenty of other times, but just life is busy. It's hard.
When you walked in, I'm like, "You've been here," and you're like, "No,
nah, bro.
Fuck, I thought you'd been here
before." No,
yeah,
virtually probably, but not physically. So
yeah,
no, it's good. And Byron, been chatting for a long time. You were talking to Greg on the way here. Like everything's kind of intermingled. Like, Kevin, we've worked a bunch over the last year with some of your stuff with the DH3, and I think I remember I was working in I was running the marketing division for Radon Company, and I always remember things like in physical spaces. And I was in a parking lot at a bank about to go to a networking event, and I was talking to Kevin. He's like, I'm thinking about launching this podcast called the Deer Hunter Podcast. And I still remember that conversation, like probably 2015 or something like that.
Yeah, it might even been before that. But yeah, to give credit where credit's due, Eric, all the DH3, the campaign branding and stuff, Eric's really helped a lot with that. He's been a great asset to me too, and I'm really grateful.
That's wasted a lot of his money. It's all good. Kurt, I remember I was in I had my first house. I was at the bar of the house, and I was trying to figure out this like live freaking streaming call and shit, and you just stuck it out with me. I remember you just standing there going like, yeah, I'm here let's figure it out. Yeah. And you like just put in the fucking hours to help me figure out my shit. So like this whole pay it forward thing has been going on for a long time. Yeah. Among the people in this room. It's pretty neat. Yeah. So anyway, I'm with Okayest Hunter, OKAYEST Hunter.com. You go there and you can get the hub to everything. But we do have a TV show. I call it TV show because I have to distinguish it from the podcast by the same fucking name because
that makes sense.
As an idiot marketer, like apparently I didn't get that part right.
No, I think it's cool you call it that.
We got a network. You guys have a network too. I'd like to hear more about what you guys have going on. We have 14 shows on our network now.
Holy shit.
We call it a network, but it's not a network. But I want you to finish what you're talking about.
Yeah, so there's like, what's really neat is I have some pretty like deep-seated beliefs about how to like do things. And one of them is like give more than I take. And that kind of spews into the business, and I give without expectation. I don't ever expect anything in return. So with the podcast network, the guys and gals that are on our network, we give them way more than we extract from them. And that's because of how I live my life. I like that mantra. And therefore, they're free to fucking leave if they want.
Yeah.
Or not. And I think because of the fact that they could go anytime they want, they likely are less likely to do so. But it's been like a year and a half of building that up, and now we have 5 shows that are like competing for the number 1 spot, which means the downloads are like big for all of them. And I'm just going to continue for like 2 seconds here. We planted little baby seeds and grew them all from the ground up. We didn't like lasso other fucking shows and try to like play the whole bullshit numbers game. Yeah. Like some other networks in the category.
I'm gonna start calling them up by one. Number 1. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I thought you were going.
I'm not after vanity metrics. Like we're trying to play a long game and build something really meaningful.
Yeah.
And so the folks that are kind of like rowing in our boat all in the same direction, it's getting to be like a really exciting time. So there's something for anybody that's looking to scratch an outdoor itch, whether it's how to go trapping. And the guy that hosts that show happens to be at the bottom of the Sawtooth Mountain in Idaho running a fucking trap line. Yeah. And he's pretty great about it. We have a Bowyer podcast. If you're trying to figure out how to build your own bow from the ground up, cutting down a tree in your backyard, you can go do that. You know, like there's all these shows that are like really cool people doing really cool things. Far cooler than what I'm doing with the Okayest Hunter show. Yeah. So I'm just really proud of the work that has like come to light with all that. And so there's the TV show, the podcast, the network, and I think that's kind of mostly it. And I'm wearing like this beer shirt. And
great branding.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good look. You're doing a great job, man. Congratulations. It's cool to see it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of fucking respect here. So,
yeah, dude, this is a cool round table.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very cool. Byron, you've been in the game a while, brother. And I mean, you and I have always bounced shit off each other for a long time.
Oh, dude.
On the regular.
Okay, real quick. Whitetail Experience, you can find me all those places you need to find me. But my closing thoughts here, I want to give a shout out. Kurt, you took a phone call from me 3-ish years ago. We hadn't talked in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a text. I said, Kurt, I'm trying to bounce an idea off you. Can you give me a call? My phone rings 10 minutes later. And for me, as a content creator, it was a very big decision. It was going to affect income streams. It was going to affect my livelihood, what I do for the house. And, dude, I felt so good after that 45-minute phone call. And I think it speaks a lot to you as a person. And in a world of a lot of negative energy and such, I think, the listeners should know you did me a solid that day.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you. And that was a note on my list to cover.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to close out with today is like, dude, you did me a fucking solid.
Well, that's cool.
So.
It's cool you say that.
Yeah.
I was just being straight with you, and it's cool that it worked. I didn't seem like a fucking dick.
Well, yeah.
Resting dick face.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Give him some advice. I was like,
I would have never done that.
No, kidding aside, I appreciate you saying that, man.
Yeah.
Big time. And I think, it's like, I don't say things to you to expect that compliment. And I think it's stuff that happens in the game when we're all in it for as long as we've been in it and continue to want to be in it. I think you look back and it's cool to be like, oh, it's cool. We're all looking out for each other. We're all kind of in the space. But I think what's neat about all of us at the table, WCB and you guys, is we're all our own shows and everybody can find their preference between all of our own content channels. Like, Okayest is different from WCB. Deer Hunter is different from WCB. Whitetail Experience is different from WCB. And we all have our own ways of doing things all separately, but we're all our own individual, but we all get along.
Yeah.
And
That's deer hunting, right?
It's deer hunting.
Yeah,
But I just feel like sometimes you see people that get along in the space for as long as we've been in the space. They all kind of blend in, and someone could easily be like, WCB, Deer Hunter, Okayest, and Whitetail Experience, they're kind of all the same. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like,
yeah.
And it's good to not be the same. Like, for some reason, our listeners have cultivated this Hunter or WCB vibe. But I don't know if you guys are in the group and have seen that, but I feel it. And maybe it's just because I'm in it. I'm like, ugh, gotta lay off them a little. But you need the Hunter. We're not the same podcast.
Our differences make us stronger. Like I wrote an article about this.
That's the educated way to say it.
Brand.
Thank you.
A great way to say it.
Yeah. Thank you for taking
Eric makes everything sound
my
smarter.
ignorance and putting it into understandable words.
They really do. I mean, because we're all batting for the same team here. Like, we just have different batting styles. You guys are lefty, I'm righty. Like, someone's going to fucking bunt. I don't know. Maybe
You
I'm not
gotta
playing
have
Byron.
variance for people because you can't just have
Byron.
one option.
Yeah, you're right.
Button
Doug's the
Byron.
bunter. Actually,
This is
Button Byron.
Button Byron.
hashtag Ponderosa.
B-U-N-T bunt.
You just need you need differences in shows
Yeah.
for the people.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just I don't.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, so it's
right.
all good.
Ponderosa alert.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't want to go to a buffet where it's a bunch of pasta.
That's right.
I want chicken wings. I want pizza. I want pudding.
Crab legs.
A pasta buffet,
Ice
with
cream.
legs, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you want to, go to a good buffet.
We have some overlap though. Like, I know we share some
there's
listeners,
so
and
much
like the one when
overlap.
we
Totally,
do
yeah.
collab, people are like, "Fuck yeah, these are my people."
They're all at Ponderosa. What the fuck you
we have
thinking?
different ones too.
Ponderosa
You know?
Ranch,
That's what I
baby.
mean. It's like no one wants to listen to WCB every day. No one wants to listen to name the
People
show.
bounce around.
Name the show. No one listens to only that show.
And I think it's valuable that we all show respect to each other and know what we're doing and know that's the case. I had a conversation with somebody, a company this week, and they said, "Oh, we want to check with that company because they're a podcast, and we want to make sure there's not a conflict of interest." I never look at it like that.
Yeah,
I'm always like, "Let's bring this whole thing."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my
abundant mindset.
Yeah, the rising tide raises all ships. Let's go
for sure. Agreed. Agreed. Eric, what are you feeling like?
Man, thank you guys for being here in studio.
Of course.
Coming here and traveling to us. And then, it's just awesome that we can all sit here and, we're like-minded, but we also have differences. But we're all here, sitting here, having a good time.
Well, I'm excited to see you guys at the Dell show.
So, yeah.
Let's come and
It's a
drink
great
some beers
show.
together.
We
for
almost
sure.
didn't do that show this year, but then we put it back on.
Yep.
It's a good show. I mean, there's a lot of them to go to. So, like, taking one off, it's just like.
That was our
nice to have
thing. It
some
was
reprieve, maybe.
volume wise, but then we're like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
We're already doing them. Yeah, we're already doing them all.
Yeah.
Do you think we're kind of done? I want you to.
Yeah, geez, I guess.
I want you to officially send it off, but I think this is an important thing. Maybe we can kind of close out on this because I'm feeling like we're all getting ready to wind this thing down. The board that you have in the room where everybody's have come from.
Yeah.
The most important thing that you have done and what this will have done is to build a community of people that weren't interconnected, that they wouldn't be if it wasn't for this RSS feed and the effort that you've put into this. When I walk into here knowing, working in the space and doing the whole thing and see how committed you are, it's really actually pretty inspirational. And to know how many people have connected, through and because of this passion, I think it's a special thing. And it's something that we need to get back to in this country is like your neighbors, your friends. You might have some differences, but you don't write each other off. Mm-hmm. And the community aspect, the building of it it's pretty wild and crazy. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't be sitting here and doing this if it wasn't for your efforts and that board in there that shows how many people have come here, mm-hmm. this physical location now, and this to be
dropping
like
pins.
A cultural thing, # dropping pins. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So
thank you, man.
I really appreciate it. And I just want to say cheers.
Yeah.
To all of you guys. And yeah, there was some travel and logistics involved with today, but man, the return on the investment is fucking infinite.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate you saying that. And
yeah, means a lot.
I know our crew, I'm thankful to have great partners like Doug and Eric. Like, we have a big crew at WCB and a lot of people that make up the team behind the scenes, Jordan, Lee, Ross, Austin, and then Team WCB. But I mean, between the three of us sitting here, like, I just want people to know listening. I appreciate you saying that. Like, and the committed part, you have to be fucking obsessed to make anything work in the hunting space. Because if you are not,
you're not here to make yourself rich. That's not what happens in this space.
No. You should take
a pay cut to work in this space.
You should find something to be obsessed about.
Yeah,
it's good for you,
and not. Unfortunately, a lot of people
for you
are
and bad
failing.
for everybody else around you.
A lot of people are failing to do that.
Yeah.
So lead by example. We talked about this on our way here. Like if you have to pull rank in an argument, you already lost it.
Yeah.
Indirect leadership.
Yeah.
Like show people how to have fun and build a community by doing it, and you guys are doing it.
Well, thank you, man. I do want to say it was really fun to have you guys here and like kind of give you guys the tour because people appreciate what's here. I love that. It's part of the fun of building this place together, like as a WCB family, and have people come here and see it. But like you guys in the space,
you're the Joe Rogan that we talked about earlier in the sense that you show us what's capable of being done here. You've created a bit of a space.
Yeah,
this studio is made of the dreams of like 99% of your
fight
listeners.
companion.
Well, yeah, even
hunt companion.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying it like you're showing what is possible by being a podcaster in the space.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Which is there's zero other podcasters. Maybe Hunter is they have their studio, but the guys that run that own a fucking agency, like those dollars are flowing in. You didn't have that.
That might be B category.
Your dollars are flowing up from a spring.
Yeah.
It's not cascading from something else. You're creating it.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm not slamming those guys. It is a difference.
Yeah, it's just facts of what it is. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We have a great team at WCB, man. We're all friends. We're all actually friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And we come in and I probably shouldn't say this.
Mike's hot.
It's a joke with Eric and I. It might be Friday at 11 o'clock and I might crack a beer and Eric will be like, hey, man, are you drinking?
Or it's the next Friday and I'll peek my head in here and I kind of give him this look. I'm like, you want to start drinking? He goes,
if you start, I'll start.
I was do the
Eric. Nice, 2:30.
I'm like, Eric, I'm working.
Yeah, it's 11:30 on a Friday. We can't be drinking.
I could never do that.
Well, we walked into your swag room and I got stressed out instantly.
Swag room's a little messier than
responsibility is, and I knew that
it's trade show season right now, so it's a freaking mess.
Well, it's a big commitment.
It's huge.
It's a lot of work.
Kevin goes, this is a full-time job. I'm like, yeah, I'm the content guy. Eric's the fucking merch guy.
Yeah, it's a mess over there. But
Jordan's the producer.
We did that shit for a hot minute until we were up till 3 a.m.
So you have to have a team.
We hired it out now. We don't.
You gotta have a good team. And you gotta be friends with your team because this industry is built on fellowship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You said sure. ROI. This is ROR, return on relationship.
Yeah. At first, it was one wolf in my wolf pack, and then Eric showed up, and there was 2 wolves in my wolf pack, and then Doug. Doug showed up and there was 4 wolves.
And then
How's
Doug
that
never
mathematically possible?
We killed one wolf off, Steve. he was a limping wolf.
He couldn't keep up with the
But
pack.
somehow he's still kind of around.
This wolf got
Somehow he shows up randomly.
He's behind a paywall. Patreon.
This wolf has had too many flu shots.
Yeah. That wolf lives in the den. Patreon is the den.
He disappeared for 2 years and then he showed up.
This wolf got rabies.
Yeah. This one's
I like
sick.
Steve.
Yeah, we love him too. He's still around.
Kind of.
He is like the uncle that you're kind of like. He was around my children, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it.
He was around your children. He's seen my children more than I've wanted him to, brother.
I mean, he's like, I'm like, you can't probably say that. Okay, well,
you gotta.
fine.
Yeah.
They're young. They don't know what you're saying yet. But what the?
Steve, he does the series on Patreon.
I love it.
He's around.
When he does it,
he's around.
He's been an instrumental part. He's been a foundational part of WCB
Oh, yeah,
for a
for
long
sure.
time. So
Yep,
we'll always
He does have a great voice for the
respect
mic.
and appreciate him. I can never
You can
look at a
channel him.
blender and not think it's not gay because of Steve.
Dude, you can't look at anything Steve talks about. You're just like,
I remember him being on Allison from Wisconsin.
Rauscher,
yeah. And he's like, oh, something about blending the Drake and the gays.
Yeah.
Ah, it's only gay because it's blended. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
you never know what's going to come out of that guy's mouth.
We love him, man. It's just
We do love
he
him.
didn't fit the every week episode. He's fun sometimes, and yeah, the evolution of it's been.
He's a little spicy.
He's spicy, yeah, spicy, and
to say the least.
sometimes a little sour. He just can't figure it out. He was like,
He just doesn't get it.
He's like a shot of Malort.
Yeah.
Steve's a shot of Malort.
Steve is a shot of Malort.
Kevin did a shot of Malort before the podcast.
Somebody left Steve out of the fridge.
Yeah. Kevin goes, tastes like old food.
Bad food.
I don't
Bad
even think
food.
that, like, some liquor's better when it's chilled. I don't think that'd be better.
You put Malort in the freezer, doesn't get better.
no, doesn't get better. It's still
We
the
should
same.
try that. Frozen. All right.
I'll never know because I'm not.
So-
Dude, just fuck with someone like he wants some ice cubes, and they're like Malort. Well, that wouldn't happen because
So,
it's liquor. Never mind.
This is going to launch deep into trade show season, but I'm trying to find Malort shooters. That way, every time someone comes up to the podcast booth and goes, "Hey, wheelchair pussy from episode 699," and then instead of giving them something cool, we give them a little shooter Malort.
They gotta make them, right?
They do make them. I know they make them. We got to order them.
Dude, that'd be,
Let's order them
you have
right
to order
now.
so many.
On a positive note,
they're
off of
expensive.
Malort.
Go
Like what, a
bankrupt.
pallet?
Yeah.
They're expensive.
Can I shout out the new fashioned?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So at deerhunterpodcast.com, we have a signature cocktail. It's a new fashioned, and it's like a modern day twist on old fashioned with maple syrup. And we made a couple of them here tonight, and
They're
you guys
nice.
approved of them, right? So
They're delicious. I mean,
Kill
really.
bottle, new fashion.
ooh, kill bottle, new fashioned
That sounds sick, actually.
is that's how we're gonna close this thing out.
Okay.
Think about it. Think
All right.
about it.
All right.
Okay. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you guys. You guys were all awesome. It was fun. Only 3 hours and 40 minutes of podcasting.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
Rookie numbers. We could do better next
You got
time.
double the people in the room tonight, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, easy peasy, man.
I had a great time.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. This is an overload of information and then something you didn't want. You know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you. Peace.